Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to some Friday night Warhammer and chill. So yes, it is Friday. I had to double check that after I said it. I was like, is it actually Friday? Sometimes you lose track of these things. But ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a Swiss tournament tonight. A couple best of one rounds. So we're going to have I believe 3 or 4 rounds that are best of one. So we'll be casting different players' perspectives, and then we'll be going on to the grand finals, semifinals, all that sort of good stuff, and going from there. So our first match is a showdown between the House Cat of War and Outer Region, both two players who I believe are on the top of the leaderboard right now. Let me go ahead and double check this. So gonna jump on over to the old leaderboard. Currently they're doing their picks and bans right now. So yes, looking here, I'm pretty sure they both won at least one tournament this season. 100% sure of that. I'm like 90% sure. Let's see. So yeah, Outer Region has won a tournament, and House Cat of War should be around here somewhere. Let's see. House Cat of War has won 2 tournaments. So this is very much a heavyweight showdown here in the beginning. If we take a look over at Total Tavern, you can see currently House Cat of War is our number 5 ranked player in the world. And I believe Outer Region is sitting just down here. So Outer Region is currently the number 7 ranked player in the world. So quite a bit of fun, guys. That's what we got going on. It's going to be our first Duel of Fate. So players are doing their picks and bans right now, and we'll get started here relatively soon. And again, hope you're all doing well. Thanks for choosing to hang out here on Friday night. I know it's pretty late, but the tournament did start later. It was kind of a later afternoon tourney, so therefore we decided to start a little bit later. Yeah, man, we're keeping the good times rolling. We're keeping the good times rolling. Wow, Mr. Bond, yeah. Oh, Zach, for Sigmar, yes. If I was playing tonight, there would be a little bit of Sigmarite action, but I'm not playing tonight. I woke up, my hands were hurting a bit today, so just decided to kind of take it easy and just do a little bit of casting, hang out with you guys, and that's it. That's the jam. Oh, you guys talking about the old intro? Yeah, the Doom. I mean, the Doom intro is like, it's yeah, I got like some weird like copyright flag for that once. It was only once, but it was enough to kind of be like, all right, I probably should, that was when I was a little bit newer to YouTube, didn't really know what I was doing and whatnot. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. The Doom soundtrack is just fitting in so many IPs. It's great. But that soundtrack that we played in the beginning is that's High King Thorgrim. It's the dwarf trailer music from Warhammer 1. It's super good. I mean, some of the soundtracks for this game are just amazing. If you go and look at like all the different trailers and stuff, there's so much good music. Like the Bretonnian soundtrack is amazing too. That one's really, really solid for the Warhammer 1. The Karl Franz trailer music, just awesome. And they're great. They're all good. Chaos Dwarfs are banned tonight, actually. Yeah, so Chaos Dwarfs are just a little bit unfair. They're not being played right now, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just go ahead and double check here. Because Chaos Dwarfs, yeah, they got banned in tonight's tournament. They're just unfair. The reason being is because, in the beginning it didn't seem so bad because players hadn't discovered all the nuances of like what was broken within the roster, but they have a couple abilities and units which are just severely bugged. The big thing being capture weight, right? So for the Chaos Dwarfs, capture weight is currently bugged. Let me make sure they're not playing this matchup. Let me check here. Yo, what is the matchup? Because I'm fairly certain. All right, just checking with the players, because as far as I know, Chaos Dwarfs are banned in tonight's tournament. Yeah, and one of the big things is the capture weight. Because like they're chaff units that cost 150 and actually have reasonably good leadership for what they are. They have 5 capture weight. It's just stupid. Like, so even if you're outvaluing Chaos Dwarves, they could just swap objectives with like terrible laborer units and just outcap you and wrestle objectives. You could have like you could have a Chosen with 75% HP getting outcapped by a Goblin laborer, which is really dumb. That was one of the big things that kind of made me feel as if they needed to be karate chopped. Okay, sounds good. Good luck, have fun. All right, so we got a barbarian civil war here. It is going to be Norska versus Khorne here in the first game. Outstanding. So that should be quite a bit of fun. I'm trying to think of this matchup. Marauder Champion's probably not going to be too hot here, but I would imagine Berserkers with the dual weapons would probably be your go-to. Khorne, in response to that, do you go Shielded Warriors? Shielded Khorne Warriors are super cost-effective, although Bloodletters honestly might not be a terrible choice. Like, what if you just spam out Bloodletters, just like a whole bunch of them, right? Because what infantry unit on the Norskan roster is, I mean, I guess the dual weapon Marauder Berserkers would be the ones that would outtrade Bloodletters from a cost effectiveness perspective, but even still, Bloodletters are happy there, I think. Yeah, Bloodletters seem pretty cool in this matchup. Outer Region has a really fun playstyle. He really plays a lot of like Khorne mobility and likes to use Scarbrand and those big powerful characters and everything, so this is going to be a cool one. Yeah, Chaos Dwarves are just blanket banned from tonight's tournament. Yeah, they're just not fair. It's just stupid. Yeah. But, you know, there'll be a patch soon, I'm sure, that'll be addressing some of those issues. Angry Viking, thank you for the 50 SEK. Turin, curse you for getting me back into RTSs, my poor hands. I love you, really. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I know, I'm in the same boat. You know what's been really taxing my hands has been Age of Wonders. I've just been so addicted to that game. It's so much fun. Hey, Bloodhawk, thank you for the 10. Really appreciate it, man. I did see that donation come through. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate it, man. Sorry, that was 3 minutes ago. I was busy chatting with the players. Yeah, the RTS is certainly more punishing as you get a little bit older on the old man hands. Yeah. Mammoths would stomp Bloodletters, but Scarbrand would stomp a mammoth pretty hard. Like, he'll just get in there with his axes and just give that thing the business. No, in general, it's kind of the opposite. So somebody in chat saying domination sounds like such a headache. Land battles sound easier to manage. It's pretty much the complete opposite, actually. Because in land battle, you have to worry about officiating rules and things like that, which are necessary and certainly grateful for all the folks who work on the rules and stuff. But there's a lot more managerial stuff you typically have to do with land battles, whereas domination is more plug and play, right? You just kind of jump on. The rules are like self-contained within the game. You don't have to have like outside rules assigned by the community and by players. So it's quite the opposite. Yeah. What's your opinion on the current state of the meta? I think it's pretty good aside from the Chaos Dwarves. Like when the Chaos Dwarves get bounced out and have some of their bugs fixed, I honestly think we're going to be in a really good place. Like I know some people say, oh, Slaanesh got over nerfed, Warriors of Chaos got over nerfed. That's not the case. I think both those factions are going to be fine once players start picking them up again. In my experience, I've been playing a ton of Warriors of Chaos and Slaanesh lately, and they both feel very good to play. Warriors of Chaos have a ton of, diversity in terms of what they can do with the different marks of Chaos Gods, and Hellstriders are still good, especially the Lash variant. I think the meta is in a pretty good place. I think we just need to address some of the... There's just some stupid shit in the game with like the leadership situation, right? Like if we're talking about Skaven capture weight with power, or not capture weight, Skaven leadership with power grab needs to be fixed. Some of the unsummoning thing, like with Lords, is really, really stupid. I think that needs to be addressed as well. Once that stuff is addressed and then we get Chaos Dwarves bounced out, I think we're going to be in the best place that, domination has been. Yeah. Getting back into the old Dwarf Fantasy Army since watching, but now looking to expand. What are some good sites for buying? So the only website I really use to buy secondhand miniatures is it's called the Troll Trader. They're great. They're great. I got pretty much my entire Empire army for Warhammer Fantasy from there. And so that's what I use. And then I'll use eBay as well. But eBay is kind of rough. There's a lot of like bidding wars, and it's like I don't have the time or energy to kind of be dealing with that. Ethan says, dude, I've got 12 hours logged at the last 24 since I bought it. The game is great. It's really fun. Multiplayer is really good as well. Yeah, really, really good. Yes. Yeah, Chaos Dwarfs are very strong. He's the most popular lord in the game by a mile. Carl Francis, yeah, the Empire is the most played faction in Warhammer Total War. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. There was a statistic that Creative Assembly released after the launch of Warhammer 3 of like what the most played factions were. And if I'm not mistaken, it was for sure the Empire. Yeah. Carl Franz is pretty cool. Yeah, he's a lot of fun to play. He's a lot of fun. His campaign, I think, is one of the most... the desyncing in AoE 4, in Age of Wonders 4 in multiplayer is a little bit tough, but honestly, I haven't found it to be too much of an issue with 1v1 games. Like, I played... 2 nights ago, I played a 1v1 battle with Hadries. We had like maybe 2 or 3 desyncs the whole time, and I played one last night with Subutai as well, where I played my kind of holy necromancers. And honestly, we had like 2 desyncs maybe. It wasn't that bad at all. It gets worse the more players you bring in. If you're trying to do like 4 or 5 people, it really is an issue. But if you're just playing with a couple people, it's not too bad. How did you go with the end turn times with Age of Wonders 4? It's in the when you're setting up the multiplayer lobby. It's where you set it up. Yeah, Empire Foot Knights would be cool. Yeah, there's so much stuff. So obviously, I'm pretty sure in the roadmap it said Empire Dwarfs and Nurgle are going to get a DLC together. So the Empire, there's still a bunch of missing units. It'll probably be the Celestial Hurricanum is what you're going to be seeing for the Empire. You could see the Master Engineer for the Empire as well. I mean, there's a fair amount of stuff. You could do Knightly Orders if you want to. You could incorporate like Knights of More and different things like that into multiplayer. I think there's a lot of really, really fun stuff that you can do. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first game of the night. We have a showdown between Outer Region and House Cat of War. And our local Scarbrand enthusiast here, Outer Region, going to be coming in with Scarbrand, who's, you know, obviously a monstrous fighter, and he can take down mammoths and characters. Just got to make sure he's not getting poked by javelins, throwing axes, you know, probably doesn't want to be fighting condom wolves and anti-large and things like that. But if you can avoid all that and go after good targets, terror out, rampage things, what's not to love? Now, double Cultists of Khorne is very much a staple for anyone who's been playing Khorne in multiplayer. These guys are just absolute linebackers. Yeah, they have great combat stats. They're kind of like miniature lords in their own in terms of their combat prowess. And the Bloodletter summons are really good. You just stick them in combat into any of the good quality Norskan troopers, and eventually you'll be able to summon Bloodletters behind enemy troopers and just massacre them. So it's quite good. On the other side, what do we have? We have a bunch of horsemen, some Marauder horsemen. Well, it's what Norska is good at, and they did get nerfed a couple patches back, but are still very, very good, you know, more appropriately priced now. And yeah, you could just throw javelins at big targets, and on a big map like this, being able to kind of maneuver around with the horsemen is going to be very nice. And the rest of the army is going to be chaff marauders with a couple of Marauder Great Weapons mixed in. We do have a Pit of Shades caster, so this guy's methodically just going to be casting Pit of Shades on the Khornate infantry, and it's going to be Sirtha Ek riding in on his dreaded Mammoth. So the Mammoth going to be going balls deep through some of those infantry, I would imagine. And yeah, that's kind of the paradigm of this, right? Like, there's a little bit of rock, paper, scissors action back and forth. We do see, you know, big man Scarbrand, who most likely will be going after the Marauder Chieftain, but if he's a little bit overextended on the Marauder Chieftain, he can get picked off by the Marauder Horseman javelins and whatnot. Granted, Scarbrand does have 90 armor, but still doesn't want to be getting poked by, you know, anything really. Doesn't feel good. So today is a 4-round tournament. Yeah, very much a standard tournament. Look at that. We got Scarbrand in chat. The man himself has appeared. He is watching himself play. This is a live tournament, and Marauder Horsemen going to be doing a little bit of a javelin poke, but really not a big deal. These guys are shielded. We got bronze shields on these Marauders, and a lot of Chaos Warriors of Khorne with the shields. Yeah, Bloodletters, I suppose, are a little bit squishy. They do die very quickly, but Bloodletters can really, really massacre a lot of these type of units. Now, the Bloodhounds are out, so we do get the Fleshhounds of Khorne, and they're going to be spawning right on top of those Horsemen, but the Horsemen should be able to outmaneuver them, and the Fleshhounds probably going to want to pull back at this point. This isn't going to go terribly well for them, but granted, it is mitigating some of the skirmish pressure. Are we actually seeing some of the Horsemen being picked off? Okay, we actually are. So Outer Region, not getting a bad trade there. House Cat of War does actually lose 10 Horsemen, and as far as the Fleshhounds go, it looks like only one Fleshhound went down. Uh-oh, a little bit of danger. Look at this. Heavy pursuit coming in. Hounds taking an angle of pursuit, trying to cut off the Marauder Horsemen, and it looks like they do get a partial engagement. So the Fleshhounds of Khorne have 95 speed against the 90, actually, of the Marauder Horsemen. So far, not a bad little exchange here for the Blood God. Topside objective going to be taken by a couple Marauder units. So we got 2 Marauders who are going to be anchoring that one down. And I would wager most of the Mortal Kombat is going to be taking place on the middle objective. But it looks like the Horsemen were able to use their maneuverability to pull through their own infantry there and escape. So at this point, Outer Region probably going to want to pull back with those Fleshhounds and regroup them with the main army and just prepare for battle. Scarbrand just going to be farming some skulls. And does he have the farming ability? Farmbrand is my favorite, but it looks like he doesn't. So he's just going to get a couple attacks off of these Marauders and probably will peace out at that point. Because, you know, there's no sense in having him just get poked here. Now, we do see the response for the Norskins coming in. It is going to be the Beast of Tashnar. So Beast of Tashnar are pretty cool. They do have anti-large and can nibble at the Fleshhounds, which are large. I think in a head-up fight, Fleshhounds still win it. I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure about that. Maybe the Beast of Tashnar could pull that out simply because of the 80 models versus the 32. But something to look at. Now, Khorne does have the advantage of the objectives. They got the 2-to-1 cap, so Norska is going to have to push up into the domain of the Blood God. And looking at Outer Region, it looks like he's going to be calling in more Marauders and more Fleshhounds. So he's got his full kit of the Flesh Doggos out. And yeah, just kind of going to be harassing these Marauder Horsemen with the Hounds while the Horsemen are throwing into the Marauders. I would say it's more than cost effective to just let some basic Marauder chaff units eat javelins to the face, right? They have the shields. They're going to be mitigating quite a bit of the damage. And now we do see the Marauders with dual weapons coming up too. These guys are pretty cool. Basically like miniature versions of Norskan Marauders. They do have that bonus for his infantry, which I think is pretty good. And it's actually only 5, not as much as you would think, but I guess the 44 melee attack is where those bad boys really shine. So House God of War just going for a little bit of a pick on the side here, trying to throw some old javelins into the shielded units. And yeah, it's doing some okay work, nothing terribly substantial. This is what a lot of Khorne players will do, is they'll often use cultists as like just a screen because they're so difficult to peel. The Mammoth can definitely bully the cultist, but then the Mammoth can, you know, get beaten down by Scarbrand if he's not careful. So yeah, Khorne, I'm sure, is more than happy to accrue a points advantage right now. If they can get to the point where they can win, you know, on a single point, you know, Khorne is pretty durable. That's kind of one of the big things everybody thinks. You know, Nurgle obviously is going to be one of the hardier factions with their healing and melee defense and poison, but Khorne is not a squishy faction. They have a lot of tankiness in their roster. Fleshhounds come out once again. Very, very aggressive skirmishing phase here in the game. I'm surprised we haven't seen a Pit of Shades attempts go down. I think he's waiting for some more of the skirmishing to kind of develop before he tries to use some big magic. Beasts of Tashnar coming out looking like they want to fight. And here we do see House Cat of War calling in Javelin. So right here you can see a single Javelin unit. We see a Javelin unit. And those guys have been brought in preparation to deal with Skarbrand. And it looks like the Beast of Tashnar are going to be pulling back for the House God of War. But again, Khorne is just going to be holding on to the point, and look at this. This is actually really cool. You don't see these terribly often. Now, Spawn of Khorne are super vulnerable against Javelins, right? So Norskan Javelins will just punish these guys into the Shadow Realm, but what's neat about Spawn of Khorne is they will massacre light infantry. That is their forte. 160 weapon strength, pretty high melee attack, and they are unbreakable as well, which is kind of cool. But Norska, generally speaking, is pretty good at beating down these type of units. So we do see another Fleshhound coming in, so Khorne really going to be accentuating all of its strengths, as it looks like on the high ground, maybe we're going to be getting a little bit of wild action as the Mammoth moves up there, and Skarbrand shouldn't have too much of a problem moving up there and going after the Mammoth. We'll have to see. And the Mammoth will be fully countered by Skarbrand. I know the Mammoth does have, 4,000 or 5,000 more HP than him, but he's just such a superior fighter in terms of combat stats and dueling that he should be okay. And it looks like we're going to have the first Clash of Barbarians, so there they go. Marauders with dual weapons versus basic Marauders. The Khornate Marauders, I think, should win this. Just the bonus for infantry and their damage output is pretty substantial. So you can see these Marauders of House God of War here getting bashed pretty good. And the Marauders up here are going to be losing to the Marauders of Khorne. Khorne is obviously going to have a slight advantage as it pertains to the minor infantry trades. And now we do see the Cultists trying to generate their Bloodletter charges. And Skarbrand's on the hunt, man. Going after that Marauder Chieftain. Marauder Chieftain going to be getting hunted down. But really good Javelin play, right? We have the Javelins here for House God of War. So he's kind of luring Skarbrand into a situation where he could just get Javelins into the Shadow Realm. And Skarbrand does get in, and is he going to be going after the caster? This could be an interesting gooning attempt, right? You just try and take out this familiar Balefiend here, as we do see some of the Chaos Warriors of Khorne trying to push through the ranks and get on top of the Javelins. But Marlon Skarbrando here is having a pretty bad time, but not before. Oh, he pops Wrathful Reaper. Okay, he's hitting for 900 weapon strength and just absolutely hammers that Balefiend. But now the unfortunate thing for Skarbrand is he's rampaging, but he's rampaging after the right target, ladies and gentlemen. He's going after that Balefiend super hard, but man, oh man, if he goes down, that's going to be pretty rough for sure. The Fleshhounds did come through the seam. Really, really nice micro right there. So the Fleshhounds found a bit of an opening and do get on top of the Javelins. And look at that. The Balefiend is terrified and it's routed. And Skarbrand is back in business. Is he going to be making a chase here to go after the Femir Balefiend? I don't think he should. We do have Norskan Ice Doggos back here. Ice Doggos, of course, would be able to kind of slow him down and punish him. Now Marlon Skarbrando is going to be turning around and going after the Marauder Chieftain. And those Fleshhounds weaving through the seam and jumping on top of all of the Javelins was such a supremely brutal play. That was just so nice. And now Skarbrand and his cultists laying a righteous beat down here on the Marauder Chieftain, who has been rampaged with rage embodied, so he's going to be unable to control himself for about 22 more seconds, which is potentially enough time for Skarbrand to kill him, especially with the assistance of this cultist. But some of the Norskan Doggos in the backfield do get peeled off. Norskan Ice Wolves pretty strong with a little bit of spear support doing some work, and the Marauder Horsemen have been forced back for now. The Javelin's partially compromised, but we'll see if Skarbrand's going to be able to carry this. Honestly, if the Marauder Chieftain goes down and then, Skarbrand's still living, that's going to be pretty brutal, especially if there's an unsummon on Skarbrand to avoid him getting finished off and, saving the leadership thing. That could be quite good. Norska does actually potentially get the side objectives, though. We do see some Marauder Berserkers come over here. This objective is held by Khorne. The middle objective taken by the forces of House God of Wars. He does get some Marauder Champions out there. Very interesting. But the big man looks like he's going to be going down. So Surtha Ek going to be having a very, very bad time here as he is at about 400 HP. Most likely going to be shattering, sitting at a negative 50, negative 25 leadership right now. But Skarbrand needs to go for the kill here. You don't want to let your opponent get away and get those fat unsummoned. So one cultist is going to be dropping some Bloodletter summons. Looking at the value in this game, it's pretty even. I would say that the Norskins are probably winning on the battlefield, but in terms, most of the value is tied up here in the damage that's been done to the Mammoth here for the forces of Khorne. Bloodletter summon those super sweet. Bloodletters are just they're murder machines. They're going to be great at just butchering through infantry, and Bloodletters are, I think, just very, very cost-effective if they can get into combat. Bloodletters, of course, weak against missile play, very weak against being charged by cavalry. But if they can get entrenched in combat, dude, they're going to be trading very, very well, and you can see they're butchering quite nicely. Now in the backfield, the Mammoth has fallen. Marlon Skarbrando doing some good work, looking extra badass. And the Sword of Khorne coming in, doing some nice damage right there, nailing those Marauder Spearmen, hitting some of the Horsemen. And Khorne is back on the menu, ladies and gentlemen. Side objective still being fought over pretty heavily. We do see it being owned by Khorne, but the Norskins are certainly coming for it. Marauders coming to fight. More Marauders on their way in. Khorne is going to need to hold on to these objectives. It looks like back here, some Marauders with dual weapons were able to win their respective fight over here on the flank. But this is really the epicenter of action here. And Skarbrand is still alive. Did he get unsummoned? He might have been unsummoned. Nope, he's still just chasing things off. Okay, so Skarbrand, the Wrathful Reaper, is able to chase off some hounds. And, he's got 3,000 HP. I don't think that justifies an unsummoned at this point. I think you just kind of keep him on the battlefield and kind of live your best life. Now, House God of War, pulling up a little bit on the objectives. He does have objective number 2. Objective number 3 is under his control. But now we're going to be getting some Forsaken of Khorne coming in. Now, these guys, of course, It's pretty redundant. Unfortunately, one of the Khorne traits, the Mark of Khorne, does give you Frenzy, but they already come with Frenzy, so it's one of the reasons why Khorne Forsaken are a little bit haggard. But even still, they're fast and they do hit hard, so they should be able to bunch down these Marauder champions with the support of the Horsemen. Really nice rear charge coming in from Outer Region. So Outer Region gets us the rear surround with these guys. And one of the cool niches about Marauder Horsemen of Khorne is they do have 44 weapon strength with a fat amount of damage. A little bonus for his infantry of 5. But the Forsaken able to take down the Marauder champions with a little bit of a surround. So Khorne looks like they're going to wrestle this objective back, but the side objective's looking a little bit precarious for them. They do have Marauders here from Norska as well as Ice Doggos, and now it looks like Khorne is going to be rotating to the middle objective, maybe forsaking that objective for now. And I think Khorne takes firm control over this point. I do think that the battle is looking very advantageous for Outer Region. Outer Region, getting to play his main faction here. He is the best Khorne player in the community. So if you guys are looking for pro tips about how to play Khorne, Outer Region is going to be your boy. And what's really cool is he doesn't use any of that bullshit unsummoning stuff with Khorne. He just comes in with Big Daddy Skarbrand and just plays it how it's supposed to be played. It's great. So the Horsemen, the Forsaken moving in, all that sort of good stuff. Skarbrand still just doing work and carrying the game into the sunset as he does butcher some of these Norskins. I'm sure many of these Norskins will be looking to join the forces of Khorne after this, seeing the sheer might of the Blood God. Hey, Templar Knight, love your content. What are your thoughts on the roadmap? Very excited, man. Very excited. Yeah, new lords for the Empire. I mean, there's a multitude of options. You could do Elspeth. You could also do, Kurt Helborg. I think adding some heroes for the Empire too, like Luther Huss, like a legendary warrior priest hero would be very, very cool. There's so many options, man. There's so many options. So Skarbrand, though, a little bit rampaged in spears, not what he wants to be doing, but even still, the spears might get terror routed. They're looking a little bit fickle. Norska going to be getting a little bit of a resurgence here on this side as they do manage to rally their caster. Horsemen here just kiting the Beasts of Tashnar. But the Beasts of Tashnar are a little bit faster, 95 speed, so it's going to be something similar to what we saw earlier. Granted, Marauder Horsemen of Khorne can turn and fight them if they get the charge. They do have a charge bonus of 40 and bonus for infantry, and Hounds are infantry size, so it's totally a viable option. But it looks like some of the Forsaken are going to be sallying forth and moving in. So here they come. Marauders, not Marauders, but Forsaken. Will they get them? The Horsemen do take a little bit of a rough angle. And it looks like the Beast of Tashnar of the House Cat of War, it should be able to catch it. Yeah, should be able to catch those bad boys. So now looking into the middle, this objective is taken by Norska, but not for long. We do get Spawn of Khorne being called in from the Warp. Well, I guess they're just mutated mortals. They're not necessarily like Demon Kin or anything like that. But yeah, these guys are just designed to butcher infantry. And you can see that the Marauders are just losing models in droves and will be getting broken off the objective here in a moment as Skarbrand is getting support from some infantry now, so the spears aren't going to be quite as punishing. Granted, the spears were able to take about 600-700 HP off him, which is very, very cost effective. Side point, completely undefended. You could totally see like a Norskin Fleshhound moving up there to grab that. Wouldn't be a bad idea. And not Norskin, but a Khorne Fleshhound. I don't know. It's just all the barbarian stuff. Things are getting a little bit crazy for sure. But more Chaos Warriors coming up. Chaos Warriors are kind of that finisher unit, so now that you're really needing to anchor these objectives down to close out the game, you're going to start seeing these Chaos Warriors. And what's really cool about big maps like this is it kind of allows for these really big dynamic engagements all across the field, right? Whereas it's not just like two armies colliding in the center. It's like there's all these like skirmishes and little nuances that I think are, what make it very, very fun to watch for sure. Yeah, it's an incredibly fun matchup. It's very fun. They have kind of similar playstyles in a way, very durable infantry. Skarbrand was able to make the big difference here, and he's sitting at how much HP? 2,400? Okay, he's done pretty well in value, and now the Wrathful Reaper is going to be eyeing the Marauder Chieftain, although he is heavily wounded, and one of the changes to Warhammer 3 was making it so single entities get wounded when they take a lot of damage, so they're going to be losing stats. They lose weapon damage, they lose speed, and maybe Skarbrand, maybe an unsummon would be prudent now. But anyway, Skarbrand's going to be coming to try and bring his capture weight here to slow down these spears from getting this, and you notice how Outer Region, very MLG play, he parks Skarbrand on the side of the objective. Just going to be trying to mitigate that for as long as possible, and now we get some Chaos Warriors moving in, and the Chaos Warriors will be able to slow the capture weight. Granted, the Hounds plus the Marauder Spearmen should be enough, and Skarbrand's going to go in and fight. He pops Wrathful Reaper, which is potentially going to be rampaging him to his doom. We'll have to see. Mammoth looking to come in for a little bit of a fight as well, and we still do have both of the Khorne Cultists. I mean, both of them are very, very low, but even still, we'll see how they perform. Yeah, the rampage there was a bold strategy, Cotton, and Skarbrand's going to be going out on his shield, it looks like, which is certainly, how you want to see it. And now he turns to attack the Marauder Chieftain here, but the Mammoth was brought back from the deeps. So House Cat of War did bank for a long time to get that character back. And will Skarbrand survive? Oh, he's got the 1 HP, baby. He's going strong. Is he going to keep going? Man, Skarbrand at 1 HP. Khorne did not hear any bell, ladies and gentlemen, as he keeps attacking that Marauder Chieftain. And, dude, the 1 HP Skarbrand farming the Marauder Chieftain. That was super cool. That was very, very thematic. Now, this objective is held by Khorne. It looks like there's going to be a really nice Pit of Shades from House Cat of War. So, beautiful one. Oh, no! Oh, no! House Cat of War overcasted the Pit of Shades, ladies and gentlemen. And the magic betrayed the Famir Balefiend caster. And the Balefiend actually just blew up from that. That is like the most Warhammer thing ever. If you guys have ever played tabletop, when you overcast in 40k, or, you know, Perils of the Warp or whatever, in Fantasy there was something similar, it can kill your caster and do AoE damage. So, oh my god. That was pretty brutal, but House God of War might be able to do something to get this back. We do these double Marauder Horsemen being called in, which I do like. It gives you nice, steady throwing axe pressure against the Marauder Chieftain. But this objective is taken by Norska. Middle objective held onto by Khorne. And honestly, it looks like Norska might be able to kind of get their stuff back in the game here. This is a really, really tight match, ladies and gentlemen. But the Chieftain being back in business is certainly a big deal. Granted, he is kind of low. There's still a little bit of time to work with. Currently, Khorne does have the advantage, but Khorne would lose to a 2-cap, so Khorne is going to need to find a way to get some objectives back. Here we do have Fleshhounds battling against the Norskan Ice Doggos, and it looks like the Fleshhounds are going to be going down due to the fact that they were very, very low in that engagement. Yeah, Khorne certainly doesn't like magic. He had to do something about it, but House God of War showing why he is one of the best players in the world. Scrapping behind from a very, very tough situation in which he lost his Lord, was down by like 2,000 value. This is really, really turning out to be a super, super close game, as we do get more Marauders making their way back in. Yeah, it's little things like that that really show like how good of a job Creative Assembly did capturing like the Warhammer experience, right? Like the overcasts and just like the ambience of all the characters and things like that. So yeah, it's pretty great. You know, I wasn't even really into Warhammer until Total War Warhammer came out. And then Total War Warhammer came out and I started collecting a fantasy army. And then I realized that fantasy didn't exist anymore in tabletop. And it was a wild experience, but thankfully it's all coming full circle and we're getting the old world back. So this objective probably going to flip here, but I don't know if it's going to be quick enough. Fleshhound's moving in, going to be nibbling through these spears. We do also have some Marauders coming up. Is Khorne going to be able to swing an objective here? It's looking very tough. They still do have a couple Horsemen, which are good for like long skirmishing value, but in terms of like brute forcing down an objective, I don't know if it's going to be enough. And now it looks like there's a triple cap in effect. So Norska does have the rock hard triple cap. They're getting 3 points per second, which is going to be pretty fat for sure. And yeah, this objective's going okay. Fleshhound's just being a super good unit, despite a couple nerfs. Fleshhounds are still a top tier unit, which is you know, testament to how strong they were before the nerfs. Excuse me, a little bit of a hiccup right there. But the Marauders making their way onto the objective are going to be providing the capture weight. We do get all the Marauder Horsemen throwing their javelins into the doggos here, going to be trying to drag them down. But Khorne would need a double cap like really, really soon. And they're trying to get this one, but there's a pretty healthy Marauder unit here, which is going to be providing full capture weight. We do have the Chieftain. Khorne is looking pretty tattered. It's mostly Fleshhounds coming out. This has been an absolutely outstanding match. Really, really evenly matched players. Clearly, these guys are both in the top 8 in the world, if I'm not mistaken. I think Housecat's number 5 in the world, and Outer Region is number 7, if I'm not mistaken. So it's really cool to see these like top tier players playing factions that they really specialize in, and also encouraging to see that Norska is still kind of like such a solid faction despite being you know, never getting updated. Norska is the top tier faction in multiplayer for sure. Like really good sustainable infantry, great skirmishing, you know, good magic choices. They can really do a lot. But I think the Mammoth is going to be the straw that breaks Khorne's back, as we see 1,400 points here, as Khorne is able to wrestle the side objective, but there's just no way they're going to be able to get through the Mammoth in time. I think if the battle had another, you know, a little bit more time and the Marauder Horsemen were able to kind of javelin focus down that Chieftain over a period of time, maybe. But even still, Norska does have its own skirmishers out. It's going to be Marauder Horsemen getting hunted down by the Fleshhounds of Khorne, the Horn of Khorne active. So very cool, but probably not going to be enough. And that is going to be GG. Well played, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly a really, really fun match. So shout out to Housecat and Outer Region for putting on a great show. Very back and forth game. In the beginning, you know, it looked a little bit scary with Skarbrand overextending and taking some javelins, but then he was able to get some nice picks on the Marauder Chieftain and the Famir Balefiend. And then suddenly Housecat of War gets his Mammoth back and he's able to kind of get some nice skirmishing the other direction. But, you know, waiting to resummon the Mammoth is a scary time. You know, you're not getting the momentum on the battlefield necessarily. You're giving up a lot of battlefield agency to get that powerful character back. But at the end of the day, it was enough. GG, well played. Great match. Great match indeed. So that's going to be the game going to the Housecat of War. Now, this tournament is best of 1, so it is Swiss, so you could still see Outer Region qualify for the Grand Finals. If he wins his next 3 matches in tonight's tournament, he certainly has a good chance of qualifying. Skarbrand did good, 2,800 value, very nice. And yeah, it was good builds on both sides. Very fun, very close game. I loved it, man. I certainly enjoyed that one. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So there's the score for that match. Let's go take a look on over at Total Tavern and see how we're looking in the round, and we'll see if we are ready for the next game. Yeah, we're getting there. It's getting close. All right, so heading on over to the news. So yeah, Leechlord is playing Kark. We have a couple matches here. We, of course, have Outer Region Housecat of War. Some of the first matches have finished, and we'll be jumping in as soon as the next round is ready. So this is tonight's tournament. If you guys want to check it out, head on over to Total Tavern. You can read all the rules and see all the details for the tournament and all that sort of good stuff. So there you have it. Garrett, love the vids. Any speculation on the dwarf update? Happy they're going to be getting some love. Yeah. So what would they be getting? I mean, who are they missing? So I think that the dwarves need like an engineer character. That would be really the direction I would go. Like if I was doing a dwarven DLC, I'd probably do like the yeah, there's a couple options. So I think, was Grim Burlockson a hero, or was he a lord? Okay, let's see here. Was he a longest dwarf? Yeah, so he's a master engineer. Yeah, I would say that like a dwarven engineer. So like Grim Burlockson with maybe Malachi Mykosin. If you guys haven't seen him, he's like one of the coolest characters. He's a dwarven engineer who's also a slayer. And he creates like this, he ignores like the dwarven traditions and like conservatism and just makes these crazy inventions. So that would be really cool. I would definitely think that would be neat for that. Yeah. Gyro engineer mount for dwarves. Yes, give it to us. Yeah, I think Malachi Mykosin would be the coolest. Plus he's like has a really cool tie-in with the books and everything. And yeah, he's a badass character. He's a dwarven slayer engineer. That'd be so rad. Yeah, well, it's up to the hosts. Like, it's not like there's a blanket ban on Chaos Dwarves, Reginald, but it's mainly because of the capture weight. Like, you can still outvalue Chaos Dwarves, but then you just can't capture back against them because all of their 150 gold units have 5 capture weight. It's really stupid. I can't tell you how many games I've been winning against Chaos Dwarves in terms of value and just battlefield trading. I'll have like, I would have like, let's say like 2 Khorne warriors on an objective or whatever, and they can't outcap 2 goblin laborers, and they just kite you in circles, and it's really stupid. On top of that, magma cannons are heavily overtuned. Bull centaurs have broken hitboxes and are undercosted. There's just too many things with Chaos Dwarves right now. It's just dumb. Yeah, I certainly think it was the right direction to. I myself will be banning them from my tournaments. It's up to the other hosts, but until they get patched and fixed, which will be soon, I would imagine they're going to be karate chopped, at least in my events. Yeah, so I think like giving the dwarves something like that would be really cool. Did you see that multiplayer? Let's see. I'm not sure, Matt. I'm not sure what you're referring to. All right, so let's jump out of here. Actually, we could just kind of chill here in the meantime and see how the tournament is coming together. They have a little bit of time in the rounds. We started at 4:15, so the players technically have 7 minutes to finish their rounds. Although I don't know how he's running the tournament. That's up to the host. But in my tournaments, I have a 45-minute timer on each battle round, in which you start warning players towards the end to kind of speed things along a little bit if they take too long. But yeah, very nice stuff. This is tournaments being hosted by FPod. FPod, one of our local competitive players who's a new host, so shout out to FPod. Thank you for hosting, my friend. Hope you're having a good time playing. That's one of the best parts about being a tournament host is whenever you want to play in a tournament, you could just straight up host one. It's great. It's the good times. Yeah, Reginald Puggin says, yeah, I agree with the choice for sure. The capture weight sort of ruins the game against them. Yeah, it's really stupid. Would replacing Frenzy on Khorne Forsaken with another ability make them better? Yeah, I think that would be a good idea, honestly. I do. You could give them like Murderous Charge or something. That'd be really cool. Like imagine if the Khorne Forsaken had like a special rule that they get like the first time they charge, like they get like a huge charge bonus. Would be really badass. I think that'd be really neat. There's a 45 timer and a little bit of leeway at the end. Yeah, exactly, FPod. That's exactly what I do as well. Like, even if 45-minute hits, I'll message them and give warnings and usually give another 5 minutes after that. But it depends. If they give you a reason, like, hey, it was a little bit of lag or whatever, as long as they communicate with you, I think it's fine. Yeah, so Malachi is a really cool character. I don't think he was ever in tabletop as a model, was he? Malachi. Tabletop model? Did he ever get a miniature? Oh, it looks like he did. I don't know if that's him. Oh, man, that's badass. If that's actually him, then that's really cool. Hold on, let me show you guys what he looks like. All right, so what is the name of that? All right. So in lore, he's okay, let's see if there's any like good art depictions of him. Okay, it looks like there has been. Yeah, a Dwarven Engineer Slayer is pretty rad. Okay. Yeah, here you go. So this is like a kind of a depiction of him. It looks like he did have a tabletop model, but one sec here. A lot of the Gotrek and Felix characters got limited edition models. Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense, Jay. All right. Looking good here. So here he is here. The infamous Dwarf Slayer Engineer and companion of Gotrek and Felix. Dude, look how cool that guy is. The dwarves need a little bit of spice like that in their lives. You know, I think that would be super fun. Devastating Flanker, I probably wouldn't do that for Khorne. Khorne isn't about like flanking and outmaneuvering you. They're about charging into you head on. I think Devastating Flanker should be reserved for like Slanesh stuff, in my opinion. But I think like Murderous Charge would be a little bit more flavorful for those guys. And you could make them cost the appropriate amount for sure. All right, so Leech Lord and Kark are still playing, Rebel King and Subutai, so we got 2 matches still going, and all is good in the realm. Everything seems to be on pace here. I'm excited we'll get a Tzeentch rework. I don't know if it's going to be a rework. They'll probably just get some new stuff. Tzeentch is honestly like close to being decent. I mean, how are their stats looking? You know, Tzeentch not doing terribly this season. If we look at the stats, Chaos Dwarves are messing up a lot of people's stats too, because they're just like so hard to beat. And like all the Sweat Lords are just abusing Chaos Dwarves, or were abusing them to get tournament wins. Hang on, let's look here. So yeah, Chaos Dwarves obviously leaps in. Like you'll notice the 2 factions that are abusing like the 2 broken unintentional things are just like the strongest, right? Like Skaven just abusing the power grab mechanic and Chaos Dwarves with all their broken stuff. And once those 2 things, I think when Skaven lose the power grab bullshit, they'll go down to like probably a 50 to 55% win rate faction, which is exactly what they should be. Aside from that, we got some cool stats, you know, a lot of factions doing well. Greenskins sitting at 53%. So yeah, Tzeentch not doing terribly. They're at 43. They've been climbing back up. And Khorne, you know, all the melee factions. I don't know why Warriors of Chaos are doing so badly. I feel like maybe good players just aren't playing them anymore, and that's partially why. I think that's partially why. Because honestly, the couple times I played Warriors of Chaos in tournaments, they felt pretty good to me. Like I haven't had any issues with those guys. So, all right, so just going to be waiting for the next match. Should be getting started here in a couple minutes in terms of the lobbies. So let's go to the tournament. Love Tzeentch and Dom. Yeah, Tzeentch and land battle is pretty awful to play against because you can barely obey the attacking rules with Tzeentch whilst recharging shields on all your skirmishers and your entire army. It's like it's a super toxic playstyle. It's super toxic, yeah. Yeah, the playstyle is a little, yeah, no, I hear you. Tzeentch could use some new stuff. All right, we got the next round. Next up, we will be doing, all right, so whose game shall we cast? So we'll cast a different set of players. We can do Swarv versus Subutai, or we'll do Bob That Builder's game. Bob brings some really, really fun stuff. Hey man, casting your game. Send code, please. Spec slot. All right, so we're going to be casting Bob's game here. See how this goes down. Bob That Builder certainly has got some fun stuff. All right. So let's find this lobby. Going here. Multiplayer lobby. Bob. I assume it's Bob on a cob. So we'll get in there and spectate that one. Jay Phoenix's land battle Tzeentch is Kairos plus 2 soul grinders is awful. Oh, that feels awful. That feels awful. All right, so resetting the score, we have Bob versus his opponent is going to be Cow Z. All right, so we got the cows coming into battle. And we're all set. So his opponent will be joining soon, and we'll get this match started. Yeah, the Flamers could be a little bit better for sure. They're not terrible, though. They can definitely do well. So I don't know what it is about Tzeentch. Again, I haven't really delved into them, so I can't give you guys too many opinions on that. Slayer Pirates with the Blunderbuss would feel great. Oh, that'd be awesome, yeah. There's so much cool stuff they could add in this. Look at Bob. Bob's been a member for 22 months, and he says, "Witness me." Dude, we're going to witness your mighty power. Are you going to play Kislev for us? Oh, dude, don't talk dirty. Don't tease us with a good time. Is it going to be the mighty Kislev? It could be. All right, so Bob's opponent is on the way still. They're probably working out their picks and bans right now, I would imagine. And yeah, there they are. So we got the dreaded cow in here. Did Bob win the first round? Let's see. So Bob. Yeah, it looks like Bob did get a first round win, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, so both these players did win their first round match. Looking good. We're going to be having 4 rounds tonight. You can do 3 rounds as well in this format. 3 rounds works fine, 3 or 4. Thankfully, too, on the website now, it automatically deals with tiebreakers and stuff, which is really, really nice. So you don't have to worry about that anymore, which is so nice. Yeah, there's a lot of potential with what they can do in this game for for the old dwarves. Like Warhammer Fantasy just has so many years of history, you know, like it's what, spanning back to the late 80s, I guess. I don't know. Somebody could tell me the exact date. I don't know the deep lore on it, but man, if I worked at Creative Assembly and they like put me in charge of just adding things to the game, it would just be it'd probably be a little bit out of hand. There's so much cool stuff. Bob says I just won with Kislev. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Good call on the dwarfs. What do you think the Empire will get in the winter update? Okay. So the Empire is missing a fair amount of stuff. I think I actually, one second here. I think I actually have I was going to do a video on it. Like, the missing units for the Empire. But it just, it's not really my style to do those kind of videos. You know, that's more kind of, you know, there's people who do that way better. I'm just like, you know, I'll just focus on what I'm doing here. I don't know if I have it. Okay, well. Anyways, the Empire's missing a fair amount. You have Kurt Helborg, which would be really cool. But he's kind of like he would probably play similar to like a Franz type character. You have Luther Huss. I think he should be added 100%. Warrior Priests are like one of the most iconic characters in Warhammer Fantasy, right? So getting a legendary hero Warrior Priest for the Empire would be super badass. Like one that's actually good. So you get Luther Huss. And then I think the Empire will probably get a Celestial Huracanum. That'll be its big centerpiece unit, would be my guess. You know, every DLC, they have like some huge monster that's like the centerpiece or some big big just item. So Celestial Huracanum, which is like a Templehof Luminarch that would shoot AoE lightning. So instead of like being a single target shot, the Celestial Huracanum buffs nearby mages, typically speaking, and it does like AoE damage. So it'd be kind of like a Wujing War Compass that actually attacks and also buffs nearby mages, which would be really fun. I don't know how good it'd be, but it'd be very flavorful. You could also do Boris Todbringer and just give him an Ulrich faction. That would be a really serious update, though. Because like if you gave Boris Todbringer his own faction and gave him Ulrich units, that's like almost making a new faction, which I think could be very, very cool. Yeah, I mean, like that would be my preferred choice. If I had any say in it, I would want like a fully fledged Toddy Ulrich faction, you know, like so you could still use Toddy in the Empire, but then there's like another faction where he's got his own units and things like that. Yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I would like the Knightly Orders to be incorporated in multiplayer. Like I feel like there's some stuff that the Empire could bring from the campaign that wouldn't be overpowered. Like Knights of War are not overpowered. It's like an Empire Knight that costs like 1,000 gold and causes terror. It's like I don't think as like an ROR that would be OP. Elspeth von Draken would be neat too. Like getting a big Deathcaster for the Empire on a dragon. That would open up a ton of builds too. Because if you had Elspeth on her dragon, then you could bring double Warrior Priest, you could bring double Witch Hunter without having to bring Balthazar Gelt, right? Gelt is not very good, unfortunately. He's okay. He's very, very niche. Very niche. I think he's good against Cathay and a couple other matchups as well. So, yeah. Well, the landship, isn't that Marienburg? That's not necessarily the Empire. Yeah. Not necessarily the Empire. So, players still doing their picks and bans here. It looks like we could be on Kislev versus Demons of Chaos. Let me go ahead and double check this and see if they are picking their armies. Oh, shit. Okay, yeah. No, these guys are doing Kislev versus Demons of Chaos. Wow. All right. Is that right? It kind of looks like it. Yeah, no, it legitimately looks like it's a Kislev build that's designed to fight Demons of Chaos, which is pretty exciting. Hopefully they don't forget to change the map. All right, what is the map for this one? Let me check it, and going up, the second map is going to be Glinty Toof's Crag, a very fun greenskin map. Don't forget to change the map. All right, there they go. So Bob will be changing the map there. For Nurgle, I would say Tamarcon is the best bet. Because the best way to, you know, sell a Nurgle DLC would be Tamarcon, right? Like this. So Tamarcon is a Nurgle parasite, like a worm-like creature that basically mind controls things. So Tamarcon itself is this little parasite that mind controlled an ogre tyrant, and basically took over his body and his mind and everything. So infested him. So the Nurgle tyrant guy is riding a giant toad dragon. It is like the coolest shit ever. So like Nurgle gets Tamarcon that he can be on foot or he can be riding the toad dragon. And then you also have you have toad dragons as a new unit for Nurgle, like a fast regenerating big monster. Oh god, that'd be so cool. And then, you know, you can mix in a couple other units as well, but that would be really, really good. Yeah, you have the Glotkin. Glotkin's really cool. Myself, I'm a Tamarkon enjoyer, because the fact that I think the Tamarkon makes more sense because he would come with Toad Dragons, because he rides one. It's like, it makes more sense. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. Ogre Town is just the latest farm. I think the name Tamarkon is a Kurgan chieftain. Yeah, interesting. Toad Dragon would be so cool. It'd be so cool. All right. No, okay, no, it's Nurgle actually, guys. They weren't final on their picks. That was his Kislev build from the previous game. Okay, so they're still adjusting their picks a little bit. So we have some more time to chat. Somebody in chat earlier was asking about where I get my third hand minis. So again, disclaimer, I'm not sponsored by these guys at all. But yeah, this is where I get like all my miniatures, right? So you know, if you want to go get Empire minis, I've noticed that since the old world has been announced, they've been getting cleaned out much quicker. So take it with a grain of salt. But you can get like you see, here's a classic General of the Empire with a standard bearer guy. They have I've noticed a lot of the plastic miniatures are getting cleaned out. Yeah, flagellants, but there should be some here. Yeah, Archer Rangers. These are like old Empire models. Oh, the Citadel. Yeah, that's like a decorative. I think I remember seeing that when I was a kid at the store. Holy shit, look at this old school wizard, man. Yeah. I have this medal. This is an engineer with a Hochland long rifle. This is the engineer I use in my tabletop army. The model actually looks really good. Like many of the metal models, despite looking a little bit haggard, they look pretty good once you get them painted up. So here's a cannon. You got some other stuff. That one's painted. But I've really noticed since the old world has come out that, or not come out, but has been like hyped, that you're seeing a lot less stuff. Here's some Empire Knights. These guys are cool. I have a contingency of those in my army. I'll make a video sometime in the next week. Oh, this model's cool. So this was a limited edition. No, Turin, keep it secret. So this is a limited edition Warrior Priest that was made for a Forge World event. It's a really cool model. It really is like a classic Warhammer fantasy. You got a Witch Hunter here. Witch Hunters, don't bother spending $100 on a Witch Hunter, guys. You can just buy the Age of Sigmar Witch Hunter. It looks totally fine. That's what I have in my army. Battle Priests are only $7, or Battle Wizards. They're cheap as hell. So you can see, yeah, here's that same Witch Hunter for only $45. He's probably missing some pieces or something. I'm not sure. Here's the Forge World Warrior Priest I was talking about. It's really cool, but obviously isn't painted. Yeah, there's a lot of models here, but I've noticed a lot of the plastic stuff is kind of, yeah, here's some plastic models. You could see people already painted them, but if you're really, you know, if you're a handy person, you could just strip the paint off them. It's really easy to do. Some handgunners. We got a Hellblaster volley gun, Battle Wizards on horseback, Empire Knights, you know. These are the old school flagellants. They look like dwarves, like straight up. The new flagellants are pretty good though. You can still buy those on Games Workshop. Yeah, so you can look through all these. Let's see let's look through some other stuff as well, guys. Let's have a little bit of Friday night Warhammer and chill, shall we? All right, so that's the Empire and Kislev, mind you. Okay. How do I scroll through here? There we go. More fantasy. Ogre Kingdom, Skaven. Skaven are probably... Tomb Kings are really rare. Tomb Kings are really rare. Because Games Workshop is going to re-release old models. So here's another thing. Games Workshop said in their recent Old World thing that they're going to be re-releasing old models that you can just buy. So I would really do not fall into the trap of being scalped for these like insane prices. Just hang out, and they're going to be re-releasing a lot of this stuff too. Like, this is a great deal right here, though. Check this out. You could buy like a full unit of Storm Vermin for $14 or 14 pounds. And you could see somebody it looked like somebody stripped the paint off these, but didn't quite fully get it. So what you would do is just soak these guys for a day or two in like some soap water with, I don't know, I guess there's a number of things you could use. And then just get a toothbrush and you should be able to get these off. But yeah, like that's a really good deal. Like a box of Storm Vermin would normally be like $40-50. And Clan Rats are $8. Like Skaven are probably one of the cheapest armies to start. A full batch of Clan Rats, this would take you a while to paint for $15. Like, yeah, and they're already on the square bases, which is cool. So you really just would have to use a modified movement tray, because the Warhammer Fantasy is going to be having a 25 millimeter bases for all the baseline infantry. So they'll be on bigger bases, but you could just use a movement tray to fix that. So you don't even need to rebase them if you don't want to. Yeah, Skaven are pretty cheap. Oh, look at that. That's a cool model. The Poison Wind Mortar here. Check that out. Yeah. Oh, old school Queek Headtaker and Deathmaster. Dude. So somebody just sold their Skaven collection to this website. Dude, that model's awesome. And you got Deathmaster here. Oh, that's so cool. I might have to come through here and buy some Skaven later. Oh my god. I didn't think I was starting a Skaven army, but now I'm starting to think that, yeah, isopropyl alcohol. Yeah, that's what my wife used to help me with. Dude, look at Queek. That model is so rich. It's got such good flavor. Look at that. Oh, yeah. So you can get a lot of goodies on there, ladies and gentlemen. That's where I get all my minis. It's so fun to look through there. It's been 84 years since Age of Empires 4. Early next week, Monday or Tuesday. I'm planning something. Yep. Yes, yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, taking a look here at the forces of Bob, we have Nurgle versus the Greenskins. Oh, yeah. Oh, we got the Night Goblin War Boss. Sign me up, dude. I'm glad I casted this game. These guys are bringing all the flavor to this match. So, Nurgle is going to be having Marauder Hordes, right? We got Marauders, and they'll trade okay. They will be beaten down by, like, Savage Orcs and Squigs and things like that, but typically they hold and they apply poison. We do also have Plague Drones with the Death's Head, so these are the Holy Hand Grenade. And they got buffed as well. They have a higher model count. They have more ammunition. I've actually seen a couple games where the Plague Drones with the grenades can do very, very well for sure. So, yeah, that's the new Deathmaster. It's the new one, but it's totally fine for playing Deathmaster. Yeah, it's really, really good. All right, and then we do have the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle. So he's going to be coming in with Rancid Visitations, which is like a Spirit Leech effect, and Stream of Corruption. I've noticed in a lot of replays that Nurgle enjoyers have been using Rancid Visitations, and we do have the Exalted Hero of Nurgle. Now for the great armies of cows here. Oh yeah, baby, double giant. Now Nurgle, I don't know if you guys saw the replay I put up a couple days ago of this exact matchup, but double giant is very, very meta against Nurgle. Nurgle can struggle to deal with them if they don't have, a bunch of Marauder Horsemen or their own single entities to fight these. I myself in this matchup really like to go with the Nurgle Death Star, using a great unclean one, or like the Nurgle Giant with healing. I find that you can typically trade pretty well there. So that's pretty much it. We got some archers in the back, some Night Goblins moving up, some Squig Hoppers in the backfield, and some Night Goblin War Boss. Now the Night Goblin War Boss, he had his moment in the sun. I remember when he first came out, there was people screaming OP because he had some snares. And land battle snares are certainly very impactful. But yeah, he's got the Tormentor Sword for a little bit of snaring. He has a Rampage ability, which lasts a hell of a long time. He's a cool character, man. A lot of utility on this little guy. And yeah, he's still an anti-infantry fighter that can kind of pick off characters and all that sort of good stuff. So I love this Greenskin army. I think it's great. Warlord's Boys coming in. We got Skulkers. Life is good, man. Life is good. Speaking of, I'm going to have a little bit of water here and keep this party going. Valnir, did you see the new Harbinger of Decay model? Yeah, it's awesome. Dude, I had a game where Uncle for Uncle got almost 3,000 value against Greenskins. It was crazy. The Spirit Leech, he was fighting giants very effectively. It's cool that you're like constantly discovering. So I play a lot of tabletop Warhammer. I play 40k, and I have plans on starting a channel for the old world, right? I obviously had very limited experience with fantasy. I've kind of like dabbled in it, very casually. But I do feel like domination mode, like when you're looking at the just Warhammer general tabletop experience, captures it well. You have like capture points, and you have to like choose if you want to sacrifice value to get objectives, and it kind of has many of those same paradigms, while also really effectively capturing the feeling of the Warhammer Fantasy armies, right? A couple little issues here and there need to be fixed, but they're getting there. Rancid Visitation's going down, so Nurgle, oh my god, look how much damage that's doing. Holy shit, okay, so that's really good against a squishy character like that. Night Goblin War Bosses don't have a lot of HP. I almost think that you just unsummon this guy and bring him back. So that was an overcasted Rancid Visitations, which is going to be costing a lot of Winds of Magic, but holy shit, Nurgle Magic strong. So that costs about 21 Winds of Magic, give or take. And that Night Goblin War Boss just got absolutely Shadow Realms. Another one might kill him, so I would probably be very cautious. Oh my god, are the Toads going to go with their grenades and snipe the War Boss? Oh my god, you got to unsummon that War Boss right now. You got to unsummon the War Boss. Holy shit, the Nurgle sniping combos. Who would have thought Nurgle's just all slow and ponderous, but... Yep, Holy Hand Grenades coming in. Oh, the War Boss able to juke him. He's pretty quick on his squig here. Now we get the Barons of the Bog moving in with Marauders of Nurgle, and the Night Goblin's going to be fighting valiantly, and we do have a fair amount of archers. Rusty Air is going to be very good at shooting into a multitude of Nurgle targets. And now the Giants move in, and here they come. It is time. Let the boy feast. So looking back here, we do see ye old Plague Drones with the Death's Heads continuing to snipe the Night Goblin War Boss. I'm sure Bob that Builder is just patiently waiting to cast again, although it looks like he's not going to be using another Rancid Visitations. Rather, he uses his Winds of Magic to go after the Broken Tusk Mobs, which is pretty cool. Barons of the Bog fighting here. They are going to be debuffing the Giants, so the Giants are down to 420 weapon strength, but even still, they're doing okay against the Exalted Hero. So yeah, debuffing the Giants with Poison and the Barons of the Bog and some of those other effects is is very strong. Yeah, it takes away a lot of their stats. So the Gobbo's still shooting here. We got Skulkers and Archers sitting in the back. A little bit of a lapse in micro here from our Gobbo player. He does have these Archers back here that probably need to move up and put a little bit of hurt downtown. But Nurgle does seem to be in a very dominant position in this game. They are going to be sending some Forsaken and Marauders back to the objective number 2, which they should be capturing. Granted, there are some Squig Hoppers down here, which are very good against armored infantry like Forsaken, but the Demon's Few are just so jacked that they would probably end up being able to grind that fight out anyways. They're a much more expensive unit. Now we get Chaos Knights coming out from Bob. Chaos Knights very good at killing mass amounts of lightly armored stuff. So Chaos Knights I actually do think are good in this matchup. I think they pound Squigs pretty hard. They also can mow down most Greenskin infantry with the exception of Black Orcs. Black Orcs would have actually been really devastating here. If there had been like 3 or 4 Black Orcs moving in with the double giant, I think that the Nurgle build might have struggled to deal with them. But the 2 Giants are still grinding well. One of them's kind of low, but Giants have insane leadership. They have such high leadership. They're very, very tough to remove here. And the Nurgle units do make it up to the point. Squigs do a little bit of charging against the Demon's Spew, but still Demon's Spew have good stats. They have poison. They also lower the melee attack of nearby units with Swarm of Flies. And we'll see if these Squig Hoppers are going to be able to deal with them. It looks like the charge is going down, but the Gobbo player does pop the Wah. The Wah is going to give him a little bit of fighting power here. But Bob is pretty much ahead in every regard. He's ahead on value. He's ahead on the objectives. This objective still hasn't flipped yet. Yeah, Nurgle has that one. Nurgle does have this objective. Looks like the Goblins are pretty close to capturing this one back. You do have a fair amount of capture weight here, which is certainly nice. Archer shooting into the Plague Drones up in the sky. And that Night Goblin Warboss probably just needs to be unsummoned at this point. Broken Tusk Mob, not a terrible choice. Anti-large, they can poke down the Toads to an extent, but even still, the armor piercing on them is a little bit wasted. Maybe some Orc Biggins could have been a pretty nice addition as well to deal with Toad spam. Orc Biggins do have the anti-large, so they can certainly chew through these guys. Pretty sure. And the back objective, it looks like it was taken by Nurgle. Couple Nasty Skulkers moving in. Nasty Skulkers do trade well into Forsaken, assuming they don't get charged. But I think that the Greenskin player realizes that that's going to be a little bit of a bleak fight there. But nice Archer Concave. This is very cost effective. Getting 2 cheap Archer units, just kind of pounding into the Plague Drones here. And this is a 1,500 gold unit. They are really, really not cheap. So shooting them with the Archers is very, very cost effective. And the Greenskins do manage to wrestle this objective back, ladies and gentlemen. The sustainability of the double giants really starting to pay dividends here as we see the Warlords boys moving in. The Sneaky Gits all up in here being hopped on by the Toads. You gotta love the Toads of Nurgle. Just so cool. Such a funky little unit here. Broken Tusk Mob in the back. Getting their anti-large shanks in. And the Cultists of Nurgle probably going to be getting killed by the Giants. The Giants are back and they're pissed, baby. Spider the Bad Moon giving a nice weapon strength buff. He was up to 700 for a second. And the Nurgle Cultist does get beaten down. And the Toxic Cow looking like he's maybe coming back in the game a little bit. But he is losing out on the objectives. Nurgle very, very good at playing the objective game. We get Nasty Skulkers moving across to go after the Plague Toads. Plague Toads getting hammered by these Goblin Archers. So the Greenskins certainly not out of this game quite yet. So the brave Nasty Skulkers, let's see if he's got the Flash Bomb active. It looks like he doesn't quite pop it, but the Toads do get in, doing quite a bit of work. But even still, the 2 Archer units should be able to drag them down with proper micro. We'll have to see how that works. Broken Tusk Mob peeling down from the high ground. And the Broken Tusk Mob will just obliterate these Plague Toads. It's going to be a brutal one. Plague Toads did get an armor piercing buff, which helps them quite a bit against such targets, but Nurgle really doesn't like this kind of missile focus. Now we get some Trolls on the way in. Oh, it's the Swamp Things, baby! Sign me up for this all day, every day. Shout out to Cows, we love it. The Swamp Things going to be on their way in, and yeah, they'll be able to handle Toads as well as the infantry. So that's a nice pick. And the Greenskins do flip this objective back. Points are going to be a bit of an issue, though, as we do see Nurgle starting to lose out, and the Greenskins start to pull ahead on value here. It's getting a little bit scary for our boy Bob, who did have a very commanding start in the game, but now the 2 Giants are just going to be very tough to remove. I do think that fighting the Giant Goon Squad with your own Goon Squad is one of the better ways to do this, but we'll have to see. The wall active, once again, resounding through the valley as the Swamp Things and the Squigs swarm down from the hills. 69 Marauders living their best life. Nasty Skulkers, though, with the WA active, going to be able to prison shank them pretty well. Squigs coming in from the side, hopping all over them. Really, really nice flank there. And it looks like Cows has gotten back on the menu. This objective is going to be flipped for the forces of the Greenskins. 2 Giants fighting here, but Bob might have an opportunity to get this objective. He still has his Chaos Knights, which he gets a very nice Fecundity on. We do get the Plague Toads of Nurgle making their way back up. And the Exalted Hero and the Chaos Sorcerer do provide 3 capture weight each. So the Greenskins might need to be careful not to, play this objective too lightly. As I'm seeing the Giants are looking a little bit alone right now. We do see some Goblins coming in. But yeah, you don't want to leave the Giants unsupported. You want to get some infantry in there for those bad boys. But it looks like the Greenskins just going to be bum rushing the back objective. So we have Swamp Things and Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. Nurgle doesn't really seem to have any reinforcements coming out. I would imagine maybe some Desperation Nurglings maybe out of the Vanguard points. We'll have to see. But this is going to be devastating. Swamp Things, they hit pretty hard. They're not quite as brutal as some of the other Trolls in terms of pure combat effectiveness. But yeah, they also do debuff stats. So giving Nurgle a little bit of a taste of their own medicine with the overwhelming odor, which you think Nurgle units would be immune to, but I guess not. So yeah, this objective's going to flip hardcore, and then it's just up to the Greenskins to try and wrestle this objective back. Really, really good control now from Toxic Cow. He pulls the Giants back out of the AoE blob and pulls them to the support of archers. And now he can honestly turn around and fight. With a little bit of archer support, these toads could probably be dragged down pretty quickly. We get Chaos Knights battling Broken Tusk Mob, which is, yeah, the Chaos Knights might win because of the numbers, but the Broken Tusk Mob will trade incredibly cost effectively here. They have armor piercing, they have anti-large, they themselves are heavily armored, which means Chaos Knights are not going to be amazing against them. And yeah, we got Swamp Things coming over as well. Honestly, looking like Greenskins could totally get back in this game. They pulled a really, really substantial value lead. One Giant here a little bit trapped up. Looking at summons for both sides, what do we see coming out? Looks like the Toxic Cow is saving up for something. This could be a blunder. I'm not sure. He's got 2,000 in the bank, which is kind of allowing the Nurgle forces to get some momentum on the battlefield again. Chaos Knights here get absolutely mulched, though. These Chaos Knights get pounded pretty hard by Swamp Things and Squig Hoppers, and Nurgle's sending infantry up, but these infantry are basically just going to be fodder for these units, right? Swamp Things and Squig Hoppers will just annihilate that pocket of units. So the Giant moving around. Looks like he's getting extra sneaky. Now just going to be battling some Marauders here where he can, and we do see the Lord come back. Okay, so the Greenskins were saving up for their Lord. So they brought back the Night Goblin War Boss. He's back in business, baby. And he's hunting for blood. I mean, he could probably kill that Chaos Sorcerer if he can find him in a little bit of a duel. We'll have to see. He's going to be hopping down there to go after the Toads. Got to be careful, though. Don't want to throw him into the fray unsupported. I mean, he's a good enough fighter, but not amazing. Archer's getting routed back here, and once again, Toxic Cow may have made a blunder that could cost him the game. He sends in the Night Goblin War Boss, who just gets popped with another Rancid Visitations and fully surrounded. And the Nurgle character has the Filth Mace, which makes him a pretty good fighter. So he might as well pop his items now, like all of his AoE snaring items, like, because he's not going to be long for this world. As we do see the Night Goblin War Boss getting absolutely eviscerated by the Nurgle Sorcerers. They're very strong fighters. Chaos Sorcerers in general are not slouches. Up here, we do see Nurgle making their way to the objective. They got some Toads in there, Broken Tusk Mob trying to fight. It looks like the Trolls did pull over to the side objective and are going to be trying to wrestle this one, and they should have reasonable success with it. We do see the Marauders here getting broken down, and yeah, the Greenskin Lord coming in just to get pounded again is really, really unfortunate. It's really, really unfortunate. But here, Night Goblin, Squig Hoppers, and the Gobos, they're nibbling that Cultist in a little bit of trouble. We do get some Morgrum's Maging Marauders coming down, which are going to be putting some armor-piercing shots, I would imagine, into the Nurgle Sorcerer. It's hard to tell what they're targeting. But yeah, shooting into the Chaos Sorcerer on his horse would probably be the ideal target. Cultists here getting absolutely smashed, and looking at the points, it's a pretty close game. Nurgle is up by a fair amount in terms of points, but it's close enough. Nurgle does manage to take its home objective because obviously the Swamp Things and these other units came over here to grab this point. Giant is on the objective. Toxic Cow definitely needs to get that Giant over there to start hammering down on these units to clear that objective a little bit quicker. Nurglings are still durable for what they are. They're not, the most killy units in the world, but they can certainly do a little bit of work in terms of their tankiness. Wavering is the Chaos Lord. 15 leadership being shot by the Morgubs and Maging Marauders. We do also see the Exalted Hero of Nurgle on the run, so that's very, very cost effective, getting rid of those heroes. The Night Goblin War Boss is back. Smoking Hot Wife is in chat as well. You as well, darling. You as well. And the Giant going to be heading over to the middle, heading to objective number 2 now, as we do have the Archers shooting down into the Toads, but the other Toads not going to be letting their Toad homies get punished there, and these guys move in with their hopping tongues, and yeah, getting some good work in. Definitely good at killing infantry. Plague Toads, I like that, like, the defining unit of Nurgle in terms of their, like, non-infantry is good, right? Like, finally, it's about time. Swamp Thing's trying to fight here, but Nurgle's getting a little bit of momentum back. Slight lapses in micro here, but the Toxic Cow are costing him for sure. He looks like he was in a position to maybe take over the game, but Bob that Builder, tenacious indeed, pulling the game back, as now the Giant's going to be making his way in and trying to clear this out, but this is not going to be easy. Nurgle's got a lot of stuff here now, and the Greenskins really only have Swamp Things kind of fighting on their own here. Nurgle also threatening to take the back objective. We do see the Giant Squig Hoppers trying to chase down these Toads, but I think Bob is probably going to clinch this game. I think that's going to happen. A couple little mistakes. I do think that Toxic Cow had a position to win the game. I think maybe you resummon your Lord, but don't send it into combat like that. Maybe kind of keep it in the wings and use it on the periphery. And defend objective number 3, and don't let Nurgle retake that so easy while you pressure this objective with missiles. I think there was just a couple little mistakes that went down that might cost our boy Toxic Cow the game. But man, he's playing a really good game. Bob is an incredibly solid player, so certainly no shame in that. Rusty Arrows on their way back in. Nasty Skulkers heading on up. Could there be a triple cap here by the Greenskins? Toxic Cow still does have the value lead, but with Fecundity being taken into account, it's probably pretty close. It looks like the back objective is stabilized here by the Greenskins, so that's very important, the fact that they stabilize that back objective. It's going to be a triple cap situation. Like, they're going to need a triple cap, but those points are not doing the Greenskins any favors. They're going to need to move up really, really quickly here. Some Marauders get broken. We got the Death's Head drones coming back in. I really like the Death's Head as like a tech against Giants also. Like their Unholy Hand Grenade just kind of picking off Giants and big monsters. It doesn't seem like terrible. And also they seemed like they were decent utility against Black Orcs if they do get picked, since they're pretty good at dealing armor-piercing damage. And they can also do a little bit of Lord Sniping. So I kind of like the utility of Bob's Plague Drones. I feel like that's very fun. But could the cow come back? He does clear off the Nurglings here, but we still see a fair amount of Nurgle forces. Night Goblin Warboss moving up onto the objective, and the Nurglite forces are starting to get pushed off with Squig Hoppers coming in to reinforce. We got more Gobbos and more Gobbos, and now the back objective is going to be getting pressed. Bob is on the back foot once again. What a good back and forth game we've had here today, guys. It's been really, really close, and I'm certainly enjoying every second of this. As the Giant moves in, a little bit of an archer line pushing up, the remnants of the Chaos Knights coming in to try and help as well. But there's a lot of sneaky gets in here, guys, including some RORs. We have the Morgubs Mangy Marauders and some Night Goblins, Squig Hoppers. And this objective's going to flip pretty hard here. We do see some Marauders coming in to try and press this objective, but Swamp Things still regenerating, being trolled. So at this point, what needs to happen is you need to grab your units up here, right? Just like grab those 2 units and just move over to that objective, right? And then when you get there, you can just take it, and you're going to be in good shape. It needs to happen. It needs to happen. You still need to leave a little something to defend this, but you need to start playing that home objective and playing as if you do need the triple cap. Because I believe at this point, you do need a triple cap to win. It's really close, but even still. Nurgle's going to be flooding probably to Helm's Deep on this objective. You can see Nurgle's going to be rerouting its forces. So you see these guys are on their way over, and those Marauders of Nurgle are going to be heading on over to objective number 3, which is good to try and Helm's Deep that. Back objective, a little bit of a ninja threat. It's kind of funky by Bob. Bob showing how cunning of a player he is by grabbing that back objective there with those Marauders. But I think the Squig herd's going to be on their way down and should be able to clean them out. So you better pay attention to this. You do not want to be losing that. Great drawing. I'm glad you guys like it. Yeah, no, I've been practicing my art skills, and yeah, it really does go to show here in the stream. Now, this could be a throw, though. You got to leave something to defend this. Do the Greenskins see this coming? He's like moving towards that back objective with like more or less everything, but there's Toads and Nurglings. That's a lot of capture weight and stopping power coming in there, so you're gonna need to do that. You're gonna need to do that. Was it intentional? Well, you'll never know the answer. It's the great mysteries of life. Yeah, Bob holding on well and still pressuring objectives using Nurglings in their deceiving Vanguard capture weight speed to move over there. Looking at this objective here, we do see the Marauders getting chased down. Swamp Things need to pull back. Hardcore. He needs something to defend that. We see some nasty Skulkers that could come over there and help, but I don't know if they're going to get there in time. He's pretty much going all in on capturing this back objective of the forces of Nurgle, which he probably will be able to eventually, but like if he loses this objective number 1, it's not going to matter. It's basically just going to be GG game blouses. So the big giant coming in, trying to crump down against the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. The Filth Mace is popped. And yeah, I think Bob has got this. I think like he needed to defend this objective. He does pull back, but it's a little bit too late now. Like he could have maybe intercepted the Nurglings before they got to the point with the Trolls and used his Tormentor Sword on his Night Goblin Warboss to try and snare them down. But now this objective is going to be going to Nurgle, and suddenly they have a ton of capture weight here. Bob really playing some solid Nurgle play here today. As the Nurglings grab the objective, and this point is being held by Nurgle, but probably will be getting lost, but not before the game's over. It's going to be pretty tight. Giant hunting down the Sorcerer Lord. I love how cool Chaos Mounts look now. Like they were so haggard in game 1 and 2. They looked like giant ponies, but now they're pretty awesome. So the Giant just waddling, still providing a little bit of capture weight. This objective looks like it's flipping to the Greenskins, and the Night Goblin Warboss, as well as his Troll Toll squad, trying to wrestle this objective back. But Toads and Nurglings have a fair amount of HP in mass. Nurglings themselves have 8,000 HP. They're certainly no slouches. The Nasty Skulker is going to be heading up there to try and grab it. I have to say, very impressive play. This game was great. If there was another 2 minutes, for sure the Greenskins probably win this game. But man, what a back and forth match. This has been a really good one. Cool tactics on display on both sides. Minor misplays here and there from both sides, but that's what makes games interesting and fun. And it's a good learning experience for all. So Night Goblin's here. He's using actually gold chevron Night Goblins. That's pretty badass. Yeah, he's only got 30 seconds to get this point back, guys. I don't think that's going to happen. And looks like Big Chungus Nurgle's going to get it. The Greenskins just kind of playing whack-a-mole, trying to take down Nurgle wherever they go, but Nurgle just kind of snaking the points back and forth. There's a couple little things, right? Like where your opponent just, you let them have an objective for a little bit too long and it can come back to bite you. So Squig's coming up, 15 seconds until the game's over. At this point, it's impossible. GG, well played to these two players. What a great match. That was really a lot of fun. And yeah, shout out to you, Cows. That was a fun build, as well as Bob. Both of you guys very fun players to watch. And yeah, that's going to be all she wrote. Bob will be going 2-0 in the tournament. Toxic Cow still has a chance to advance to the grand finals if they win their next 2 games, and assuming Bob keeps winning and providing a good tiebreaker, it's certainly possible. All right, let's break it down. Let's see what's going on here, guys. Let's see what's going down. Gold Chevron Goblos. Yeah, Double Giant has been a staple against Nurgle for a long time. It's very good in that matchup. You can see the value is decent. 1,800, 2,400. Giants only cost like 1,500, so that's really good. Okay, so Toxic Cow. If Toxic Cow had like a caster, it could have been a very different game. So it looks like I didn't notice it, but he didn't bring a caster. So if you're watching this back, you just played a very good player, Toxic. But if you need a wizard of some sort, like bring a River Troll Hag. The Spirit Leeches would have helped you kill tons of things. You could cast Fate Abuna on the Knights. Not using magic is always a mistake. So just lesson learned. You gotta always bring a caster there. And even if you don't think WoW magic is going to be good, just bring a River Troll Hag, and you're going to be living your best life. So that is going to be a W for Bob. Bob will be going 2-0 so far in tonight's event. And let's go take a look at the brackets and refresh it and see how we're looking. Have a little sip of water. Maybe those were the RORs, Ben. I could have misread it. I'm not sure. Okay, so let's go over to the tournament here. Yeah, so Swarv still playing Subutai. Alls versus Ulrich Rawl. Cows versus Bob That Builder we just concluded. Catholic Alcoholic versus Gark. Love the name. Renegade Moose, Dark Rich, and Rebel King and Mikey playing down there. So now you can see we have a tool on the website that it auto ranks people from top to bottom. So these are like the top players, and it automatically calculates their strength of schedule. So at the end, what you do is we have a new button where we just click advance to top 4, and it creates a new tournament page with just the top 4 players. It's so nice. Hopefully it'll work. We just updated it. We're testing it. Tonight is basically a testing run for it. So yeah, some nice changes coming in for Ye Olde Total Tavern. All right, cool. Yeah, in game 2, the tooltip never said AP Cloonies. Yeah, I remember that bug. I remember that. I remember it. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Let's see what it did value in the Nurgle army. Man, that Nurgle Sorcerer went apeshit. 3,000 value. Rancid Visitations, and his Filth Mace was cool too. Like, he was actually getting in and taking people to the club. He was blasting some 50 cent. 1,500 on the Plague Drones, not bad. Forsaken were cool. As far as reinforcements go. Chaos Knights are just so cool. They're definitely one of the most rad units in the entire game. Is my dad playing? That's funny. No more Haggard math streams. I'm sorry. If that was your favorite part of the channel, you'll have to move on. Swamp Things didn't do bad. They managed to get 1,400 themselves too, and the big old broken tusk mob, not bad at all. Not bad at all. All right, so this round started at let's see. So we started at 4:15. Yeah, so we have another 12 minutes before the next round starts. So we can just keep going to look at some old Warhammer Fantasy miniatures. I think that's always fun. The Troll Trader. All right, so we're back in business. Here we go. Where are we at? And yes. So yeah, Bretonnia is going to be getting some new models too, which is really cool. But they're also going to be re-releasing the old models. Because like, if you look at the old Bretonian models, like Knights of the Realm and stuff, look at that. See, the Knights of Bretonnia Regiment, these are just going to be getting resold like by GW. Like these out-of-print Knights, like here's the Questing Knights and Knights of the Realm, basically. They're going to be coming back and being resold. So you probably don't need to worry about paying these absurd prices. Yeah, the Bretonian archers are still cheap. It's mainly the knights that were really, really hard to get your paws on, for sure. It's a faction we want to look at here. High Elves, Ogre Kingdoms. Let's look at some Haggard Orcs and Goblins. Hell yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that guy. How cool is he? What's really cool about the Orcs and Goblins in general is, like, you can use a ton of the Age of Sigmar models and just, like, use them. Like, the Age of Sigmar Goblins. Hold on a sec. Let me pull them up here. You could just put them on square bases and they'll basically like be your squig hoppers or whatever, and you're fine, right? So if you go here, all right, there we go. And you go to the Grand Alliance of Destruction. So this is Age of Sigmar, and they have a Goblin faction there, right? Like you could totally just use this guy, like, or these really new, like, I love this model. This Night Goblin, like loon boss on a giant cave squig. This could basically just be, your Goblin hero riding a squig. Like what you just saw in that battle, it's right here. And these models are like, you could totally just use them for Old World too, which is really nice. I like the crossover. And obviously it was intended. They planned that, I'm sure. Ragnarok spiders are pretty badass. I really dislike spiders though. I would be like, even just holding that in my hand and painting it would just make me feel, yeah. Real talk, the Filth Mace was a misclick. It was cool, man. It was cool. Yeah. Yeah, these models are nice. And you got these are the old school Spider Riders, which honestly didn't age that badly. They didn't age that badly. Yep, here's the river trolls right here. You got the old school river trolls. They totally aged fine. I think they still look great. Yeah, here's the squig hoppers. They look really nice too. And yeah, but if we go to the old fantasy models, you can see some real janky ones. Here's some old school orc error boys. Look at these. Oh, you gotta love like the old school kind of squat orcs. It's great. Yeah, you gotta love it. Skarsnik and Gobla, the OG. This is the dream team right here. Although I'm pretty sure you can still buy that model from Games Workshop. Although maybe they discontinued it, I'm not sure. Oh wow, somebody's selling like a full Skarsnik fantasy army here. Wow. Skarsnik's Gloomspite Broken Moon Clan. That's pretty expensive though. It's nicely painted for sure, but that is very, very pricey. Yeah, see, this is, you got Skarsnik here, you got Fanatics in the front. So these models here in the middle with the balls are Fanatics. And the cool thing is like when you can just use movement trays, even if you have round bases, now that they made these square bases bigger, you can straight up just use movement trays and it's not gonna matter what base you're on really. You could kind of bounce between the two game systems. Yeah, Night Goblins here are great. Yeah, nice giant right there. You got the big old classic giant. Monstrous Orc War Machine. Holy shit, look at this. You got all these like Night Goblins just on screen. Night Goblins are really easy to paint. Like you could literally, I could probably paint a Night Goblin in like 5 minutes and make it look decent. They are very, very easy to paint. Oh my god, look at these. Oh, what are these guys? Is this Azag the Slaughterer? Holy shit. Oh my god, look at that guy. Jeez. Is that him on Skull Munch? Is that real? Is that actually Azag? Oh, that's an old model. Holy shit, I want it. Look at that guy. That's got like all the old school old hammer feels to it. He's got his evil crown on, yeah. So it looks like he's got the crown. Damn, dude. All right. That's pretty fun. You gotta love those like retro models, man. They're classic. They're classic. Here's an Orc Boar Chariot. Yeah, Orc Boar Chariots. You don't see those terribly often. Here's the Black Orcs. The Black Orcs look okay. They're definitely a little bit haggard looking, but yeah, you can get them pretty cheap. The Ard Boys. It's an old Snake Dragon. That's the original. That's the OG. Yeah, that's really fun. All right, so let me just check on the players. I don't want to be too caught up on this. Poor dragon's gonna need a chiropractor now. That thing's seen better days. All right, 1 game to go. They're just wrapping up. They still have a little bit of time. I believe they have, what, 7 minutes left or something? Yeah, so we'll be starting the next round here in a minute. Live footage of Turin fighting invasive thoughts. Yeah. It's pretty great. All right. Back to our haggard trundling while we wait for the next round to finish. So what else do we want to look at? Demons of Chaos. Dark Elves are pretty cool. They're really cool. Yeah, Dark Elves have some rad models. Yeah, so Blackheart Corsairs age super well. They age really well. You can see these guys here. It looks like somebody maybe spray primed them, yeah. So these are Blackheart Corsairs. They're a very neat unit. Then you have Dark Shards. You have the Blackheart Fleetmaster. Pretty good deal. Is that a Scourge Runner Chariot? It's Cold One Chariot. Yeah. Sorceress. Honestly, the Sorceress on the Dragon still looks pretty rad. I think it still looks really cool. The Charybdis aged really well. It looks like this one's missing its tail, though. Oh, yeah. Is it missing its tail? Yeah, I think it is. That's why it's so cheap. Oh, yeah. This is honestly a pretty nicely painted Charybdis for only 35 bucks. You got the Dreadlord, Dark Elf Sorceress. Yeah, Dark Elves, I think, aged pretty damn well. I think they have. Yeah, here's another Charybdis here. You got Sisters of Slaughter. Blackheart Corsairs look really good. And this is a Cold One Chariot looking pretty awesome as well. Dark Elf Assassin. Mistweaver? What the hell is that model? I don't know that one. Bloodrock Shrine. We've seen that. I hope they do an Old World Cult of Ulrich army. I still can't pick what to collect. So here's the thing, Ben. If you want to play an Ulrich Empire army, it's not hard to do. Because the old Empire kits, they come with when you buy the Empire Knight box, it comes with an entire set of bits in which you can turn them into the Knights of Ulrich. So for me, like I made mine Empire Knights since I'm playing like kind of a Sigmar based army, but they come with Warhammers. They come with like one-handed hammers. They come with fur cloaks of Ulrich, so they have like wolf's head cloaks, and they also have they have no helmets on, so they're like more berserker. They have like these huge beards, and their faces are all wild and shit. I have all those bits. I have all the Ulrich bits. Like if you want to play an Ulrich army, dude, there probably will be rules for them. So you just collect Empire and you just paint them differently. You just paint them in Ulrich colors, and then Yeah, it's totally doable. It's totally doable. Yeah, we don't obviously know the rules yet, but here's a Khorne Hellebron, by the way. Yeah, this is old school Khorne Hellebron. She's pretty cool. Got some Medusas there. Dark Elf Assassin, classic model. Yeah, Dark Elf's honestly held up pretty well. I mean, obviously, here's old Malice Darkblade on foot. It looks like is he missing arms? It looks like he might be missing arms. No, the new tabletop channel isn't out yet because I'm not going to start it till Old World is out. Yeah, Dread Spheres, only $10 on those. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. All in due time. All in due time. All right, so let's see. We should be about finished by now. And let's see and look. Yep, we're in the next round. So next up, ladies and gentlemen, we will be casting. Whose game do we want to cast? We did Outer Region. We have not done an FPOD game. Let's do an FPOD game. FPOD. Casting your game. Lobby info, please. All right. So we're going to cast FPOD's game as we get in there. Yeah. So, like, Ben, I have I had an Empire Knight starter box, and you could make them as the Knights of Ulrich. I ended up using the bits, like the capes on other parts of the army and stuff, yeah. But my Empire tabletop army is like pure Sigmar, basically. Yeah, it's very, very like face steel and gunpowder kind of classic stuff. All right, outstanding. And let's go jump into this next game here. Leech versus FPOD. Spectate this. And cool, so players are doing their picks and bans, and let's update the old scorecards. So we got Leech Lord. Leech Lord actually just completed the Randy Savage bounty, but he didn't want the Randy Savage icon. He's happy with the one he has. Leech Lord and FPOD here. All right, so let's reset the score. Round 3 of tonight's tournament, and Chaos Dwarfs are, of course, banned, like we said. Yeah, I run State Troopers, yeah. Well, the State Troopers do not come with Ulrich pieces, but it's not too hard to make that happen if you want to really make them look different. Because what you would do, Ben, is the Warhammer Fantasy kits are very modular. So you would just have your regular State Trooper box, okay? And so say Tutagen Guard instead of Greatswords, like a remake of the Storms of Chaos models. Yeah, dude, let me introduce you to my good friend 3D printing. So basically you would just find 3D printed heads or hammers that fit, and you would just glue them onto the greatswords or whatever. It's really easy to do, 100%, because those models just aren't made anymore or sold. So you can totally just Evan, thank you, really appreciate it. Welcome to the Dukes of Haggard, our newest channel member. Welcome to Evan. Balthazar and Quad Hellstorm. Yeah, we could do that, Fidel. I like that idea. So players are doing their picks and bans now. So the wife and I got the wife a 3D printer, and she uses it a lot for her like mixed media art. But we also use it for like terrain and stuff. It's a plastic, so we don't use resin because resin's kind of toxic and tricky to work with. Although it does give you better detail. But for like printing, things like that, it's really, really straightforward. That makes it even harder to pick what to play. It does, Ben. It does. It really does indeed. But yeah, it's really easy to get those bits, dude. It's really easy. Yeah. I hope they bring back Chaos Dwarfs to an extent. Like, the Forge World Chaos Dwarfs were just so cost prohibitive. It was like $90 to buy like a single unit of Infernal Fireglaves. It's like, that's just not affordable. It's like look, I'm already suffering paying like 40, 50, 60 bucks for a box of units, but 90 is just too much for the Forge World shit. Like, it shouldn't be that cost prohibitive. Yeah, if you want the game to thrive. Otherwise, you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot and people are just going to 3D print shit, Yeah. But Empire is definitely going to be like a safe bet, because Empire is like, in some ways they're like the main characters of Warhammer Fantasy, like kind of like the equivalent of, I wouldn't say the equivalent of Space Marines since they're not like superhuman Terminators, but they kind of fill that role. So they're always going to be supported and probably getting new stuff and new lore and whatnot. So I think Empire is a safe bet. Yeah, Games Workshop said no dwarfs coming for Total War and current plans in the old world, yeah. Didn't they say that Chaos Dwarfs are going to be getting rules for the old world, but they're not going to be bringing their like stuff back? So if you have an old Chaos Dwarf army, you can play it? I can't quite remember what that was, but yeah. They're focusing hard on only the old past history of the Empire area. Yeah. I bet you Chaos Dwarfs will come at some point. I bet you they will, yeah. I bet you they'll have rules too, yeah. I thought about like starting to try and put together an Empire army, but not Empire, but Chaos Dwarfs. But yeah, I was worried that they wouldn't be supported. So they were always kind of like, they're going to have all the 8th edition armies. Like all the 8th edition armies are going to be in the old world. So everything that you had at the end of Warhammer Fantasy will be in the game, if I'm not mistaken, except maybe Chaos. I don't think were Chaos Dwarves in 8th edition. Didn't they get something with the Tamarkon book? They like had an army or something. Yeah, who knows? All right, Greenskins versus Lizardmen. Fun matchup. We're getting a lot of Greenskin action today. Leechlord going to be going for it. F-Pod on the Lizards. F-Pod is a Lizardman main, one of our better Lizardman players in the community, so should be quite a bit of fun to see what they got in the books. And Evan, thank you once again for becoming a member. Greatly appreciated, dude. Yeah, it's great. Like I don't really use 3D printing for like full miniatures. Like I'd still rather, like the quality of the GW miniatures is just much better, and you know it's much nicer to paint and it looks better. But like supplementing pieces that aren't like available, and terrain, like printing out like little houses and you know villages and different things like that, and like a cloak or like a shoulder pad or like a hammer, like depending on how you want to gear the characters out, like that type of stuff is like the spice of life for it. It's really nice. It's really, really nice. And bases too. You can print bases. So you can print your whatever base size you need. You could just like, it's kind of a pain in the butt to find those. So you can just 3D print your bases, which is really good. Yeah, it's really, really nice. Leechlord and F-Pod, Greenskins versus Lizardmen. Players are setting up their armies. Thank you all for hanging out tonight. It's been fun so far. The good times are rolling. We've had some really good games tonight. It feels like we've had way more than 2 games. Like way more. That's always been kind of the curse of Total War Warhammer multiplayer tourneys, though, is the downtime in between. Just like the pick and ban and army building phase is like so important. It's kind of like how in other RTS games you have the early game where everyone's setting up their pylons and their barracks and their cybernetics core and your supply depots, whatever. That's like this is that part, except you don't get to see that. It's kind of just the behind the scenes. Hey, Evan, that's cool. That's really cool, man. You own a 3D printing store based in Australia. We spend about $40K. Oh, yeah. In Australia, there's probably quite a market. Because don't you guys just get absolutely reamed by the Games Workshop prices? Like, I know the Australians just get charged way more, which we can actually check right now. Okay, so, although I don't know the currency conversions, let's check. So, if we're on GW, delivering to the States. Okay, so we see the sneaky snufflers are $45, okay? So if we go here and let's see where that's going to deliver to. Okay, is it going to work? Not want to work? Oh, they know we're checking. Okay, well, it's just not working. I'll check real quick. Hold on. Let's see if I can refresh this a couple times to get it to work. All right, so where are we at? So $45 to ship to get that bad boy here. And let's see what it's going to be here. Sneaky Snuffler. $75. Oh, that's brutal. Jesus. You guys have to pay $75 plus the extra shipping? Damn, dude, that's awful. Yeah, because if you look here, guys, I switched it over to the Australian prices, and it's like, yeah. I mean, I don't know about the currency conversion, like the strength of the dollar versus the, I'm not sure even what the currency is there. I have no idea, actually. Is it dollars? I have no idea. But even still, it's wow. Yeah, that's brutal, dude. That's really brutal. I've had some friends that I've known from Australia through the Total War Warhammer who've mentioned that before. Yeah, Australian dollars to US must make. Yeah, that's brutal, man. Well, it's good for your business, right? It's good for your business. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool though, Evan. That's really neat, man. That's really neat. Aus dollars are weaker for sure. Okay. Yeah, near twice the price. But like, even though it's like the Australian dollar might not be worth the same as like, let's say, I don't know if it is or more or less, but then a US dollar but you have to take into account like how it's proportional to that country's like average salary and income and things like that, right? It's $1 to 1.5, yeah. And don't look into Argentine prices. I want to cry. Yeah, that's brutal. That's brutal, dude. That's brutal. My goodness. Yeah, I know Lord of the Rings tabletop game is pretty popular in Australia from what I've heard, and I've heard people suffering with that An ETA for the tabletop setup, will it be Turin or a separate channel? Separate channel, yeah. Because like I want to keep posting just like RTS content on this channel and, you know, Total War Warhammer and stuff. And I would rather have a separate channel that can focus exclusively on tabletop stuff. Because YouTube punishes you if you post like the different types of content and like, you know, like if I start posting tabletop videos here and they, let's say like this channel doesn't receive them well, you know, like maybe a lot of people just want RTS and not like tabletop content, then it's going to punish me in the algorithm. It's going to like, then it'll start thinking that I'm not putting out content that people want to watch. It's going to stop sharing my other videos less. It's a complicated beast. So with like, if it's a very different, you know, piece of content, you typically would want to start a new channel. I'm thinking, unless you want to pull a hard switch and just stop doing like RTS here and then just go straight into tabletop, which is not what we're going to do, but yeah. So that's something. Would a clone commando take on a 40k Marine? No way, dude. No way. Hey, dog, thank you for the donation. First time watching your stream live. Love your content. Hey, happy to have you here. Hopefully you're enjoying the downtime here. So Ben the Barman says, what's a good price for a 3D printer if it's just for personal use? So let me check the one I got. So I got this one for Anna, and it's for my wife. It was a gift. Let me pull it up here. I'm trying to find it. Is this it? No. Yes, there it is. So the printer that I got was $280, and yeah, it's pretty good. Like my wife is very crafty though. She's good at figuring things out. There is a little bit of a setup process, so you need to be a little bit tech savvy to kind of set it up and get everything hooked up. But once you get it going, yeah, you do need to might need to look up things. Sometimes they can be a little bit finicky, but basically, is this the right one? I think it is. Looking good. Where are we at? Okay, so this is the one here. Yeah, so this is the one we got. Hold on a sec. Is this right? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste it in the chat. So this is the one we got. Official Ender. Yeah, that's the one. I just copy and pasted it in the chat, Ben. And you need to also order the plastic for it, but the plastic lasts a long time, and it's only $20 to order like a spool of plastic, so it's really, really not a big deal. All right, guys, we're in our next game. Ladies and gentlemen, it is go time. We have the Hogmaster, baby. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. So it's going to be the big hog. He's coming in. He's of course going to be buffing his entire army with the Bonewood Staff, which is very good. So what wide Wurzag builds are quite strong. They trade very well across the battlefield because all of your Greenskin infantry are going to be getting, you know, plus 12 melee attack. It's very, very good. So you got Night Goblins in the front here against the Lizardmen. And the reason why he's bringing shielded Night Goblins in the front row, if anybody's wondering, is because of Chameleon Skinks. So if the Lizardmen have a vanguard of Chameleon Skinks that are coming to try and poke your Savage Orcs and units that don't have shields, you can basically just screen with these guys and let them eat the shots. We got Savage Orcs in the back, couple Arrow Boys, Wurzag, couple Night Goblin Big Boss. No, just Goblin Big Boss, Night Goblin. So I'm getting a little bit confusing, but these guys are nice little assassins. You can kind of stick them on a target and it can be very annoying. They have 92 movement speed and are little trolls for sure. I like the army. Morgoth's Magi Marauders to shoot some big dinos, and now for the forces of the Lizardmen. Oh, hell yeah, baby. It's going to be a Skink Oracle on a Troglodyte, the Power Fist Croxigors of the Gods, and it's also going to be Nakai the Wanderer. So Nakai is actually pretty decent. He does give a ward save aura and perfect vigor around him, and is just a decent fighter to boot. And he's got some AoE debuffs. I think Nakai is actually extremely underrated, So one last thing about the 3D printer, Ben. So plastic printers, if you use plastic instead of resin, they don't give you quite the detail, but in my experience, resin is a little bit more toxic to work with. So you need to like wear a mask and have it like isolated. Whereas like the plastic printer is a little bit safer, from what I've read. Some people in chat can maybe illuminate you, but I honestly have been very happy with the detail in the plastic printer. Granted, I have seen resin ones and they are a little bit better detail, so take it into account. Once the resin cures, of course, it's not a problem. It's just when you're working with it in the beginning. So, It's his time. Skink Oracle drops a nice laser beam shot and takes down 7 of the Morgrim's Magi Marauders with that shot right there. And the Lizardmen going to be moving up on all fronts. We do see some Skink Skirmishers sitting here on the side, looking to do a little bit of poke, but the Night Goblins should be able to screen them out relatively easily, I would say. We see the Skink Oracle dropping his sniper shots, and man, he's actually picking off a hell of a lot of these Magi Marauders. Look at that. I think like in total, we've seen, wow, yeah, that's quite a bit. 14 Magi Marauders, so he's killed 7 Magi Marauders per shot. Not the worst trade in the world, but is this a Savage Orc bounty? I don't think it is. I think he's got, yeah, Rusty Airs in there. This guy, Leech Lord, has already unlocked the Savage Orc bounty on Total Tavern, so he is chilling. He is chilling. So up in the front, Night Goblin's going to be eating the shots, and they're taking it like champs. They're living their best life, and that's exactly what you want them for. They have the bronze shields, not silver shields, but they have a high model count too, and a fair amount of HP, so they can actually absorb it. Oh my god, he threw Fanatics out! Leech Lord with the Fanatic play! Oh, classic Goblins, just missing everything. Uh-oh. Couple of them might get it. Okay, well, that was very underwhelming. Certainly sent a message. It's all about the intimidation. It's all about the intimidation here. But the Savage Orc Air Boys shooting up. They're just basic Orc Air Boys, I guess, and they are able to push back the Skink Skirmishers. Middle objective is taken by the Greenskins. Side objective most likely will be taken by the Greenskins as well. They have Savage Orcs as well as some Night Goblins up on that point. So those bad boys are going to be holding it down. Has to be a semi though, right? Yeah, it does have to be in a semi outer region. That's correct. Yeah. So if you wanted to unlock the avatars, it needs to be in the semis or finals of a tournament. So good reminder. Just getting a little bit excited over here. On the far side, we have a bit of an engagement. We got Durkit Swighoppers coming out, and these guys do not have shields, so they get wrecked pretty hard by Skink play, but they still do tear apart the chaff units pretty quickly. But at the end of the day, I think it's probably the better call to pull them back. You got Big Daddy Nakai coming in. You also do have the Skink Oracle with its poison dart beam in the back. So retreating with those squigs is going to be preferential. And we do get more squig herds coming in, which is a little bit dangerous. I think for the Greenskins, you concave back. You pull your squigs back this way, and you just play these 2 objectives here. I think that's the way you do it. Lizardmen being very annoying here, though. We see FPod doing a good job poking with all of these Skink Skirmishers, and certainly doing some work against the Night Goblin Fanatics, but that's what they're there for. They're absorbing the ammunition. They really haven't taken too much damage. We get some Clever Girls from again. So it looks like Clever Girls attempted to go after the Savage Orcs, but Savage Orcs do hit pretty hard. They have almost 40 weapon strength and high melee attack, so they're able to butcher through those, especially in tandem with the Broken Tusk Mob, who's going to be coming in here. So this objective, though, does get taken by the dinos. Lizardmen are very good at snaking objectives, and on the far side, we do see the dinosaurs kind of concaving in. So we see the Power Fist Croxigors moving in. We see the Skink Oracle jumping on top of archers. Things are getting really, really crunk on this side, and the Power Fist Croxigors are just going to beat the brakes off Savage Orcs for a number of reasons. One reason being is that they're literally giant crocodile people with rocks attached and power fists that are literally from a sci-fi universe, but realistically speaking, it's because I believe they do magic damage. Yeah, so they're going to be surpassing the 20% physical resist of Savage Orcs, 25%, which is very, very strong. I mean, 25% damage buff against those units, sign me up, right? That's great. A little bit of Jack in the backfield, Rusty Airs shooting up into the Skink Oracle, and we do get Squig Hoppers coming to try and peel off the Skinks, which have dived onto the Rusty Airs back here. But now there's going to be an unholy horde of the cohort of Quaddle, the Skink Oracle, who probably has Earthblood in his back pocket. He does. Some Clever Girls, and this concave push here coming in from the dinos is very, very scary from FPOD. Now, the Savage Orcs have been able to get this side back during all that kind of skirmishing and battling on the other side. The Greenskins did take the Broken Tusk Mob and some Savage Orcs, and they were able to push off the Skink Skirmishers. But now they need to kind of pull back and deal with this really, really heavy aggression coming in. Savage Orcs getting the Fist of Gork, going to make them a little bit fightier with 74 melee attack for a period of another 5 seconds or so, but certainly not terrible. Edbutt going down with Wurzag. You basically just want to be spamming spells as much as you can. Although the most cost-effective way to do it is to spam spells every 13 seconds, right? To keep that buff being perpetual on your army. If you spam too quickly, they tend to overlap, and it's not the most cost-effective use of the Bonewood Staff and getting that sweet, sweet Winds of Magic, but overall, that's how you want to do it. So Squealing Pig's just running around. Sweet Pig. Yeah, he's going out. Have you guys seen that? Those YouTube videos of the pig calling contest they do in the South? Holy shit, that's hilarious. Look it up if you haven't. It's quite the phenomenon. But middle objective, looks like the Lizards are wrestling it a little bit. The Power Fist Croxigor is causing some problems, but now the bacon is on the way in, baby. Broken Tusk Mob, they got their halberds out for Gork and or Mork, and they'll be pretty good against the Power Fist Croxigors. Yeah, they'll take some casualties in the process, but overall, their anti-large attacks will be very cost-effective, especially with the Waaagh active. So the big Waaagh going down here by Leech Lord, as the Greenskins are resurgent on the middle of the map. On the side, we do see the Lizardmen trying to wrestle this one with some Skink Skirmishers moving over. Little Goblins taking those shots like champs, and there is a possibility that the Lizardmen might be able to kind of get this objective back. We will have to see. Value is favoring the Greenskins, but remember, Lizardmen do have healing, and this is a nice Death Star here. Currently, Nakai is going to be giving everything in this Death Star ward save, so if you look at the Croc scores, they're getting 10% ward save from his amulets, and yeah, he's having a good time with his Croc score homies. Yeah, Nakai is such a cool character, man. He's so rad. Look at him with his big beat stick, just giving the business to some of those Greenskin units. A little bit of a Salamander hunting pack pick here in the back. Salamanders are anti-large. They don't have the best armor piercing, but honestly, Greenskins are fairly lightly armored aside from their hogs. So those kind of splash attacks into the infantry and some of the bigger cavalry units aren't terrible. Here we do see Morgub's Magi Marauders coming in, and Wurzag as well. He's got his hog stick out, and he's going to be charging in. Wurzag is not a terrible fighter. He does have a charge bonus of 88, so he's good for like charging in and bonking something on the head and then running away. Also, look at this. Man, quick reaction here from Leechlord. So Leechlord grabs the two goblins, and he's now going to be chasing down the Salamander packs using those 90 speed single entity characters. I really, really like that play quite a bit. And honestly, it looks like the Greenskins are winning the sustained fight here. They just have a lot of angry pigs and orcs and, yeah, anti-large attacks from the Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins, or just the Orc Boar Boy Biggins. And the Savage Orcs, of course, aren't terrible in sustained combat. Now, objective number 3, though, owned by the Lizards. 2 is owned by the Greenskins, and this back objective is firmly controlled here by ye old Savage Orcs with a couple of Night Goblin Fanatics. I don't think they're going to be able to really pressure that too much. Archers coming back in. Rusty Arrows have rallied. I think that we're starting to see Leechlord taking over the game a little bit here, because a lot of the high-value Lizard stuff is trapped in Mortal Kombat here. And the Greenskins are really good at sustained combat, especially with Wurzag, right? Because now the entire army for 15 seconds is going to be having the melee attack buff, just grinding cost-effectively through all these Lizardmen. The anti-large Orc Boar Boy Biggins are just decimating these Croxagors. And the Croxagors are, of course, fighting like champions, but they're also being shot by Rusty Arrows in the back, right? So they're going to be taking some considerable damage from that as well. Middle objective still owned by the Greenskins. We see the value lead. Lizardmen are kind of keeping it close. In the backfield, it looks like the old Pterodactyls have been called in. So Clostodon Hunter is not a terrible choice here. And it looks like they were able to peel off the Morgubs and Magi Marauders in the Salamander hunting pack. Did it get away? It did, and they're now back. So the Salamanders are back, baby, and they're pissed. So here they come. Yes, the big shot's going to be getting dropped. So close game for sure. The Lizardmen like kind of look like they're losing a fight, and then suddenly you see all the Greenskins start to rout, and you're like, oh wait, they're kind of still in this game. Concave of archery here, quite nice, and we see Wurzag running on his pig. Sweet pig! Trying to get away as the old Clostodon's looking to feast on some bacon tonight, baby. He's trying to run. Nakai's nearby. Nakai could cut him off, and the Clostodon hunters do opt to land on the ground after the Goblin Big Boss. And honestly, I do think with healing being taken into account, it's probably a very, very even game. I would say the value is probably like right down the middle there. But we do get Effigy of the Git. Really nice play there. So Effigy is going to be locking down Clostodon hunters, and now they're going to be getting focused by, I would imagine, quite a bit of DACA. Here in the back, we have the Salamander hunting pack shooting in, trying to snipe Wurzag a little bit, but the Hogmaster is in good shape. Leechlord has certainly been doing a good job of keeping Wurzag very, very functional here in battle. As the Clostodon hunter is getting hammered, Toad Rage is active, which is going to make them do a little bit more work. Clever Girls and some Skinks do clean up the side pressure from some of the Orc Boar Boys. A little bit of housekeeping going down from the Greenskin player. He probably is realizing that he doesn't have a lot of units to summon, and that's something that, as a Greenskin player, you need to be very aware of, because you kind of go through your units very quickly. They're squishy and tend to have low leadership, so you need to be really on top of unsummoning your beat-up units. Otherwise, you can run out of units. It's certainly a very unique skill set to Domination Mode. Wurzag in the danger zone a little bit. I can't help but think this is very, very risky. Having him charge into Salamanders and Skink Skirmishers with only his 55 armor is very, very dicey, but nonetheless, he does have a little bit of Savage Orc support coming nearby, so maybe they'll be able to do something. So that was a big win for Leechlord in some regards. The Effigy of the Git on the Clostodon Hunters, they're looking pretty low and are being kited by some Goblin Wolf Rider Archers. We've got Squig Hoppers chasing down Skink Skirmishers wherever they can, but Feral Cold One's coming out to try and stop them. I don't know who wins in a straight-up fight. I feel like the Squigs would if they both charge each other, but whoever gets charged, I think, would be a big determining factor as it pertains to that fight. Savage Orc Biggins, man. Okay, these are no mere Savage Orcs. These are Savage Orc Biggins. These guys are absolute lawnmowers. One of my favorite units on the Greenskin roster. Yeah, they're very squishy, but if you can get them into sustained combat and just let them just buzzsaw through things, man, they hit so hard. 62 melee attack with the Bonewood Staff right now. Certainly no joke. Granted, there are a lot of units here that are quite good against him. Uh-oh, the Hog is in a little bit of danger. F-Pod coming in for the comeback. Oh, Wurzag may have oinked his last oink here, as he is getting fully surrounded by a big Lizardman army. The Savage Orc Biggins immediately see their Patriarch here in a little bit of trouble, and they're going to be coming about face to try and rescue him, but Wurzag is having a really, really bad time. He's not the tankiest character. Savage Orcs in general are not known for their durability, to say the least. A lot of units need to kind of make their way back up this way. We have a couple unsummons that need to be addressed. Some units also here a little bit idle. All those guys need to come and help. The Savage Orcs might be able to kind of help save Wurzag a little bit. They do get into combat here. but they are really getting swarmed pretty heavily. And Wurzag is trying to get away on his hog, certainly squealing quite ferociously as he does get surrounded. And is he going to get away? Oh my god! The pig's got some moves! -2 leadership. If he breaks, that's a big problem for the Greenskins. Greenskins do not like losing their lord, much like the Skaven, although they don't have any bullshit cheats like the Skaven do in that regard. So Wurzag is coming. Here he goes. 7 leadership. He's running for the hills. And the middle objective currently is owned by the Lizards. It looks like they're able to get that back. Wurzag running is a big scary. We get Squig Hoppers coming in to try and salvage him. They might be able to save Wurzag. Wurzag is broken, but Greenskins do have a lot of mobility with which they can kind of rescue their units. Looking at the points, we do see the Greenskins ahead a little bit. Very close match here as more Squigs make their way in, and the Lizards seem to be getting momentum. Nakai giving a little bit of a buff to all those units with the ward save is quite good. So the Baconator does get away, guys. It does get away. So we see Wurzag fleeing the scene. The Wa is active once again, giving the Greenskins a little bit of resurgence here in the late game. Certainly a much-needed Wa. It does make all their units immune to psychology as well, which is quite good against the late-game terror coming in from some of these dinos. You can see the Skink Oracle on the Troglodon shooting down here and blasting into Wurzag. And yeah, it looks like he did survive. Very good stuff. Very good stuff indeed. So Savage Orc's fighting over on the side point. Should be able to hold it for now. Wurzag is still around, and I would imagine has a little bit of Winds of Magic left. Not too much. The value is still favoring the Leech Lord, but not by a whole lot. Middle objective is flipping back to the Greenskins, as they were able to get some Savage Orcs up on the point. We see the Troglodon, Skink Oracle moving in, and I don't think we have any more effigies. I think we're pretty much out of that. He definitely wants Wurzag. He wants that bacon. Who can blame him, man? Bacon is certainly pretty delicious. As we do see the Savage Orcs here fighting in the pits. Fists of Gork going down, going to give them some pretty good stopping power, basically turning them into biggins for a second, as they buzzsaw through those Feral Cold ones. Any pressure on the side point? Uh-oh! The sneaky gets! He comes over here with some Goblin Wolf Riders, and he's using the Squigs to screen these guys out. Oh, man. The sneakiest of sneaky plays coming in from Leech Lord. I love it. And honestly, this objective is going to flip. The Lizards don't have anything nearby, and that could be a triple cap, ladies and gentlemen. Despite what appears to be an opportunity for the Dinos to come back, the Greenskins salvaging Wurzag, I think, was like the game-winning play potentially, right? If Wurzag gets broken there, then there's big leadership issues for the Greenskin armies, which is how the game should be, right? But yeah, the fact that the Baconator is still alive after being like caught in that very scary situation, I think is going to give them a big advantage here. And we do see this objective flip, so the Lizardmen do lose that point. We have some clever girls and skinks on their way out, but Squigs are pretty good at mowing through these units. You can see they move in, and let's see if we can get any feasting animations. You don't see those ones pop up too often, the eating animations from the Squigs, but it's pretty great. I remember back in Warhammer 1 when they first came out, you would see them like be eating like Archeon and stuff like that. It's pretty hilarious, but not seeing any. Well, watch for a moment longer, but mostly it's just kind of skinks flying up in the air. Did they remove that animation or something? I feel like I almost never see it. It's like one of the most thematic ones you could possibly have. But yeah, they're doing great for how cheap they are. That's very cost effective. So the sneaky gets do get the side objective. Couple Squigs trying to hold back the pressure. Currently, we see the points are getting a little bit dangerous here for the forces of the Dinos, as even if they are able to get some momentum back in the battle, I think they're going to struggle to get the objectives. The Savage Orc Biggins are just super cost effective here on the point. They'll tear through these rippled actives. They have anti-large as well, so the anti-large bonus against these large dinosaurs is going to be quite good. And the Wa is back on the menu, ladies and gentlemen, as we now see, Nakai in here. And though Nakai is pretty durable, like he's not going to want to be sitting here fighting a bunch of anti-large characters. We got a lot of bacon moving up on all fronts, man. Just watching Greenskin games, it feels so hectic. It's so hectic. There's just so much going on. Unsummons, routing units, like it's just, Empire is kind of like that because your state troopers tend to fold like a piece of paper, but generally, yeah, the Greenskins take it to a whole nother level for sure. So the Skink Oracle is getting chased off the battlefield. I do think that's probably going to be GG. He's completely routed off. We see the Salamander Hunting Pack going to be collapsed on by the Orc Boar Boy Biggins, and they are pretty quick with 70 speed, but the Biggins also have 70 speed, so they should be able to catch them. Middle objective being held onto, the Savage Orc Biggins just annihilating anything that comes their way. And this objective was very flimsy anyways for the Greenskins, but it managed to give them an even bigger point lead, which could lead to a Helm's Deep situation being very viable here as we get into the later stages of the game. So looking around here, objective number 1 being held by the Wa. They're moving in, and the old Salamanders did get fully flanked. So the Orc Boar Boy Biggins were able to get a flank on them. Anti-large bonus going to be kicking in, and we see the Lizards more or less routing off here. Cohort of Sotek is nice. It's unbreakable 5 capture weight, so that's going to be good for giving a little bit of momentum on that point. But at the end of the day, the Greenskins still have infantry here. They have several cav units, and also they're really good at reinforcing points quickly with all the Squigs and those speedy boys. Middle point looking like it could be a little bit of a flip. Nakai is still fighting hard on that point, though. Savage Orc Biggins have been there a long time. 1,400 value on them. They're certainly doing the will of Gork and or Mork. Nobody really knows. But Someone's doing it right. Yeah, this is sealing the deal. On the side point, I was like, is there a glimmer of a Lizardman comeback? I don't think so. The value deficit in tandem with the Greenskins just swarming all the points all over the battlefield. Really, really good Greenskin play, and really great Lizardman play as well. This is a solid game. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be a victory for Leechlord. The resident champion of Gork and/or Mork has done it. GG, well played. The Baconator showing that he's still got it, baby. Still a viable, strong lord. So, that's it. Torox, thank you for being a member. I see you, the Turin Beast fam, yeah. I think Mono Gods DLC will add Beastmen. I can see Beastmen getting an update at some point where they get like God-specific Beastmen units. I can see that. We itching for a fight. All right, let's do it. Leechlord getting the W there against F-Pod. Well played, both players. Really fun match. That was a great close game. Great close game. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. All right, yeah, we got the Ripperdactyls doing their thing. GG, well played. So let's go take a look at the brackets right now and see how we're looking. We're about to reach the fourth and final round of the tournament. Not final of the whole tournament, but of regulation rounds. And then we go into the top four from there. So, well, looks like it's just one person. Wow, pretty quick. So people are actually finishing here. So let me check. See if we need to do this. Mikey should have, let me see how many points he's got. Okay. And checking on the other side, it looks like we're all fine. Yeah, it looks like somebody just dropped out here. Mikey, that one, and then he got that. So he technically should have one win. Or his opponent might have dropped after a loss, which is probably what happened. Okay. I'm just making sure some of the new features on the website are working. Okay. So he won those, and it looks like he won that one as well. So I can always fix that after the fact. All right, so let me just make a notepad with things that I need to adjust later. Okay, and then is there anything else that needs to be addressed? I don't think so. And we're all good. All righty. So let's see how this goes into the next round. How does Nakai feel having full HP after? Yeah, he's a beast, man. He was quite good. He was quite good for sure. Somebody made some changes to the bracket, so I don't know what happened there. We had a couple TBDs. Okay. Oh, okay. They might have just switched the players who were playing there. We'll have to look. We'll have to look and see, guys. Yeah, the Skink Oracle was kind of a cool choice. It definitely was. It was definitely fun. So is the last round almost done? We have, I think, another. So that went to 545, I think. 545. So yeah, this round is actually going incredibly quickly. Incredibly quickly. So if you guys have any questions about multiplayer, this is certainly the time. I'm just going to hang out. We got probably another 10 or 15 before we go into round 4. And F-Pod, if you're in stream, let me know if you have any issues. I see a couple TBDs and player drops. Sometimes that can be a little bit funky with how the brackets can go. Let me see here how that went with on a region. Just going to ask here. So out of region, let me know who your opponent was, because sometimes when people drop and like adjust the brackets in funky ways, it can halt the advancement of the tournament unless you re-put them back in. So it might not. We tried to fix it. We'll find out today, but I just want to make sure I know who your opponents were. Got it. Thanks. All right. All set. We need to do something like that. Oh, he did drop. Yeah, it looks like it's not a drop, though, technically. So let me do this. I will fix it. So F-Pod. So did you... Just making sure brackets don't break. Okay. So just doing a little bit of this. What's your rank world right now? I saw number 5 and number... Yeah, I think I'm number 8. I'm the number 8 ranks player right now. Yeah. 7 or 8, somewhere in that area. Yeah. Somewhere. I haven't been playing as much. I've been really binging the... Okay. He dropped himself, but I think I dropped Subutai on his request, and I think the problem is fixed. Let's see if we have issues advancing. Great. We might have to fix some things, but we'll see. Any update in the total tavern maps moving into ranks play? Dude, I've been trying so hard. CA pushes back so hard on it. I don't know what the hell the issue is. It's such a simple win for everybody. It's just like... I have been talking to the folks at CA and just like, and there's always some like very, you know, bureaucratic response. You know, it's like, I don't know if they're worried about the legality of it, like maybe the like taking community made maps and whatnot. It's like, dude, just like make the map makers just sign like something. It's like if they want to, like whichever map makers want them in the game can just, you know, whatever. It's man, I've been trying so hard on it. I don't know. I'm not going to give up on it, but it's been an uphill fight for sure. What have I been binging, dude? I've been binging Age of Wonders 4. It's so addictive. I love the PvP in it. There's such depth of strategy that man, it's a great time. All right, cool. So where are we at? Let's do Kark versus Ghoul Baby. That could be a fun one. All right, so Kark. Gonna spectate you. Let's see. Yeah, we haven't casted a Kark game tonight, which would be fun. He's always a great player to watch. All right, so where are you at? So lobby info, please, and spec slot. Our mighty champion from Korea, and he is playing against. Let's see who he's playing. Kark is going to be doing glorious battle with Ghoul. Ghoul Baby. Although he's going by something different now. Is it Gabagool, I think? Let's see if he responds. Okay, so we'll hang tight for a minute. What's your take on the Dread Soaring for domination against other lone? It's actually not bad, yeah. If you're on the right map, like a small map like Itza or Ekron's, the Gates of Ekrond, I think the Dread Soaring can be very good, actually. Yeah, I think it could be very good. Yeah, but on big maps, it's gonna struggle to cover all the territory. Find a Dark Elf player? Yeah, I'm sure there are some. I'm sure they've been getting played. Yeah, Wacka. I don't know what it is, man. I've been trying pretty hard to make it happen. I'll keep championing it. I promise. It's just an uphill fight. All right, let's see if we can find Kark's lobby. Sneaky. Where is he? We could also just do another game and see how this is gonna go. Okay. Lobby name. Let's see if you can find it. Kark is gonna do this. Ah, there we go. Okay. All right, let's get this party started. Let's see what they're going to be playing here in this old match. Let us see. Did Chewie pass away? Oh, are you talking about Wookiee? Yeah, my dog Wookiee passed away like 2.5 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, I think. Would have been, yeah, at some point in 2021. Yeah, poor little guy. He had a good long life, though. He lived to be almost 17 years old, and he had a ton of health issues. Like, when we rescued him, Wookiee was, like, he was we rescued him when he was 5 or 6 years old, and he had a ton of health issues. Like, he had a deformed spine, an enlarged heart. He had, like, bad knees, but he still, you know, he was able to go on walks. He lived a good life. He lived to be almost 17. But yeah, it got to the point at the end where it was so bleak. Yeah, it's man, that's a really hard thing. You know, it's something that you like when you're a kid. Hold on a sec. Let me get this. Let me fix this before we have a nice depressing talk. Versus ghouls. All right. I cried no lie. Yeah, it's already been over 2 years. Yeah, it's like 1.5 years, 2 years, give or take. Yeah. Well, when you're a kid, you don't really realize that. You know, I remember talking to my uncle when I was, you know, I don't know, maybe like 10 or 11. And they had a family dog that had passed away. And I was talking to my uncle, Brian, and I was like, hey, well, you know, why aren't you guys getting another dog? He's like, dude, I don't know. Like, you know, and I understand why he was like hesitant to get another dog then. Cause like you get so attached and like the hardship you go through when an animal passes, it's just, and it haunts you forever too. You know, at least with me it does. I'm just like, yeah, you just miss them all the time. And it's like, do you want to go over? I mean, yeah, there are some, obviously all the good times, but it's just like going through that over and over again. I understand it more as an adult. Like, yeah, we have our Chihuahua Terrier still. Wookiee raised her. So when we got Wookiee, and then 2 years later, we got a Chihuahua Terrier mix who Wookiee raised from a pup. She was also a rescue. And she's still going strong with us. She's about 11 years old. Yeah. It's crazy. I'm off to bed. Thanks for the company whilst I've been painting the Martell army. Hey, Jay, get some rest. Hope you're doing well. And we'll see you on the other side. I just got a puppy, and it's crazy how much you love something. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Bob. Yeah, the strat is always to have 2 dogs with staggered ages so you're never left miserable and dogless. Yeah, that's a very true strategy. There's a lot of truth to that. Yeah. Yeah, Size. Hey, Casey, I hope you're doing well. Good to see you in chat. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. You know the feeling. I know. It's the worst when like a dog is like so. This will be the last of the depressing talk, I promise. The worst is when like a dog gets to the point where they're so out of it and unhealthy that like you have to make the decision to put them down. You know, it's just like, but you still feel like it was you who did it. You know, that's like hands down the worst. Oh my god, it's just like that's the most brutal shit. Anyways, hopefully that made your Friday night better. We'll move on to some nicer topics now, I promise. Yeah, you lost your cat this month. Yeah, it's tough, but you know, you just got to look back at the good times and be like, hey, you know, you gave that animal the best, or that family member, I should say. A Wookiee was always family. You gave that family member the best possible life it could have had, right? You know, so that's the silver lining of it all. They were happy, and that's what counts. That's right. That's right. That is right indeed. So on to some other questions. What new fantasy army do you think will be best to buy as a beginner? Ooh. I honestly think like Skaven and Lizardmen will be really good beginner armies because they both are getting new models in Age of Sigmar, which will also be able to be used in Warhammer Fantasy. So you can collect Skaven and Lizardmen and play them in 2 game modes. You can play them in Warhammer Fantasy or Old World, and then you can play them in Age of Sigmar too. So I highly recommend those for beginners. Lizardmen just got a whole new range of models coming out. Whole new range of models. And the Skaven are super easy to paint. And Lizardmen are also quite easy to paint too. So I would recommend that. I don't know when we're going to go back to 2v2. Fpod says, I've had my cat for a year. Got to keep that constant reminder of the... Yeah. Yeah, Fpod for sure. Now I can sleep peacefully. There you go. A massive Depresso Friday. Yeah, Wookiee's... His crowning... I don't know how many of you guys were here for this stream, but Wookiee's crowning achievement was quite literally taking a shit on me on stream. I was streaming Blood Bowl, and he was like waddling under the floor by my feet, and he was like looking at me, and I was like, usually that means he wanted to be like picked up or, you know, get some attention. So he was looking up at me with his like little buggy eyes, and I grabbed him and was like petting him on stream. And the web, I had a face cam on at the time, but it could only see my like torso, like my upper chest and up. And Wookiee just had the nastiest shit just all over me. Like I went down my like jean pants. Yeah, that was his crowning achievement on as it pertains to contributing to the channel. Yeah, it was pretty fun. I think I played it off pretty well on stream. I don't think I actually said what happened. I was like, oh, all right, guys, I'll be right back. No, you could go back and find it. It was an old Blood Bowl stream. I'm talking old, like 2018, 2017, maybe 2018, if that helps. But yeah, that was fun. That was classic. You guys, who was there for that stream? I wonder. Although I don't know if I mentioned it on stream. So you were there, yeah, Jonathan. I know you've been here forever, brother. Yeah, I know you've been here forever. All right, looking good. Yes, yeah. Wookiee was a little nurgling for sure. Getting those grandfather's blessings. Yeah, he was a little gremlin. He only liked Anna. He was like one of those dogs who only likes like one of its one of its owners. Like Wookiee only liked Anna. I was basically like trash to him unless Anna wasn't around, and then he suddenly loved me. But if Anna was there, he would just like look at me like I was subhuman. Even though I literally rescued him and saved him and like spent so much time with him. As soon as Anna came to move to the United States from Poland, and like as soon as Wookiee laid eyes on his princess, I was just a piece of trash to him, but it's okay. I still loved him. Yeah. I'm a rat out of my 5th generation. It's always hard. Yeah. No, for sure. Goes well with Noodle. 100%. Rats are definitely that to an extreme. Oh my god, remember that. Nurgling of the gods. Blake Colborn, thank you. Romaine was there when we had 10K. Oh, that's so long ago. God, I went back and watched a recent stream. One of my first streams I ever did was in my apartment in San Jose in like literally 2016. And dude, I was so skinny compared to now. Holy shit. Yeah, it's crazy, the difference. It's crazy. Yeah, those are something. It's been a long time, CZR. Yeah, it has been. Yeah, Wookiee. I was just a piece of trash to Wookiee for sure. He just hated me. Yeah, he's a little goblin, all right. But, you know, this was fun. What do you think about high elves? High elves are actually kind of hard to paint. They have a lot of detail on them. Like, lizardmen are pretty easy. You can even use the new contrast paints to just, like... You literally spray prime a lizardman, just use, like, a teal contrast paint, and, like, it's, like, you're almost done, right? I started in Warhammer... Dude, Ben, I posted my first Total War video, like maybe like 4 or 5 days after Warhammer was launched, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe a week after, or 2 weeks. I started with Warhammer 1, yeah. Now turns to his jacked up Scarbrand. No, more like a Kugath, to be honest. I used to be pretty fit, but not anymore. Yeah, I'm pretty chungus now. I mean, I'm not but here since the start. Yeah, Wesley, I know, I've recognized your name too. I joined back in the 15k subs mark. Does that make me a grumbling? Oh, dude, you're for sure Longbeard, yeah. Ghoul's taking his time here with the picks. Let's see what this is going to be. Well, at least we'll go into the next round pretty quickly here. Just checking to make sure there's no issues. Looks like everything is good. Oh, I remember you though, Ben. Yeah, Ben, we were playing at Warhammer 2 quite a bit. I came here through a shout out from CA during Warhammer 1 times. Yeah. Yeah, I remember Creative Assembly had a stream back in Warhammer 1. And they were like doing I think it was Wheels and someone else. And they were looking at my thumbnails when I started making the meme thumbnails, and they were like laughing at it, yeah. Yeah, it's all fun, man. It's all fun. Yeah, TR, I know the feeling for sure. I know the feeling. We've been here forever, yeah, it's crazy. All right, oh, we got the big guy duel, dude. Oh man, we got Nakai versus Throg. I love it. The big man fight. Throg in a vacuum would probably win, but Nakai brings more utility to the battlefield. He like buffs his nearby allies and stuff, so it's kind of more of a support bruiser versus like an anti-large bruiser specialist. Mazda Money cosplay. I'm not that overweight. I don't know. Yeah, I'm maybe like 10 pounds overweight, so it's not too bad. Like I should weigh 170, but I weigh like 182, so it's not that bad. Like if I just started jogging for a couple weeks, I could probably get rid of it, but yeah, hurt my damn ankle, so I can't really do that. Yeah, it's a shame. It is a shame. Jogging sucks anyways. I hate jogging. In high school, I was a sprinter. I ran track and field in college and high school. I ran the 100-meter dash, 200, 4x4. So like distance running, and I just doesn't agree with me. Even though I'll do it if I have to. Like I remember a couple years ago, back in 2020, I got like really overweight. I literally was like almost 200 pounds. And my natural weight is like 170, and I was just eating at this Italian restaurant like 3 nights a week, and they were just like giving me just these massive portions, and my Italian blood just could not be stopped, and I just kind of willed myself into running to lose that weight. I'm about 5'10 and a half. Yeah, 5'10 and a half. Drake, thanks for becoming a member. Yes. Welcome. Let the good times roll, baby. Drake, thank you for becoming a member. I greatly appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a battle line of Marauders coming in from Kark, Marauder Champions, the dreaded Cold Voider. So this thing's pretty cool. It's ROR Frostworm. And it can do some work. It can certainly goon monsters and characters. We got Throg Daddy as well, and we got a Deathcaster. Deathcaster is going to be here for the Buna. Buna, what's really cool about Buna is you can use it on Salamander hunting packs and Razor Dawns, and it pretty much just one-shots them. So it's very good indeed. And that's pretty much it. Now, on the other side, ladies and gentlemen, looking here at the hordes of ghouls. Ghouls is going to be coming in with massive legions of skink skirmishers to poke down the Cold Voider. In the back, we have the cohort of Waddle, Croxagors, and some red-crested skinks. Double Croxagor, actually, yeah. So he's got the Croxagor spanking paddles as well. You guys remember the movie Dazed and Confused, one with Matthew McConaughey? It's like, well, he was like a side character in that movie, but it's like an old one, kind of like portraying the 70s and things like that. I think it was the 70s, like portraying 70s, yeah. But like, remember how they have those like spanking paddles? For some reason, when I see Croxagors running with these giant cudgels, it just reminds me of that scene. Yeah, it just reminds me of that scene. So Skink Oracle also going to be on the Troglodon. Seems like he's a bit of a meta pick these days, which is kind of cool. It makes sense, especially against like a Throg character or Cold Voider. Having something that can shoot at the big dinosaur up in the sky, I think is going to be good. Kate really says I'm the exact same height as you and trying to lose some extra pounds right now. Yeah, and weight is people have different body types, right? Like different heights are going to have like different natural body weights and things like that. Don't be too hard on yourself. Just take it easy. Get there. You'll get there eventually. It'd be cooler if you did. Yeah. See, some of you guys recognize that. Yeah, man, that movie. Yeah, that was. I think the movie itself was made in the 80s, right? But it was portraying the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was Ben Affleck's in that. Yes, he's like the bully guy. Yeah, all right. Okay, it's all coming back to me now. Some good times. You know what series, this will be the last tangent we'll go on, but what series I've just been getting back into lately is The Evil Dead. Holy shit, the new Evil Dead movie was awesome. It doesn't quite have the comedic flair of some of the originals, but it still was so good. And like the original, oh my god, it's so fun. All right, guys, Blake, yes I do. We talk at least once or twice a week. Thank you for the donation, brother. Greatly appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, the battle is on. A little bit of skirmishing at the front. Man, look at the MLG Skink Oracle of Gabagool here, blasting into Kark's Cold Voider. Now, this is kind of a do or die one for Kark. He needs to win this. If Kark loses this, I believe he has already lost the game in the tournament, but you need to go at least 3-1 to have a good chance of advancing on, right? So, moving up, we do see the cohorts falling back, and the Kroxigor is going to be kind of taking the initial charge. Kroxigor's on Marauder Champions is very cost-effective, and in the back, we do have the Norskan Ice Doggos, so the best of boys, these really, really good dogs, going to be moving in and attacking the Skink Skirmishers. But they will be counterplayed by the Feral Cold Ones. Feral Cold Ones do have high armor, and they'll be able to mitigate the low armor piercing of the Doggos pretty effectively. So it looks like overall the Skinks are in good shape. We do have the Kroxigors here, the cohort of Waddle, getting nailed by a Fate of Buna. It's really funny. Back in the day, Fate of Buna used to be really overpowered in Warhammer 1. Not anymore. But it used to be called the Fate of Boring, which is pretty funny. But nonetheless, cohort of Sotek and the cohort of Waddle, the two cohorts fighting shoulder to shoulder, pretty cost effectively against some Marauder champions. And the big guy duel is going down, but like I said, Throg is an anti-large duelist with regeneration. Nakai is more of like a support bruiser, so he's not going to be quite as good at dueling in this situation. And the dreaded Cold Voider, look at that, descending from the skies, causing some big havoc. And honestly, Nakai, you know, a very, very alpha creature, is going to be fighting to the bitter end. And we get the counter concave coming in, Kroxigors from all directions, including the cohort of Waddle. And the Cold Voider gets surrounded, and now Nakai is laughing in Lizard as he pops the Primal Roar, which is going to be buffing a lot of nearby units, assuming they were in there during the initial engagement. Back objective taken by Norska, and it looks like Norska, oh, the classic Kark play, not capturing his back objective. You gotta love it. Kark is like the Dark Lord of just ignoring his back objectives and going pedal to the metal to just try and steamroll you. I love it. It's a very signature playstyle, but look at that. Nakai was laying an ambush all along. It was the great plan. Apparently, the great plan is coming to fruition for sure. So Cold Voider here, 437. It's going to be going down, so right there we see Kark lose the Cold Voider. And remember, the Lizards have healing, and Norska doesn't really have too much. So the Cold Voider gets absolutely pounded by Nakai, the cohort of Waddle, another Kroxigor, and the Skink Oracle on the Troglodyte. So suddenly the Lizards are in a position where maybe they can start to wrestle this game back. The rest of the fights have been pretty bleak, though. We see Skink Skirmishers here just kind of running for the hills. We see Lizardmen Cavalry being chased off. Norska's got their home objective. As a matter of fact, Norska does have the triple cap, right? So that's one thing that's not going super well here for Ghouls, is Kark is playing the battlefield a little bit better, but that one misplay, you know, could end up allowing the Lizards to get back in the game. We'll have to see. It seems like the Norskan infantry are just dominating the Skink army, right? Obviously, with Skinks, you're not going to have a great time against, you know, Marauder champions and some of those better units in the game. And in the back, we do see the Cold and Spear Riders battling Marauder champions. Not the worst trade in the world, but even still, it's not cost effective, especially since they're the Spear variant. And the Lizards are just desperately trying to pour on and get this objective. What the Lizardman army really, really, really needs is anti-infantry Ripperdactyls. If they were to call in some Ripperdactyls, like the anti-infantry variant, they would just shred these Marauders. Like, absolutely shred them, and it would just be extremely brutal. Cold One Spear Riders moving around, and now they're going to be charging into the Marauders, so there they go. And in the middle, we do see Norska holding on to this objective. Yeah, they still have quite a bit. They got the Doggos here. They have several infantry units. We get Condom Wolves coming in. The finest condom brand the old world has to offer. Going to be getting a rear charge, and they'll be pretty good against the Kroxigors. So the Lizardmen do have a decent little Death Star, but at the end of the day, I don't think Nakai is going to be able to really break through this. I mean, the DPS is okay, but Norska's sustained fighting is really good, especially with Throg and the Enrage mechanic. Like, the longer all these Norskan units are fighting, the better it's going to be. And Norska and Kark are really, really just kind of picking apart the backfield. Like, we see Salamander Hunting Pack coming in for Ghoul, and they just get hunted down by some good boys, right? And the good boys are going to be really, really good against them, especially with some Marauders helping. They're frostbitten, so retreating is going to be hard, and we see the big Skink Oracle out in the open field trying to help wherever it can, but the Skink Oracle just being chased by throwing axes, which is not going to be good for it. It's going to continue taking some substantial damage. Nice juking, though, by Ghoul there. He was able to kind of partially dodge that, so there they go. Skinks fighting here, trying to get this point back, but Norska's regeneration really, really making it difficult to remove. But the Nakai with the ward save aura could be enough. Did he actually bring it? Yeah, the golden tributes. It looks like he did. If somehow he were able to find a way to kill Throg, maybe. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think this is simply a victory for Ghoul. The fact that he's sitting on the blessed 69 points, he If he manages to end the game with 69 points, I think we should just give him the W and advance him to the grand finals anyways. So here, looking at the fight, Throg actually having some leadership issues. The Miasma of Despair going down to Kai's leadership debuff. Very cool. If Throg were to get routed and or killed off the battlefield, that could be an avenue with which the Lizards could come back. But if Throg is able to kind of squeak away and regenerate, this is going to be a very, very tough points lead to come back from, for sure. Let's keep an eye on this battle. We see the Oracle on its way back in, and several unbreakable units. I think we have the cohort of Sotek still fighting. Cold Voider brought back in by Kark. That's an interesting choice. The Cold Voider is expensive, and it is going to be giving your opponent a little bit of battlefield agency, right? Like, it doesn't have capture weight, so summoning that in again after it died, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be able to finish the job, but I can't help but think that Throg and the Skink Oracle might be able to put up a fight against it again. We'll have to see. Throg popping Fight or Die, getting support from Marauder Champions. That is really big. We see Nakai in a little bit of danger, so maybe the Cold Voider was the right choice to try and finish off the big leader of the Lizard army. In the backfield, we do see the Feral Cold Ones of Gabagool, and they're going to be moving in and grabbing this and grabbing this. And then maybe an opportunity to go for Norska's home objective. A lot of the battles, this almost feels like a land battle, like just like a blob fight with like a bunch of SEs going to be deciding the outcome of the fight, right? As Nakai is going here, he's got the Wave Ring. He's at 11 leadership. He's holding on. He's certainly a brave dinosaur, but Norska getting waves and waves of reinforcements, including a giant scary monster, is going to be tough. Goose in a suit, thank you for becoming a member, and welcome to the Dukes of Haggard, my friend. Enjoy the new glorious emojis, which were drawn by Lady Turin. Here we get the Cold Wind Riders. They're coming in. Going to be getting a rear charge. Maybe can help, but no. Nakai is finally broken. He was pretty raid boss this game, not in terms of value, but staying power and buffing. He's pretty good. 800 value right now, but the Cold Voider does a lot of damage. We got Condom Wolves chasing him down with their anti-large profiles. The value's pretty close this game. We got more Clever Girls on the way in. Home objective taken by the Lizards, so no longer will they have the Blessed 69, so the battle's going to start turning against them. I think Kark has maybe gotten this game back. It was looking a little bit weird there for a second. It looked like Nakai might be able to kind of pull a momentum shift, but the Cold Voider coming in, really able to kind of clinch it, and Throg Daddy's just healing. I mean, he's almost healing cap too. He's got a lot of healing in the back pocket. Where are the Clever Girls going? Looks like maybe opting to do a dive here, but Marauder Berserkers would probably honestly just straight up win against Clever Girls. Clever Girls just don't have the combat stats to punch through them. I mean, they would do some work for sure, but Lizardmen do get the back objective, so the Blessed number is gone. No longer are the blessings of Slaanesh upon this Lizardman army. As the Cold One Spear Riders fighting here, fighting hard, mind you, but still just going to be outdone. Sheer number of units, right? We got the Shaman Sorcerer, we got Throg, we got Marauder Champions, which are one of the better grinding units in the entire game. And it's probably going to be GG. I think Kark's going to take this one. So seeing a lot of good Norskan play today. Kind of cool to see. Norska feels like a strong faction that is like fair, you know? Like there's strong factions that feel unfair because they exploit game mechanics in a way they're not intended to be used. Like Chaos Dwarf Capture Weight or Skaven using the Power Grab. That feels unfair when they do that. But like Norska feels strong and fair. Like it feels like you can beat them, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see. Slaanesh Lizards, I know, that's some crazy shit. GG, well played. Fun games today. 2,400 on Throg, 1,200 on the Cold Voider. Certainly didn't pay for itself, 2 lives considering, but it seems like the Lizards just brought such poor infantry quality. You know, we had like a couple skinks that they just got steamrolled in the infantry fight, and at that point, it really allowed Norska to just kind of take over the battlefield. Goose, thank you again for becoming a member, and Fat, I'm glad you're enjoying the new emoji. So we do, if you're a channel member, we have an emoji for every single faction, I think. There might be one missing. If there is one missing, let me know, but I'm pretty sure we have one for every single faction. Yeah, in Total War. You can see Tzeentch is the squawking bird, and we got Nurgle there smiling. It's looking great. So thank you, man. Thank you. All right, so that is going to be a victory for Kark. Let's go ahead and take a look over here at the old tournament and see how we're looking here in the last round. I think the semis are probably best of 1, too. Let's see if they are. Let's see. Did he do best of 3s for the semis? It's fine if he did. Semis will be best of 1. Semifinals, yeah, and then finals are classic. Perfect. I like that format better. I think it's good. Glad to hop on board the Mighty Dukes of Haggard. Thank you for what you do. Hey, I appreciate that. And Torox is spamming his own emoji, which is great. The Beastman. Yeah, Torox has got his action. Any plans for Company of Heroes 3? Yeah, I do plan to play it again. But honestly, I play what I am really enjoying, right? I don't want to be playing a game that I'm not like super hyped about at this point in time. That's why I'm focusing on Total War, which is just my Warhammer Fantasy and Total War, just really my passion project, right? I just love it. And Age of Wonders, I'm really into right now. But I do plan on getting back into Company of Heroes in Age of Empires next week. Pone and I will probably do a Company of Heroes stream if he's down. Well, I'll have to ask him, but yeah, I think it'd be fun to get back in there. Where's your Daniel emoji? Do the Demons of Chaos not have an emoji? Do we forget them? I'm pretty sure they have Be'lakor. Don't you have Be'lakor? Yeah, I see Ashariah with Archaon right there. Yeah, I'm not sure. All right. Perfect. So checking the old brackets. It says I have 4 swift spins even though I lost one. Let me check. So checking on outer region. So the reason why it gave you that outer region, which I'll fix right now, is because one of your opponents dropped. So that's why. So FPod, I'll take care of that if you want. I'm already there. So because when one of your opponents drops, like you won the match and then he dropped, so it technically gave you 2 wins. So I'm going to change that so people have to get like admin approval to drop. Like it'll send a request to the admin or something. Yeah. All right. So let's see this. So FPod, I will fix this for you. I got you, man. And yeah, because you should have 3 outer region. All right. So refreshing and fixing. Yeah, I'm excited to play some Company of Heroes 3 again for sure. But I've been having some hand pain the past few days. I have, man, I've been suffering like hand problems since my early 20s. And, you know, I was blaming it on a number of issues. I did end up developing carpal tunnel and ulnar tunnel, but I had a surgery which fixed that. That went away. But then my hands kept hurting it. So it was like perplexing. And yeah, but anyways, I eventually got properly diagnosed in the past 2 years with having psoriatic arthritis. So I have a form of arthritis that comes from my psoriasis that I have, which is like a skin condition. That's why if you've ever seen me on like live broadcasts, my skin is usually very red on my face. It's because I have psoriasis. Finally have been properly diagnosed, and it attacks my tendons in my body. So like my Achilles, my bicep tendon, my hands, like I've just had all these weird injuries that don't go away over my life. And I'm like, what the hell? But finally we have an answer. So I'm going to be starting some medicine for it this weekend, which after 12 weeks, apparently I should be a lot better, which means like if it fixes a lot of my hand issues and other issues, man, you guys can expect more streams, more videos, like all sorts of stuff. Yeah, which would be very cool. I really hope it works out. Would be cool if Creative Assembly added a bracket feature. Don't hold your breath. Yeah, don't hold your breath. That would not happen. All right. Cool. So outer region, I got you fixed now. You're good. Yeah, it's a pain, man. It's a pain. It would be cool if they added chat back again. That's not going to happen, I don't think, for a long time. So the reason... Do you guys know why the chat DLC joke is a thing? Yeah, my body hates me for sure. I have a ton of allergies and shit. Yeah. We'll see. But do you know why we don't have chat in the game? Because apparently there was there's like a new law in the UK that like makes companies have some sort of responsibility for like the in-game chat or something. So what a lot of companies are doing is just removing chat in general, just so they don't have to deal with the baggage of that new law. So it's not necessarily purely Creative Assembly's fault. Like it's also something out there. Yeah. The heal your hand term. Yeah, it becomes the Dark Lord. Well, outer region, we'll see. It depends. You're currently sitting, you're tied with Kark on a tiebreaker, which is certainly a rough spot. But there's still a couple matches going. So it depends if someone you're playing. Yeah, it looks like House Cat of War. So if we take a look at the brackets, let's look together. We're in the 4th round right now. If we look, we see House Cat of War at number 1, Catholic Alcoholic number 2. But there's still people playing. So we don't know like what the tiebreakers are going to look like. You still have a chance. Yeah, so a lot of the game companies just don't want to deal with it. Has CA said anything about hosting servers? No, they haven't. I don't think that'll happen in Total War Warhammer, but if they make a game that has somewhat of a multiplayer focus, like on a future Total War title, I could see them doing servers at some point. Yeah. Honestly, servers would be great because like from a marketing perspective, it's like, I don't know how much it would cost, but like a lot of smaller studios have servers. Like I feel as if that would be huge because then it's not just multiplayer. I understand multiplayer is very niche as far as players who play this game, but I can't help but think it would like people would do co-op campaigns and they would stream them with their friends, like, you know, big streamers and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I just think that would be really fun if it was smooth and fast, but yeah, I don't know, man. What time zone? Yeah, I stream randomly, dude. I just stream when I feel like it. Yeah. I used to have a job where I was like I had like these really stressful deadlines and like projects I had to work on, and it was an amazing job. I loved every second of it. But Yeah, so I like to just kind of like have a more free-flowing schedule now. Yeah. That's how we go. Northgard, which is made by... I never played Northgard. I didn't. Dude, I'm having so much fun with Age of Wonders. Yeah, I'm having so much fun. It's such a good time. The good times roll. Total War with dedicated servers would be amazing. It would be. Oh, God. I'd have a full chub. I'd be erect for like 2 weeks if that happened. Maybe a week, 2 weeks. Somewhere in that ballpark. All right, so checking here. That was the fourth round, right? Or was that the that was the fourth round? Yeah, okay, I'm not crazy. So we'll be casting a semifinal game next, which will be a lot of fun. And we're almost there. So yeah, we have what? Let's look. We got 3 games coming in. So Bob and Ulrich. And then we have FPod and Rebel King and Mikey and Cap here. And once they're done, this one, didn't we just, no, we casted the Leech Lord's game previously. Yeah, so. And here you can see the new tiebreaker system. So you can see the strength of schedule. Leech Lord's strength of schedule is crazy. Is he still playing here? Yeah, so if Leech Lord wins this game, he's got, he played such strong opponents that, who did he play that gave him such a strong strength of schedule? It seems like, I'm just making sure everything's working here. Okay, he played Kark. He played another undefeated player here. And then he played FPod 2, who I believe has a strong schedule. But how would that be 10? Opponent's points being 10? I'll have to double check at the end. We'll make sure it's all squared away before we get there. And we'll do the calculations. Is Age of Wonders worth buying for a big Total War and Civ fan? Yeah. It's like Age of Wonders is one of the first games that's come out recently that I'm just like, dude, this is so amazing. I'm having such a good time with it. It's really fun. Hey, Boots, medical issue suck. I sympathize 100%. Hey, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Oh no, I don't need money for meds or anything. You know, I'm good, please. But I do appreciate the donation. It's not expensive. I have good insurance. Dude, so I'm technically what's called there's different business types. There's LLCs and whatever. I'm a sole proprietor, so it's just me, like as a sole proprietor business. So with that being the case, you have to buy your own health insurance plan. Obviously here in the States. So I have to pay like, what is it? $500. It's like $500 a month per person. So for my wife and I, so we pay just $1,000 a month just out of pocket for healthcare. It's such bullshit. And even when you still go to the doctor, you're still paying, like, you're still just getting punched right in the wiener. It's like, you still pay an egregious amount for these doctor's visits. It's like, oh, it's so awful. Like the care you get in America from doctors is good in my experience. Like the doctors have been great, but like the insurance and financial aspect of the American healthcare industry is such dog shit. Oh my God, it's so bad. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that donation. I really appreciate it. Looks like you got a happy little cat there as your picture. So, preparing for the next one. It's like you get, that is crazy. Yeah, welcome to the States, you know. Because I'm a sole proprietor. I'm not part of a company. A lot of companies will, if you're full-time, will give you healthcare and you don't have to worry about it. They just take it out of your paycheck and you don't notice. But when you run your own business, you just get absolutely karate chopped. Yeah. Come to Canada, we fix people for free. Yeah, it's such nonsense. When I used to work at my old job, when I was an athletic director, the company gave me, I didn't have to pay for healthcare there. They just take like $100 a month out of your paycheck or something. Yeah. But now that I'm, self-employed, it's like you just get owned pretty hard. All the Europeans feel a disturbance in the force. Yeah, there's a lot of things that the United States does well, and there's just a lot of, it's like a country of extremes, right? There's a lot of things we do well, and then there's a lot of things that are just done super poorly, and that's one of them, the healthcare, for sure. Yeah, it's all good. I love this country though. I'm very, yeah, I've had a great experience growing up here and everything. So, Clown World 100, it's 500 per person. Look, there's much cheaper healthcare options you can get. The 500 per person one is like a pretty fancy one, but that's because I have autoimmune conditions and my wife has some health conditions too, so we need to see doctors more frequently than a lot of people, just for like maintenance and checking up on things. So that's partially why. Yeah, it's a pain. It's a pain. All right, so let's go ahead and refresh and see how we're looking here. I know it's like, and it's like health don't care. That's perfect. Like the depressing part too is like the corruption with like the healthcare industry and like the medical and like pharmaceutical industries here, it's just the corruption is so deeply rooted that if some sort of politician who actually like, might care tries to get in there and change it, they just get railroaded by like all these other corrupt politicians who are like just getting lobbied, right? So in America, and like I know in some European countries, like the concept of lobbying is like completely like just illegal, right? Like, but here you could just be like a huge pharmaceutical company and just go like yeah, there's no like agreement that says like you have to vote this way, but we'll just keep giving you like $2 million a year if you just like keep rolling with our agenda. It's so corrupt, and it's like even if somebody wants to come in and fix it, it's just like it's such an overwhelming hill to climb. Hopefully someday, but man, it's like lobbying in our country is really terrible. It's terrible. Like the fact that these huge corporations can just come in and just pay these politicians off and it's completely legal. It's just like, oh God, it would take a change all at once. Yeah, it'd have to be something big. It'd have to be something big. Yeah. Anyways, enough political talk. I think most people can agree on that shit though. That's like something I think is a common ground is like I think everyone agrees that like the political system is probably pretty damn corrupt. I mean, it's probably like that all around the world. Yeah, bribery. It's bribery. That's what it is. It's bribery. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was talking to Anna about. So my wife is from Poland, and she's mentioned like even though it's like it still goes on in other countries, but it's just more shadowy under the table. Here, it's just legit in the open. You can look at politicians and see who pays them. Like it's public information, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's just like, yeah. It's such bullshit. Thanks for the years of content, Turin. This is the kind of like rants that when I eventually start a podcast, these are the kind of rants that we're gonna have. We'll talk about more of those kind of things. This is it just pisses me off so much. It's just, man, it's horrible. Because I used to work a job too where I saw people who were like victimized by poor healthcare. It was so I like a lot of the people who were part of my organization were like suffering from these terrible decisions that politicians were making. And I like saw the suffering firsthand. So I have a special hatred for it. It's just like, oh my God, I hated it so much. I used to work for a nonprofit. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So happy Mother's Day. Yes, I celebrated Mother's Day with my mom a couple days ago. She's going out of town with her partner this weekend, so they have a big trip they had to go on, so we celebrated a little bit early. Yeah, it's good. Looking good. Yeah, most developed world looks at U.S. healthcare with Google-eyed horror. Yeah. Oh my God, the healthcare industry is so awful. And I had okay, are we almost there? We're almost done with the rant, I promise. I also, one of my first jobs out of college is working for a doctor too. And he used to talk about, okay, we have one game finishing. But the doctor I used to work for talked about how like he would have to fight insurance companies to get them to give the treatment he recommended to his patients. And I was like, dude, it's so awful. It's so awful. Oh God. At least you know who bought the politician you voted for. Yeah, for sure. Hey, Turin, playing a Chaos Dwarf right now in between. Oh, it sounds like fun, Chris. Yeah, Chaos Dwarves are a lot of fun to play. They just need to get fixed. Nice to catch a live stream. Yeah. Dude, try Psych Ward. I don't even want to dig deep into it. It's just going to piss me off. Turin will start a podcast talking about... yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. I have been to Mexico several times, actually. I went to... twice. It was when I was young. I went when I was like 7 and once when I was like 11. My mom took me on a vacation there and my stepdad. We went to La Bufadora and we were, where is that? Bufadora. Yeah. So it's like it's like down by, I guess, Baja. Is it that far down by Baja? Like that? Yeah. So it's like this natural like water spout. It's pretty cool. I remember going as a kid. It was rad. As an EMT in America, it hurts to do my job because I know I'm putting them in debt. I know, it's so depressing. There's like people in America who get in like a car wreck and they're just like, oh God, I don't have insurance. Please don't take me in the ambulance. It's going to be like a $25,000 bill. It's like, it's the most fucked up shit ever, man. It's horrible. Like, God, man. It's so bad. Yeah. Yes, William. Yes. Insurance in the US can tell you. Yeah. So they can fight your doctors if they want to. Yeah, there's a lot of conservative treatments that they're okay with, but if your doctor wants to try anything slightly different than like the books, you know, they'll fight him on it. Oh God, it's awful, dude. It's so awful. Yeah, I've been to Mexico a couple times. I always had a great time. Been to Mexico, been to Canada, mostly across the U.S. Been to Poland many times. My smoking hot wife is from Poland, so I spent a lot of time out there. I always love it. And hey, don't get me wrong. I love the United States. I love living here. I love the people. I love this country. Just, you know, that's one big flaw that really needs to be fixed. It's it's bad. It's bad. Yeah, the second you get into an ambulance, it's an instant $25,000. Yeah, I suppose if you have really good insurance, it might not be that expensive, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. All right, the last guy said they had a disconnect to replaying, but they have no chance at top 4. So report their scores. Let's see. So report their score as a tiebreaker. So whoever disconnected, I'd say gets. I'm just doing a little bit of admin stuff right now, guys. Okay, a little bit of adminning. All right, there we go. No, I didn't go to Canada for Blake. It was a long time ago. So when I went to Canada, God, it was, what year would that have been? So, the Canada experience was a lot of fun. I've been there several times, but I actually lived in Canada for 2 summers. So my dad was a television actor, a TV actor, and he played Wayne Szalinski on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show. And during the summers, they were filming that show in Canada. So my dad lived in Canada for 3 years while they did that show, basically. So I went to go stay with my dad. My parents were divorced, so I went to go stay with my dad during the summers in Canada, and I loved it. Oh man, I had such a good time. People were nice. It was fun. I saw a lot of Canadian tuxedos, the jean jackets and the jeans. It kind of inspired my style because that's how I dress now. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Blake from the UK, been watching for 10 plus years, always been supporting because of your humanitarian views and your brilliant. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that, dude. Thank you. That's your dad? Yeah. Yeah, that was. Yeah, he was on that show. Yeah. All right, so let's see how the top 4 advance is going. It looks like it's going to be going strong. And did he advance to the top 4? Let's go ahead and check the tournament page. And where is that? Okay, so it looks like it advanced to the top 4. So yes, we have Swarv, Housecat of War, and Leechlord and Ulrich Rahl. So we will do Housecat of War's game. Housecat. Hey, I'm going to cast your game. Lobby info, please. So now if we take a look over on the site, it advances it to a top 4. See, so we have a separate tournament now. It's pretty cool. And we have Swarv, Housecat, Leechlord, and Ulrich Rahl, who are going to be our contenders here in this top 4. Seems like it worked out great. All right. Awesome, awesome. So copying the code over. And let's get back. And join with code. Paste here. And great. So this is going to be Housecat of War on the top side. We casted his game earlier. Turns out my dad is not Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis is in the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie. My dad played Wayne Szalinski. Is that his name? Wayne? No, was it? What was his name? The character. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids' dad name. Yeah, Wayne Szalinski. Yeah, so my dad played him in the TV show on Disney Channel. Not the movie. People, and they kind of look somewhat similar too, so people often would make that mistake. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember. Oh, sad outer region face. Oh no. The sad outer region face. Yes. It's okay, man. You played great. We had a good time casting your business earlier, so. Okay. You were probably pretty close, but yeah, I think there were some strong tiebreakers in there. Hold on, let me check something real quick. So Leechlord is... He had a opponent schedule of 10 from what I can tell. So let me just double check that. Yeah, so Kark would be 4. Zabber would be 3. Yeah. And then F-Pod would be 2. Oh, definitely. Okay, yeah. That makes sense why his tiebreaker is so strong. Yeah. All right, so we got Swarv versus House Cat of War. Very fun stuff. House Cat. We'll just put House Cat for short. It'll fit a little bit better on the banner. And Swarv here. All right. Cool, man. Yes, good. The saddest. Do you have a sad Khorne face right now, Outer Region? Do you have like a frowning Scarbrand as your face? Yeah, I don't know much about Merc Moranis. I don't know much about him. I wasn't like terribly involved in the entertainment industry because my dad and my mom and dad divorced when I was like 7 years old. My dad moved to the East Coast and I lived with my mom in California. So I would see my dad pretty rarely. I mean, we still talked on the phone and stuff, but I wasn't like really involved in the entertainment industry world too much. There was a couple things I went to here and there, but it was pretty rare. I had a much different upbringing. Yeah. Have you ever heard of the tabletop skirmish game Burrows? No, I haven't. Is it literally just like badger creatures fighting other other ground-dwelling beasts? Yeah, could be. So House Cat is here. Swarv, I think, rebooting. Halls of Karag Doom are upon us. This is a really cool Dowie-inspired map on the Total Tavern map pack. God, just look at all these maps, guys. Look at all these. Oh, God, look at it. Look at all these maps that could just be in the base game. Instead, we just have these shitter maps. Oh, my God. Please, Anakin, I'm too weak. Give it to us. Okay, Swarv is back. Swarv just went and changed his... Is he an RTK? So Swarv was in the lobby as Swarv, and then he left and changed his clan tag to RTK. I don't know if he's in RTK, but if he is, that's... Or if he's not, that's quite the troll there. Yeah. Your Khorne play was awesome, Outer Region. We enjoyed it a lot today. Yes, Nomi, that's true. That is true. He has an album. Yeah, a lot of like these famous actors actually have like bands. Like what's his name? What's his name has a band? Oh, what's the guy's name from Blade Runner? He's in The Notebook. He's like the love interest. Fucking hell, what's his name? Guys, what's the name of that character? That actor? Oh my God, Ryan Gosling. Yeah. Okay, I got it before the chat delay caught up. So yeah, he has a band that I think Anna has listened to, and she said it's pretty decent. And what's his name was the singer, the cultist guy, the guy who like had like some weird cult in the desert, and he was Morbius, Morbin time. No, not Jack Black. Jack Black does. Jack Black is great, yeah. But the Morbius guy, Jared Leto, he was like the lead singer of a pretty popular band. Yeah, he had some weird cult shit going on in the desert recently. Nakamura, how do you feel about making a dedicated map showcase video? I mean, I would do it, but I don't think it would change anything at CA. Yeah, Ryan Gosling, yeah. His band was actually pretty good. That's what I heard. And then there's just like terrible shit like Steven Seagal, right? He has like apparently a band, but he's just like, Steven Seagal just sucks, dude. He's such a... Like every account I've ever heard of him has just been him being a terrible person. Like just terrible. Yeah, so, yeah, it is what it is. Right, literally me, Gosling, yeah. 30 Seconds to Mars, that's what it was. Yeah. That's the name of the band. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of lunatics in the industry, I'm sure. Christopher Lee did have a heavy metal band, yeah. And it was it's if you guys haven't heard Christopher Lee's metal music, you need to go and look it up. He has like this it's like very much like kind of inspired by 80s power metal, like very corny kind of ballad style. Oh, it's great. He did a Christmas metal album where he does like Jingle Bells, like heavy metal. And Christopher Lee also did an album about Charlemagne. So a historical album about Charlemagne and his conquest and shit. And he's like singing about it. It's great. It's great. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. You guys would love it. One of the yeah, Steven Seagal sucks pretty bad. He's terrible. One of the funniest things is when Steven Seagal went on Reddit to do an AMA for one of his like piece of shit movies that got released. He did like I can't remember what it was, but he went on to do an AMA on Reddit, and like he didn't respond to a single question. He got roasted so hard. There was just like all the it's just pure gold. If you guys look that up, it's hilarious. Yeah, good times. So Norska versus, I know Housecat's a Norskan enjoyer. He's clearly very good at Norska. It seems to be where he's been getting a lot of his dubs in the tournament so far. Christopher Lee also featured in the Rhapsody, yeah. Yeah, check it out. It's fun. It's pretty fun. Idris Elba has a band too. Idris Elba seems like a cool dude. I don't really know anything about him. I know he did like a kickboxing fight in his mid-40s. He did like a mini documentary on it where he like trained and actually fought a kickboxing fight, which is mad respect, especially being in your mid-40s. That was pretty cool. Van Damme tried to fight him once. Yeah. Fun fact, Christopher Lee's descended from Charlemagne. Oh yeah? Is that like some deep Christopher Lee lore? That's cool. Oh man, I gotta go back and watch some Lord of the Rings. Nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. And after that disaster that was the Rings of Power, I'm kind of like, part of me is kind of like embracing, you know how like, remember when the Star Wars prequels came out? Like how like they kind of got like hated on a bit, but then like over time people became like fond of them. Especially when the new Star Wars trilogy came out that was just absolute trash. You know? Then everyone's like, perhaps I judged you too harshly, right? That's like, and I feel like that could happen with The Hobbit. With like how the new Lord of the Rings is being mangled by the Rings of Power and stuff, like I feel like people might start looking back at The Hobbit and being like, perhaps I judged you too harshly, you know? H as I played Housecat and Blind, he is. Yeah, Housecat's a really nice person. He is. Yeah, absolutely. So here you are. You have old Swarv in here against Housecat. Beastmen. Oh yeah. Beastmen versus Lizardmen. This is a DLC matchup, guys. This is a DLC matchup. I'm ready for it. Yeah, Amco, for sure. So funny to see him in movies. Yeah, he's supposed to be a high-speed operator, but he can't even hold a rifle, and he's always sitting. Yeah, it's funny. Perhaps I judged you too harshly. Like, I know the Hobbit movies weren't perfect, and they had a lot of flaws and were really haggard at some points, but, like, at least you get to see Homeboy as Gandalf. It's fun. Yeah, I'll get it for you. Yeah, you gonna do it? Okay.
Do you want something from home?
No, I'm good. Yeah, just water or something. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, darling. But like, what I was saying is, at least in the Hobbit movies, you know, you get to see Ian McKellen as Gandalf. You get to see Christopher Lee. You know, you get to see Galadriel. You know, like it could be worse. There's some cool scenes at least. It's fun. Yeah, like, you know. And they're not Lord of the Rings trilogy, but still. You see, I feel like that's kind of how it's going, yeah. The singing scene in the Misty Mountains when the dwarves are singing in that, that scene was like so good. It was so good. Yeah, the love triangle with Tariel was pretty stupid, yeah. There were some things that were, like I said. But the Rings of Power was such an atrocity. I really went into the Rings of Power like open-minded. I was like, I went in and I was like, okay, I'm not going to just like, there's tons of reviews hating on it and like, you know, people going after it. I'm going to go in open-minded. And I really tried. I tried super hard, you know, to just like the Rings of Power. But I just like, oh God, it just kept going down. And there was like, I kept waiting for this epic moments that you have in the other movies. And they're just nothing like that. It was just, I just couldn't get there. I couldn't do it. And then by the ending, I'd given up. I did finish it though. I did finish it. Okay, so we got House God of War and Lizardmen versus Swarv's Beastmen. The bottom side can play as well, and then we'll just go and do the best of 5 finals after this. Best of 3 finals. Sorry, best of 3. We're having a very good evening. Yeah, we're having a very good evening. Yeah, it's good times. It's good times. A little bit slow in between games, but that's normal for Total War tournaments. It's very, very normal. But you know. Going to be setting up a faction war soon. I don't know when. I'm waiting for for a patch to come and fix the Chaos Dwarf stuff. When they do that, I'll host a faction war. It's just because right now, I feel like they're just kind of with the hitbox thing on Bull Centaurs. Just, you know, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, there was a couple moments in Rings of Power that I was like, okay, this is kind of fun, but it was just heavily outweighed by like a lot of the haggardness of the scenes. Yeah. Still waiting for a Silmarillion movie. Oh, that's hard. Adapting Silmarillion would be tough. I think if you just did specific stories within the Silmarillion, I don't know. I don't know how the best way to do it. We need Gunhound, our resident Lord of the Rings expert here, to give us the pro tips on that. All right, time to watch the finals now that I got as much. Hey, there you go. Yes, enjoy the finals. When is 3.1? I don't know. I would assume like sometime in the next like month or two. I would hope. That would be my guess. That would be my guess. Hey, darling. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Lady keeping me hydrated. Yeah, there's some. Amazon has done some good shows though. I think they did the Reacher show. My wife and I just watched that. We really liked it. The new Reacher one with that like Giga Chad guy. The actor is just like basically the textbook definition of a Chad. He's from like the Blue Mountain State show, I think. Yeah, that we both enjoyed that show. That was really fun. Yeah, that was really, really fun. All right, guys. The battle is on. Oh, the Dread Saurian is the Lord of the Lizard Army. I love it. I like it because you see, this is cool because you're not going to unsummon a Dread Saurian to avoid the leadership penalty, right? So that's like a cool way of doing it, having something different as your Lord. Was it an HBO series? I can't remember. Anyways. Hey, welcome to the stream. All right, guys. It is time for the armies of House God of War. Saurus Spears, backed up by some more Saurus and whatnot. So he's got a whole bunch of Saurus into the sunset. I hate Saurus. They're certainly one of the more difficult units to remove. Love that meme with Carl Franz. We got a Dread Saurian as the Lord. And some of you guys were talking about the Dread Saurian earlier. And yeah, this thing doesn't mess around, dude. It's definitely tough for the Beastmen to kill. It can get in and stand on top of Saurus and do a hell of a lot of damage. Hell of a lot of damage. I binged all of BMS at UCSB. Oh, you went to UCSB. I went to Santa Barbara City College. Yeah. that's pretty cool, man. We could have been neighbors. I did used to. I hung out with some people at UCSB though, quite a bit. Yeah, I went to City College and then transferred to one of the state schools after that. But yes, Ungor Raiders. A lot of poke here for the Beastmen. Cheap spears in the front, obviously not wanting to go fisticuffs with the big monsters. And that makes sense. Why would you want to send Bestigors in to fight against Lizardmen monsters, right? You want to send crappy units and then use your bows and monstrous units to fight, right? We got Chad Gorbel over here for Swarv, and on top of that, it is going to be Minotaurs with great weapons coming in to deal with big threats. We got a Brave Shaman of Death. It looks like he's got Spirit Leech and Buna, the classic good stuff kit right there. And yeah, they're just going to be dropping some fat Bunas maybe on, I don't know, probably Spirit Leeches on the Dread Saurian would be my guess. But yeah, the Dread Saurian is such a cool monster. Look at this thing. Look how majestic of a beast it is as it just marches forward. And this is what I'm talking about as a good map for a Dread Saurian, right? Like a good map. You just get the big Dread Beast and you just move straight up. And you can just go like play really simplistic here, ignore the side objective until if you pressure your opponent's home objective hard enough, then they're going to panic and pull over here oftentimes. And then you can just send some skinks in there to grab that objective, right? That's kind of the playstyle that you often see with like a monster heavy build or a monstrous focus build, I should say. It's not heavy because it's just the one monster, but yeah. You guys get the idea. You guys get the idea. They should just give Gorbel 0 mass and have him launch whenever he hits something. That would be really funny. I know. Just lean into the joke. I think one joke that Creative Assembly could lean into would be like Sirtha Ek. Like if they actually make Sirtha Ek an FLC Lord for Norska that, has like a legendary chariot and some cool abilities and multiplayer and has his own campaign, dude, that would be really good. That would be awesome. So it looks like the Lizards are actually going to play the side objective a little bit, using their Salamander hunting packs to shoot some of the Ungors. It does a little bit of damage, nothing too crazy though, as it looks like they were on the retreat from that for the most part. Understandably, the Lizards don't want to advance into this concave position. We see the Beastmen sitting here with a bunch of Raiders just ready to really pour a lot of firepower into that advancing army. So I can see the Lizards maybe opting to just kind of tank with their Saurus here and start playing the side objective, but it looks like the Beastmen are going to be sounding the horn actually, and they'll be moving up. Now, what will we see Buna on? Buna, maybe on Saurus Spears? Could be an okay choice. We do get the Banana Toad coming out, so the Life Slan. If you're going to be going with the Dread Saurian, you want regrowth. You want heals for that thing. Otherwise, you're going to be punishing yourself a little bit. You really, really want to make sure you have healing for that beast. So Lizard is pulling back a little bit, expecting the Beastmen push. And I guess Buna is really good against Salamander hunting packs, right? So you just Buna those bad boys, and it pretty much one-shots them. It's for some reason, it just does a hell of a lot of damage. But we are going to see a regrowth coming out to try and counter that. Will it be able to save them? So regrowth does go down. It's kind of countering it a little bit, but now we see the Beastmen on parade, so they're in. Minotaurs have gotten in, Ungors as well. The Dreadsaurian pulling into the backfield. Looks like it's going to be trying to hunt down the Butchers of Kalkengard. And that one Salamander hunting pack still did get punished very badly, but the regrowth is still going, and there's a chance that that Salamander pack could come back. They still have pretty much all of their models. Wow. So if they actually get regrowth and healed, there's a substantial chance that they could be still useful here. Dreadsaurian doing some good work, peeling over on the flanks, going after the Butchers of Kalkengard. So here comes the big lizard beast, and should be able to rip through some of these guys pretty effectively. This is a great fight for the Dreadsaurian. It's going to be killing models pretty quickly. We see the Butchers of Kalkengard already down to about half HP. Salamander hunting pack still hasn't come back. It's in a pretty heavy rout. We see the Saurus in the front holding on well. The Saurus warriors here able to decisively defeat the Ungors. We get Big Daddy Gorbel battling Saurus, but it's not necessarily a good fight for him. Definitely a misplay. The Gorbel should be doing something else. Saurus are just some of the most resilient infantry units in the entire game. Like really, really resilient. And we do see the Gorbel realizing that he shouldn't be sitting there, and he is going to be pushing through and trying to cause some havoc. Big surround coming in. The Dreadsaurian getting absolutely hammered down here. Not hammered per se, but surrounded by the Minotaurs with Great Opens. And the Battletoad is in big danger, guys. Battletoad right here is getting hammered. He is large and thick on that big motor scooter, and he took a lot of damage there. But I find that Minotaurs with Great Opens do struggle. If they can't get a full surround on a monster, they don't necessarily kill it that quickly. And we do see House Cat of War is going to be piling in the back with these Saurus spears. So now the Minotaurs are the ones who are going to be trapped. They've been Rorschached here. They're the ones trapped in here with me, as those anti-large spears are going to be shanking down a lot of those Minotaurs, and the dreaded Dreadsaurian is just rampaging, basically terror routing things. Blood Statuette of Spite used on the Ungor spears, very nice, going to be synergistic with that terror route right there. And the Dreadsaurian just cackling all the way to the bank and dominating that Minotaur blob. The Minotaurs are really struggling, and Saurus are obviously winning the fights. Most of the Beastmen army is heavily invested in Minotaurs as well as Gorbels and things like that. And we do see these Saurus just karate chopping pretty much everything that they encounter there, which is pretty rad indeed. A little bit of a rear charge from the Minos coming in. I think we see, oh my god, why do players do this? I hate it. Get your back objective. Just a crappy Ungor for like 10 seconds. It'll get you that objective. Because what I was about to say is he could go for a stuffing strategy. He could just try and triple cap the lizards, and even though he's losing on value, go for the win on points. But the fact that he didn't capture his back objective is probably going to make that playstyle just simply not viable. It's going to force it into a pure value trade situation. Another big misplay too. He's moving off the objective super heavily. He should have stayed here. He could have just flipped this point if he just stayed on that objective for like a second longer, but he chooses to move off and just try and goon something, which, that Saurus warrior is going to be there for, plenty of time. But this is going to give House Cat of War, who's massively ahead on value. He's ahead by about 2,200 value, plus I would say maybe 800 with healing being taken into account. So almost 3,000 value lead. Plenty of time to push back. And he didn't capture his home objective. Just a lot of big mistakes being made here by Swarv. But again, he's playing quite well in many regards. But that big mistake is going to cost him the game, I think. Because he could be up maybe 400 points to nothing right now. If he didn't let his opponent get that. And then he can use Beastman mobility and the hit and run tactics and different things like that, where they can do their thing. Yeah, Lord Croak has a couple matchups in which he's good. I think Lord Croak against Undead is not bad for just spamming those cheap, removal spells. Yeah, it's not bad. Spirit Leech going down, but I think it's going to be too little too late. And now we get Skinks moving up. The Dreadsaurian is going to be bolstered by some of these Saurus spears on the ground. And the dreaded Dreadsaurian is just going to have a field day. It's going to be terror routing. It's going to be causing mad havoc. And we get legions of Skinks coming in the back, as on the side, this objective now going to be taken by the Lizards. A unit of Feral Cold Ones and Saurus Warriors have made it up to the point, and these poor Ungors, these little goblin people, are going to get absolutely mangled by these 8-foot-tall Jack Steroid Lizard monsters, which, Saurus are pretty terrifying, for sure. I mean, they're hunched over, so they don't look as tall as you would think, but when a Saurus stands up straight, I'm pretty sure they're literally 8 or 9 feet tall. They're just absolute terrifying hulking beasts, and they are reflected very well in that too. When you see how they perform in the game, they really just are hard to remove and hit like trucks. They definitely perfectly designed, in my opinion. So the Beastmen do get the cap on the Lizardman home objective, but this objective slipped, the score is super close. He could be up, and Swarv knows it's over and withdraws, which is smart. It was only a matter of time before the Beastmen ran rampant. He needed to capture that back objective 100%. And the dive in the backfield did not go super well. When he dove the Slan are the juiciest bait. They're just all big and thick and tempting back there. But, when you go for the Slan, they have a ton of HP and they have good healing. So it's, that one did. Dreadsaurian, 2,000 value, and the Lizardmen were going to take over that game. It was only a matter of time. So GG, well played. 8-foot-tall murder geckos, yes. A very apt way of describing it. So that is a victory for House Cat of War. GG, well played. And the Lizardmen getting the W, man. Doing some good work today. I dig it. All right, so we'll stay here, and we'll see who wins. Let's stay in this lobby. Invite winner of other side here. All right, man, we're good. The Bristol, yeah, that video is so good. He went for the banana, but he got the peel. I know, he slipped on the peel, dude. The dreaded banana peel slip. Yeah. Some good water right there. I'll be right back, guys, in just a minute. I'm going to grab a little something from the kitchen. In the meantime, we'll play our hype trailer, and I'll be back in just a moment.
More Lord of Death, keep our souls, lest they fall prey to him.
All right, folks, we're back. And let's see what's going down. Yes. Do we have our other side winner yet? I don't think so. And looking here, the other bracket was, so let's go to the top 4 and see what it's gonna be. If you want Magic, Magic is good in Total War for sure. Magic's very, very good. Age of Wonders, it's especially good. So we do have the best of 1 showdown here, which is finished. So we did have Swarv defeated by Housecat of War, and Leechlord and Ulrich Rahl are just wrapping up their series here. So we'll see who's going to be getting the grand final nod. Grand finals are best of 3. So how it works is when you finish a tournament now, it creates a separate tournament for the top 4. It just like generates a new event, which is pretty neat. Here's our top of the leaderboard right now. Kark's sitting at number 1. He's gotten 3 tournaments so far. He puts in a lot of hours. Hadri's winning several tournaments as well. I know Hadri's has been taking a little bit of a break to grind some Age of Wonders, which is fun. Who did that intro? I just made it. Yeah, I just made it. Yeah, wasn't anything too fancy. It's a fun one. Yeah, it's not like as cool as the Doom soundtrack one, but it's we can't use the Doom soundtrack, so. Like, technically, when it comes to using soundtracks, like, from video games, it's up to the game companies on a case-to-case basis, more or less, right? So, like, Creative Assembly obviously will let any of its folks who cover its game use their soundtrack in the videos and stuff, but I don't cover Doom, right? So there's a chance that they might get weird about it at some point. Granted, I mean, it is promotion for Doom, so I don't really know. The Mark of Chaos cinematic, I think, is one of the best cinematics of all time in terms of Warhammer. It's so good. Although I think my favorite Warhammer trailer is hands down the new one they did. The Immortal Empires trailer, where they had the official launch with like the Council of Order. And then like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. It has everything. It has a little bit of comedy in there with, the dwarves and the high elves, but it has like that epic impending doom. When Karl Franz is giving the speech about all the different villains, and like it just shows like Wulfric pulling the sword out of the head of the Terracotta Sentinel, and like Archaon just all menacing, and oh, it's so good. No, I don't know that it's the best trailer. It's the best, and the ending is so cool. You just get this huge combined army of Kislev and Empire, just like demogryphs riding by shoulder to shoulder with the Griffin Legion, just charging into this like huge chaos horde. You're just like, yes, dude, yes. It's the coolest shit. It's the best. Like, nothing beats that. Yeah. Short. It's great, man. Yeah, it's great. Creative Assembly does a great job at trailers. Like, their trailers are so good. Yeah. Daryl says, it's great. I make trailers professionally, and it hits all the points right on, man. Right on. The expertise will be trusted. Best part of the Mark of trailer is the pair of goblins amidst the chaos horde shanking the stage. Do you think we'll ever get a Total War Warhammer show? Well, it wouldn't be Total War Warhammer, like a Warhammer Fantasy show. I think we could. I think there's a slim possibility that we could get like a slim possibility that Games Workshop could see how clever it would be to do like an animated Gotrek and Felix show. That would be very popular, I think. It has like all the classic fantasy tropes. The characters are really fun. The universe is very rich and fun. It's grim dark enough too. I think an animated Gotrek and Felix show would be great. Like you could do a live action, but that's less likely to happen. It's much bigger, production. But a really nice animated Gotrek and Felix show would be awesome, dude. That'd be awesome. What's your tinfoil prediction for the DLCs? Tamarcon for Nurgle. For the Empire, oh, man, Empire's hard. I think it'd probably be like, because the thing about like Kurt Helborg and like those type of characters is they're pretty similar in like functionality to like Franz type characters. So probably like Elspeth would be really rad. Elspeth von Draken. I would love to see that. That'd be very different, very unique for the Empire. And then for who's the other one in that DLC? The Dwarves. The Dwarves, I would like to see Malachi Mikeson or a Dwarven Slayer. That's really tinfoil hat though. That would give them some neat stuff. Yeah, a finger on the curls, and we get AOS Gotrek and Stormcast Felix. No Stormcast. Stop it. Oh God, I can't stand the Stormcast. That's like the one thing that I just can't get in Age of Sigmar because it's like deep in the reaches of outer space. Lord Sigmar has his galactic space station where he builds his Stormcast Eternal Space Marines. It's just like, oh, it's the worst. They are so mighty that even when they die, they are simply reforged, and there are no stakes whatsoever. It's just, dude, I can't do the Stormcast. I can't do it. Like, I know, like, there's plot armor in Warhammer Fantasy too, all right? I'm not oblivious to that. Like, of course, important characters won't often die, but like, you still feel the stakes in a Warhammer Fantasy battle, even for the humble state trooper. You feel bad for them. You feel stakes. You feel the importance of their fight. Whereas with Stormcast, you're just like, oh well, he's just going to respawn with maybe one or two less memories, whatever. It's like, oh God, I can't get into it. I can't do it. Maybe the lore is cooler now, but when I first looked at the game, it definitely jaded me a bit. Yeah. Definitely. I would play some Age of Sigmar if it weren't for the double turns. Like, I enjoy Age of Sigmar as a game system. It's actually quite good. I just really don't like the double turns. Double turns are like the worst thing. Hammond, don't you put that evil out there. Oh God, I hate it. I know, it's awful. Yes, I know it. So yeah, sorry for the delay, guys. Our game finished really quickly. And we're just waiting for the other side of the bracket to finish. So. And then we got our best of 3 grand finals. You missed the trailer? Is it on YouTube? Which trailer? The one I made or the one we were talking about that the Creative Assembly made? I hate the double turns. I can't stand it. If you look at like the double turns, if you look at like most competitive battle reports or tournament games, most people are wishing for the double turn. And if that's something that like everybody's fiending for, then it's kind of like it's a huge factor. Oh, I can't hang with the double turns, man. Just watched the Warhammer 3 Immortal Empires trailer and can confirm, yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good. Yeah, so Nakamura in chat saying that the AOS RTS is coming, which I will cover and play because it still has like some cool Warhammer elements in it. I definitely will do some videos on it, and if it's well done, I'll have tournaments and stuff. God, I really hope they have a replay feature. I feel like Company of Heroes really dropped the ball by not launching with that because there would be a lot of people would host big tournaments and events and yeah, no, I know that, Hammond. Yeah, I know it's actual lore. If you're good at AOS, there's ways to basically never get double turned. Oh, well, sure, you can be cagey and plan around the double turn, but I feel like a lot of games have been decided by it. Because there's going to come a time, and I played a fair amount of Age of Sigmar games. There will come a time in the late game when you're fighting over objectives, okay? And like, there's only so much caginess you can do to avoid being punished by a double turn. And if your opponent just gets to beat you down twice and get the advantageous charges and position, it's like you're going to lose. Yeah. That's interesting though. Maybe something's changed since I played Sebastian. I haven't played Age of Sigmar since 2020, so I don't know what the meta's like now. 2019, actually, shit. Yeah, 2020, 2019, so it's been like 3 or 4 years since I played it, but... Yeah, there's an Age of Sigmar RTS coming out. Yeah, there is. I just like prefer like regular turn back and forth. I think that's more fair in general because you can just like there's less RNG in the game, you know. I've heard arguments for and against the double turn in tabletop gaming, but I really hate it. I really hate it. It just feels bad. Like I've seen games where in like okay, so even if the argument still stands that double turns are good at tournament play and players know how to, you know, adjust the double turns and stuff. There's still a case to be made for the average Joe, you know, who's playing and just learning, and just getting double turn steamrolled by your friend's army feels bad. It's a feel bad mechanic. Like I've seen a lot of games with newer players who've just felt really bad in a double turn situation. Yeah, and myself included. It was a feel bad thing. I want the main tabletop Warhammer games to. Yeah, I haven't played Kill Team or Warcry. I've heard good things about them. We don't know anything yet. This is based on job listing. Several XCA employees work on it. Oh, that's cool. That's cool, Nakamura. Yeah, I'll cover it, man. Any RTS game, I'll take it. We're here for the scraps, you know. We're here for the scraps. The RTS community isn't picky. We'll take what we can get. While we wait, check out some burrows and bad. The game has pretty much 2 good camp. Huh? Is it a computer game? Yeah, of course you like the double turns because you play ogres. You're just like steamrolling people with this huge... Yeah, ogres feel bad to get double turned against. When I played Age of Sigmar, I played Cities of Sigmar. So I was basically just playing an Empire army, you know, with Age of Sigmar rules. I had Karl Franz and Demogryph Knights and shit. And he just have... Oh my god, humongous. Oh man. Yeah, like Age of Sigmar has some awesome models. And what are we doing? We should be doing some stuff here. Let's look at some. Like there's some elements of Age of Sigmar I really like, aesthetically speaking. So we have these. And what's awesome, I really like the factions that kept like a lot of the fantasy inspiration and are just like the Warriors of Chaos are just like awesome. Like, and you can just straight up use those in Warhammer in the old world and just like, you know, you're all set. So if you look at the, where are they? So it's order. No, it's, yeah, so that's destruction. No, death. Oh my God, my brain is just fried. Haven't eaten in a long time. Like Slaves of Darkness have some cool models, man. Like look at Be'lakor. He is just such a Chad over here. And then you got like just even the basic Chaos Warriors. Like these new Chaos Warriors models are so cool, dude. These look great. These look like the ones in Total War Warhammer. You got like the new Chaos Knights, which these are like what they should look like. So Slaves to Darkness is a cool army to collect. A really, really cool army. And you could just use these you can use them on their regular basis. And then when Old World comes out, you just put them in an adapter and it'll totally work. So like, they look great. The new Chaos models. Yeah, you got some neat stuff. You got the old Chaos Chariot, Exalted Heroes. Yeah, there's some funky stuff in there. You have the old Chaos War Shrine. You can see it. It looks just like it does in the Total War Warhammer, which is cool to see that. What do you got back here? These are the older models. You got like the Chaos Madscores and stuff. They still look pretty good, honestly. They still look pretty nice. Sold out. Classic Marauder Horsemen. Those models are pretty old, but they honestly don't look terrible. They don't look terrible at all. I think some of the destruction stuff looks good, like the Auric War Clans. Yeah, they have, no, we would need to do so it would be Destruction and Sons of Behemoth. I guess they just threw all the orcs together. These are the ogres. And then we got Death, Destruction. And where are they? Yes, right here. Ironjaws are badass, yeah. So Ironjaws look cool. I don't know how I feel about the new Swamp Orcs. I don't know what it is. They're like the proportions of their body are so off. Like if you look at the which I know it's a fantasy setting, who cares, right? But just aesthetically, it looks weird to me. So these are the new Swamp Orcs they made for Age of Sigmar. Like their upper bodies, like they just have these like the legs are just really short. I don't know what it is. I just don't like the aesthetic of it. The new Lizardmen are great. Oh my God, I'm very happy for Lizardmen players. Yeah, Ironjaws are cool, right? So these are basically like the spiritual successor to the Black Orcs. Yeah, these are the old Black Orc models right here. These guys, these are Black Orcs from Warhammer Fantasy. They just got ported up to the game here. You got the old, I think they still sell the old Wurzag model too. Yep, here's Wurzag right here. See, he's out of print here. I don't know if the new Lizard stuff has been posted on the website yet. Let's see. Can you order them? No, it's all like Yeah, it's all on pre-order right now. That's why you're not seeing it right now. See, like all the Saurus are gone. Yeah. I don't know where they're, I think you can pre-order it. Selling fast would be, yeah, okay. So people are just buying up Seraphon stuff. I don't think they have them. They have like a pre-order. Okay, value added. So Seraphon. Okay, let's see. Saurus, do they have it? Box set. Where can I go? I don't even know how to look at the box set. Value added box sets? Okay, well, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what we're looking for here, guys. Yeah, the yellow armor is probably... I'm not a huge fan of it. Okay, we got our match, guys. Hell yeah. Let the games begin. So it's going to be Ulrich Rahl versus Housecat. There we go. Outstanding. Looking good. My favorite part of Ironjawz is that they paint their armor yellow because it pisses off the Stormcast. That's funny. The Stormcast have personalities. They're not just like robo-automatons. Yeah, I always thought they were just kind of like, you know, I guess they might have a little bit. Cruel Boys honestly look what Hobgoblins should be, a mix of between orcs and goblins. Yeah, I think they're kind of like the progressive Hobgoblins, yeah. It's just the mock Stormcast and lore, that's fun. I would probably paint, if I were to do like an orc army, I'd probably give them like the classic black orc armor. Yeah, where they have like just the very grim looking plate. Pretty neat. The Stormcast models do take a lot of time to paint though. Not Stormcast, or Age of Sigmar. There's a ton of detail in the new models, like a ton. Oh, do we have the Empire versus something? It could be. We might have Empire Lizardmen. That's a fun matchup. You know, obviously we've been casting quite a few of Housecat's games today, so we're going to be seeing a lot of his mains coming up. I haven't seen the new Croxagore. I don't know if I saw that one. Turin, are Souths good mainline, or should you go Skinks or Croxagores? Souths? You mean Saurus? Yeah, Saurus are great mainlines. If you watch the last game, they were really good holding units. It depends on the matchup. That's what's great about this game is like there's so much nuances to the freaking 24 different factions playing against one another that they're going to be good in some and bad in others. But Saurus are very good in a bunch of matchups. They're really, really a durable, tough to get rid of unit. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Stormcast have stakes now. So Be'lakor created the Cured Skies. So Souls of Stormcast get stuck there now. Okay, so now it actually matters when Stormcast dies. I know they didn't at one point. Yeah. Yeah, there's some of the Stormcast models that are okay. I like the models look good objectively, but for me, lore is a very important thing. Like I like the flavor of an army. I don't mind having a terrible looking Empire State Trooper who literally has no shoes on and like is like looks like a caveman, because I like the flavor of the army. You know, like the flavor for me is what's really important. I'm also a competitive player, but you know, for me, I play what I like. You know, I don't play the sweat factions. The flavor has got to be there. What do you think about Khorne and High Elves? It's an interesting matchup because the High Elves can actually bring elite infantry there. They can go with like High Elves can go Swordmasters or Larry with a Phoenix giving magic damage to the Swordmasters or magic damage to their Phoenix Guard, which make them trade super well. So the whole paradigm of the High Elf versus Khorne matchup is if the elite Bloodletters get killed, the High Elves will dominate the infantry fight. So if their archers and magic and cavalry can kill Bloodletters, then High Elves will actually crush Khorne on a lot of the melee fighting if they go elite infantry. It's a really actually interesting matchup. It's an interesting one. Has Oxyotl ever killed a lord without enemy noticing? Oh yeah, I've seen Oxyotl get a ton of lord snipes. Yeah, more so in Warhammer 2 land battle, but even still, Oxyotl's pretty decent in domination. In some matchups, if you're expecting them to just have like a big centerpiece that Oxyotl can just sit and poke the entire game, it's pretty darn good. Yeah, he's a little troll for sure. Okay, so we got Ogre Kingdoms versus Empire. Ooh, a fun one. This is on Itza too. This is gonna be a fast and furious knockdown drag out fight. So what you can expect here is gonna be, you know, Empire State Troopers with spears, Huntsmen, Knights of the Blazing Sun and/or Empire Knights, probably Zentler's Reichsguard, maybe a Demograph Knight Halberd. You're gonna need some silver bullets to shoot down the big ROR, the Sky Striders. You know, Crushers are very strong, so you're gonna need something. You could also go demi RORs with like Earthblood. So you can go with the Royal Altorf Griffites to tear out Ogres and then have Earthblood for them, and they can usually trade pretty well into the big Ogre Cav with support. Yeah, I felt that in round 2. Got destroyed because I expected High Elf missiles. Yeah, no, the High Elves can really bang with Khorne in melee, like really hard. Because, again, Khorne doesn't have magic to punish elite infantry, so... But, like, their Exalted Bloodletters annihilate other elite infantry units. They do very well, so... Can't Khorne go heavy into mobility and easily compromise range backlines? Yeah, they can certainly do that, but it's not... High Elves can defend their backline. You just get a couple of Illyrian Reavers or Silverhelms, and they can usually fight off, like, you know, good units. It's a very interesting matchup, Pies. It's very interesting. So we got Ogre Kingdoms versus Empire, yeah. It looks like the die is cast. Players are readying up. And thank you guys for joining tonight. It's been a fun stream. We've had some good rants and some good times, and probably talking about a lot of shit I have no idea about, but that's, you know, that's just the human experience, man. It's being uninformed and just telling everybody your opinions on things. It's just how humans roll. It is Be'lakor. Be'lakor's tabletop model is really cool. I hope he's in the old world. I hope he has rules and you can like use them. That model's like too nice to not be put into use. Tomb Kings are definitely like a lot of the real sweaty players kind of abandoned them when they got nerfed, but Tomb Kings are still a good faction. I have a lot of belief in the Tomb Kings. I think they're good. They sit pretty close to 50%, you know. And Chaos Dwarves have been punishing Tomb Kings pretty hard, and that's also partially why, because Chaos Dwarves are dominating the meta. So, yeah, people are, you know, I think people will get back to Tomb Kings. I play them all the time in tournaments. I personally think they're great. What about Bolt Throwers versus Khorne? I wouldn't recommend it. No, it's not. They won't do enough damage quickly enough. Khorne will rush you. Bolt Throwers are more for like cagey long distance trades. If somebody's like bull rushing you, the Bolt Thrower won't have enough time to get its value back. Did you do a no magic tournament? I don't know if that's terribly interesting to me. Yeah, I love it. Nice. Marcus Wolfhart double net build with Lifecaster and Huntsman and State Troopers and Halberds. It's a very, very pointy stick build, which is obviously good against the Ogres. Hey, Derek, I'm glad to hear you're enjoying the game, man. I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it. I'm sorry to hear that, Hugh. You got bad internet, not able to play? Yeah, curses, man. Someday. So, it is the Great Maw, the Big Chungus, the Slaughtermaster versus the Huntsman. It's going to be a lot of fun for the Empire, I know. I'm a little bit biased. I always root for the Empire. They're great. They're great. So, yeah, it's just a pointy stick build. You got Halberds, you got State Troopers. Marcus Wolfhart with nets is really good because he can net down a number of big Ogre targets trying to push into your back line. And, yeah, it says the perfect map for this playstyle, right? Because on Itza, you just get a formation like this, and you're just... Or let me get a more straight line here. Just like that. And you can cover two objectives with one formation. So Dwarves, Empire, all those type of factions really, really love this map for sure. So Ulrich coming in with Huntsman, Halberds, and Spears. Pointy sticks. The Light Wizard has got Nets, and the Jade Wizard has got Earthblood. That's pretty much it. Marcus Wolfhart going to be back here with his Hunter Snare and his anti-large shots to try and snipe the Ogre Lords and characters and all sorts of big stuff like that. Now looking over at Housecat of War. Housecat of War going to be rocking the front line of Noblar Trappers. This is an excellent choice. Noblar Trappers with their Ninja Stars can really melt Halberds and can do some good poke against State Troopers, and honestly can fight Spearmen in combat very evenly. So these guys are very, very good. For the Ogres, he's got a Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw, so that's where the healing's going to come from, I would imagine. Yeah, he's just got Troll Guts and Ogre Bulls with some Iron Guts in the mix. I think, yeah, we got Iron Guts on the far side. Iron Guts aren't bad. 100 armor against the Huntsman arrows certainly helps quite a bit, and they are good at cleaving. And look, that guy's he's kind of holding that club like an old school baseball player, man. I love it. Yep, but you're going to be getting some fat heals in that bad boy. Yeah, the Noblars are actually quite good against the State Troopers, but you know, the Empire can bring out some shot cavalry to deal with Noblars. Usually, I would like to see like Knight of the Blazing Sun or an Empire Knight to really just plow through them pretty quickly. But yeah, we'll see. Huntsman can also focus fire them too. It's not a terrible idea. You know, you could just get all your archers and kind of poke them down and do your thing. So the battle is on. Grand finals, ladies and gentlemen. Let me update this to say best of 3. So this is a best of 3 final showdown. So we're going to be going on this fun journey together. So appreciate all you guys. Why Lifecaster with this build against Ogres? Good question. So I anticipate that, you know, if there's Halberds and long-term sustained fighting, Halberds are kind of an expensive unit by Empire standards. So an Earthblood on 2 Halberds could be quite cost-effective. On top of that, the Empire Sice is most likely going to be pulling out Knights. So one of the other pieces you'll see is Demogryph Knights with Halberds or Empire Knights coming out into the fray. So having a Jade Wizard to you know, heal those units that are coming is a nice contingency for sure. So, and just having Earthblood in general is just a very, very good spell. So the battle is on. Marcus Wolfhart going to be leading the Huntsman's expedition. He should have used the actual faction flag. That would have been cool. Marcus, really, really cool model, is going to be running up and looking to get some pot shots at the Ogres from downtown. He wants to lead with shielded spearmen. That's for sure what you want to do against the little Noblars so they can absorb those ninja stars and do some good work. We'll have to see. We got a Jade Wizard as well as a Light Wizard, so a little bit of utility. You know, they're okay fighters too. You can plop them on an objective and get 3 capture weight. And now we get some Pistoliers coming out. Oh, I love it. Now, he thinks his top objective is undefended. Ulrich is going to fall for the dreaded Noblar trap with those hidden Noblars. Crouching Tiger, hidden Noblar. They're going to be able to push these Pistoliers back pretty far for sure. The winner gets an Applebee's gift card. Not today. I did send an Applebee's gift card to Dog Person who ended up winning a tournament. So, yeah, that's a fun story. Pistol shots going in. Obviously, you're going to get out-traded pretty horribly by Noblar Trappers. And Noblar Trappers have a hell of a lot of ammo. So Ulrich doesn't see the ambush coming, and the Noblars pop out of the bushes, and these poor huntsmen, even though they look really cool, it's not going to be a great trade for them. And Ulrich really slips up on the micro here and doesn't react terribly quickly. And he literally loses a Pistolier unit, basically, to 2 Noblars there. And does a little bit of damage in return, but we knew that trade would not be good. Cannons are okay against Ogres, but it depends on the map. This map is a little bit too small, I think, to get a lot of value out of a cannon. I mean, it can be okay. Like having a single Hammer of the Witches in the backfield or something, I think can be quite cost-effective against Ogre Kingdom. So, Demis with Halberds are really good. Yeah, they got buffed in the recent patch, so Demogryphs are in a much better state for sure. So the Pistoliers, like Palpatine, have returned somehow, and they sit up in the corner and are going to be awaiting their opportunity to strike. The Empire are actually going to be pressing the side objective with some Spearmen. Ogres are a very good swarming faction, so pushing side objectives against them feels a little bit precarious. And Spearmen with shields aren't going to do a good job against Noblar Trappers at all. So I don't know how much I like that play. Granted, the Empire is going to be controlling the middle 2 objectives, so they do get their clutches on that. Huntsman moved up and were able to shoot some of the Noblars. Ogres are just waiting for the objectives to open up before they alpha strike, which is very normal. Usually rush factions will do that in domination mode. They'll just wait until there's actually a reason to fight before they move out and do so, right? So here's we see the Sky Striders coming out. They will dominate pretty much all Empire Cav in combat. Granted, the Royal Altorf Griffites are one of the few Cav units that can probably go fisticuffs with them, especially considering healing on both sides. But Ogres definitely have the SE healing advantage here with the Troll Guts versus Earthblood. It's a pretty big deal. So heavy cavalry coming out. Empire Knight's going to be riding down. Does he have the right charge order? He does. And it looks like the Empire Knight's going to get a nice charge into the back of the Noblars. Not too much damage, but even enough to kind of wear them down. And the response is going to be some Sky Striders coming out. And do we see a Dismember? No, that's actually just the effect coming in from the Noblar Trappers right there. Classic Warhammer. It wouldn't be a Warhammer Finals without a little bit of lag. We do see the Sky Striders getting poked a little bit by the Huntsmen. And yes, the poke is going in, and they are unshielded, so they certainly are a little bit vulnerable. Ulrich needs to make sure he doesn't lose his Empire Knights. He's going to want to pull those back. The Sky Striders are hot on the hunt, and if they catch you, the Ogres are coming to get you. So the Sky Striders would, of course, apply the Frostbite, and the Frostbite is now active, and their speed is going to be very low. A couple Spearmen coming up to try and support. And the Ogres aren't really making too much of a play for the middle objectives, obviously being very cautious. A lot of the skirmishing and accruing of value is taking place more so at the top as the Empire Knights get fully sandwiched. So a bit of a misplay. Definitely a bit of a misplay here. Throwing away an 800 gold unit here into the Sky Striders feels pretty bad. And yeah, a couple State Troopers will make their way in, maybe get some shanks, but really Ulrich, I think, is making a considerable mistake, and as someone who plays a lot of Empire, as throwing all these units into this like more mobile. I mean, Empire is mobile for sure, but yeah, you don't want to mess with the Ogres. I think consolidating on your 2 points here is going to be exponentially better, and forcing the Ogre Kingdoms to move into your entrenched position is better, and playing more defensively rather than trying to play a wide playstyle here. So we see a big net going down, which is certainly nice. It does lock down a lot of the Ogre units and is going to be allowing Huntsmen to accrue some decent value here. Here we see Ogre Bulls making their way into the back line. Some Halberds are nearby. Marcus used the Hunter's Snare over there, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like it has worn off. Halberds getting into the Iron Bulls. Yeah, should be an okay trade here. And it looks like the Ogre Kingdoms have pretty much collapsed on every front, as Empire Knights are going to be sallying forth and trying to ride through and get on top of the Noblar Trappers in the back. And it looks like they do partially get the charge off. They do. Nice little engagement versus the Noblars will wear them down over long-term combat, and the fighting is on all fronts. But it looks like the Ogres are going to be flipping the points here. So the Ogres do flip the middle point, so objective 2 is going to be going to the Ogre Kingdoms, and the side objective is being held onto by the Sons of Sigmar. But remember, even though the value is close, it's not really taking into account the routing of these units, and he gave up quite a bit there on the side by having those Empire Knights get routed off. Downhill charge from the Sky Striders, it's a ballsy one. They do end up charging into the Halberd units, and these Halberds are anti-large and armor piercing, so if the Sky Striders were to stay in sustained combat there, they would definitely lose out on that. Marcus does drop another fat net in the backfield on top of the Iron Gut, so it looks like the Hunter Snare was used there. And we got the Spearmen moving in to try and shank him, as Huntsmen are able to get some really nice concave fire. But now we're going to see a bit of a problem as we see the Great Maw mushing through. So rushing, kind of all makes sense. But if the Iron Guts are able to get on top of the Huntsmen, it's going to be pretty tough to remove them. That's where you would want to see a Demogryph Knight with Halberds, and it looks like we do get them back here. So Demi Halberds do come out, and Demi Halberds are really good at clearing out basic Ogre Bull units because Ogre Bulls don't have the best AP values, and Demi Halberds have really good armor and anti-large, of course. So they're going to be able to kind of butcher through those guys pretty well. So Iron Fist taken down, and now we see the Demi Halberds surging forth and trying to peel the backfield. Ulrich Rahl pulling value back a little bit. Remember, both sides do have access to pretty good amounts of healing. Empire Knights up in the high ground did come back from their route and were sacrificed to the Great Maw. As we see another fat net coming down, so the layers and layers of nets allowing the Huntsmen to kite back and the Demogryph Knights to try and get over here and clear out these Ogre Bulls who are really causing quite a bit of havoc in the backfield. Here, the Empire's holding on, Spearmen and Halberdiers fighting off Noblars, but you can see basic Spearmen, they simply don't have enough DPS to get through the Noblars, right? The Noblars have reasonably good melee defense at 26, and the Spearmen simply just lose that fight, right? So, it's not good at all. Halberds, though, holding okay in the front, but are being grinded down by just hordes of chaff units. It seems as if Ulrich Rahl is, he's really on the back foot pretty hard. And if you're going to go Demogryphs, I always feel like having Regrowth is better than just Earthblood to really, really get that fat value. And also the Royal Altdorf Griffites, I feel, are the correct route because of the terror routes against, these low leadership Ogre units when they get a little bit beat up like this, I think would be quite useful. Huntsman shut down to the backfield, and now we get the Chad Skystriders coming in. And though Demis can fight them, if they're getting charged by the Skystriders, it's going to be a really bad time. So the Great Maw is here to stay. Demi Knights getting dragged down. This is pretty much the exact paint scheme I use in my Demis, the red armor and the silver and the white hues as well. The Demi's trying to retreat back to the support of their Empire Knights, but the Iron Guts are also trading okay into the Empire Heavy Cavalry. Good armor piercing, good general combat stats. The Great Maw pushing forward on every front. This objective owned by the Empire, middle by the Ogres, top by the Ogres. And the Great Maw is just getting so much momentum right now. As, the Empire's still in this game in terms of value, but the Ogre healing, I think, is a little bit stronger than what we're seeing from the Empire. And now that you see, two Huntsmen on the run here, Huntsmen just fleeing the scene, getting chased back, that is a very precarious situation to be in. And Iron Guts are going to get attacked by Empire Knights, but Empire Knights have pretty pitiful damage against armor. So they're going to struggle against these Iron Guts. The Iron Guts are thick. They have 100 armor, and they are jacked to the gills. Nice Sabertusk play. Sabertusk did come through the seam and found an opening and was able to get on top of the Huntsman. Side objective being held by the State Troopers. But for how long? We'll have to see. These Halberds are doing a good job holding, and it looks like a fresh unit of Empire Spearmen were sent in to fight the good fight. The Ogres are not too far ahead on points, though, actually. I thought they would be a little bit more, but the Empire did have the initial 2 points there, so they did have the 2 points. Sabertusk packs swarming on top of the Huntsman. Another unit of Huntsman fully shut down here. I would imagine Ulrich is going to be calling out more Empire Knights to try and peel off these units, which is good. And the fighting in the backfield is getting a little bit better. Skystriders here, it looks like they were netted for a second, while the remnants of the Demogryph Knights and whatever Empire Knights are left in the battlefield are trying to peel off the Sabertusks and get those Huntsmen back online. Because without the Huntsmen shooting, we see several compromised Huntsmen here, and I believe the other one, is basically dead, right? So without those Huntsmen shooting, that was a big epicenter of the Empire strategy. Those guys, the Empire's really going to be struggling to get the momentum back in this game. And it's probably only a matter of time before a triple cap and potentially tap out comes here. We do see the Ogres taking the side objective. The Empire's down on value now, pretty heavily, now that their missile line is offline, and they are also down on objectives. And Ulrich is a seasoned enough tournament player to know that the game is over. GG, well played. Some misplays. I think the high ground, playing the high ground early, sacrificing, basically 1,400 resources, gave the Ogres the momentum they needed to penetrate through the Empire lines. So, the Great Maw is what you call your X. Nice. Nice, dude. Nice. So, game 1 is going to be going to the dreaded House Cat of War. Uno game goes to the Ogres. Fun builds for sure. Definitely some fun builds. I think there's an argument to be made for Swordsmen in this matchup too, just because of their ability to kill Noblars, right? They'll kill them a lot better. The Ogres are coming to get you. They're a fun faction. They are a very, very fun faction indeed. Top tier too. Ogres are great. They have a 62% win rate. What are the bad matches for Ogres? It looks like Ogre players have been losing to Dark Elves really hard. So if we look at, if we look down here, so these are basically the matchups in which Ogres have been maybe struggling a little bit more. They have a lot of even matchups. Like here, these are all matchups that Ogres, Empire's 50-50. So this game will put the Empire up over the Ogres. Looks like Tzeentch actually performing well against Ogres, and Wood Elves doing okay. Khorne actually beating Ogres. Tomb Kings definitely are good against Ogres. I can tell you from experience. Vampire counts, I think, are good against Ogres with Blood Knights and Graveguard and things like that. Chaos Demons, yeah, and a couple of these haven't even been played. Dark Elves, man, 5-0 against Ogres or the Dark Elves. Yeah, so there's certainly plenty of matchups to, beat them with, from what I can see. Yes, yes. Yeah, Zinch has like halberds are really meaty. Like the Chaos Warrior halberds are quite good against ogres. If you can avoid lead belchers or shut them down, and screamers are also really good against ogres. You know, mobile, flying, anti-large. Yeah, they do some work. So we're on Stonehenge for the next map. Let's see what the players pick as we go to the pick and ban phase. I suspect Norska or Lizardmen out of Housecat. I think he's kind of an Ogre, Norska, Lizardmen enjoyer. I think those are the factions that he plays. But yeah, something that's cool to see. Something that's cool to see for sure. Housecat of War got second place in the most recent championships, barely dropping a series to Houseplant. So Housecat is a very top tier player. I mean, pretty much anyone in the top, top 6, top 15, top 16, anyone really in the top 16 of the leaderboard is going to be a pretty serious contender. But really like the top 8, top 10, that's some serious contention right there. Yeah, Housecat's currently the number 4 ranked player in the world, and if Housecat wins this event, he'll be taking over the number 2 spot. So if we look at the leaderboard here, you can currently see Platypus is sitting at the number 2 spot, but we would see Housecat take over that number 2 spot because he's got more games played. So he would take over that spot. My ogres, I think, are favored against Kislev. Once you really get a lot of practice against them, you have a lot of really strong tools. Like Iron Guts getting buff is pretty terrifying. Lead Belchers are really good against Kislev too. Yeah, there's plenty of tools you can have. Noblar spam, obviously very good. Like tying up the Kossars with Noblars is super cost effective. The Kossars with the spears and things like that. So they'll have their picks and bans in just a second. And yeah, man, we'll see how it goes. The Maw is satisfied. Yeah, they certainly ate well. Yeah, they had some German delicacies. Oh yeah, looking cool. Looking very cool. I can't decide what army I want to collect next for Warhammer the Old World, man. So I have a fully done Empire army. It's mostly done. I just need to paint up some crossbowmen or order some. I don't have any crossbows in that army, so I probably should get some of those and Hellblaster volley gun and Hellstorm rocket battery. Once I get those, the Empire army is basically good. Yeah, I can't decide what to do next. I'm like really leaning towards making a dwarf army because the dwarf models are actually quite good. And you can still get them from Games Workshop, and they're still being sold, so it's like they're pretty accessible. Like if you go here, let me show you guys. No, it's 40,000. We're not trying to look at the Sigmarines. The Sigmarines. So if you go to Cities of Sigmar, so it'd be Order and Cities of Sigmar. Here we go. Yeah, see, so you can still get like a dwarf. You could still get like a nice dwarf starting box for Warhammer Fantasy, right? Like this one's pretty great. This one comes with Iron Breakers. So you get Iron Breakers, you get Belagar Iron Hammer, you get Grim Burloxen, which is awesome. So you get like 2 cool named dwarf characters, and you get a Gyro Bomber too, which is really, really fun. That's like a solid deal. I mean, actually I still have the Australian prices on. I was like, why is it so expensive? Poor Australians just getting wrecked. It's literally like $60 more. Man, sorry guys. Rip to all of our Australian friends in chat. But these guys would be pretty easy to paint, for sure. I already have Gotrek. Gotrek I painted up. He's looking like he's ready to party. But yeah, these dwarves would be great. The other starter box I think comes with Longbeards. Yeah, so this one comes with a Rune Lord. It comes with what appears to be a Longbeards. Yeah, Longbeards with great weapons, and it comes with Iron Drakes with the Trollhammer torpedoes. Still a little bit. This is a little bit pricey for me. You could still get these. You could still get these secondhand, probably much cheaper. Yeah, it's like, why is it so expensive? Jeez. Yeah. Feels bad. Bucko in chat says, yeah, feels bad. Oh, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry. I have an old Tomb Kings army. Can't wait to use again. Yeah, they're going to be in the game. The Tomb Kings got a new tabletop model too. Man, that was rad. This box fast. Their new book is coming out with Vanguard boxes. Are you saying a new Cities of Sigmar book is coming out? Was that what these whispers are? Those 2 sets are great. Yeah, the Gyro Bomber one's pretty fun. I would probably get that one because Iron Breakers are just so cool. And plus, getting Belagar, who's like a super iconic character, plus Grim Burloxen is like such a steal. They need to make new Slayers though. Like I think for Warhammer the Old World, they need to make new Slayers, like because they just straight up don't have good Slayer models. I think the most recent ones were like just these haggard. You could use Fire Slayers, but I really don't like the helmets on them. I guess you could get like Okay, they're still doing their picks and bans. Some players just take like 10 years to do their picks and bans, so we'll hang tight for now. So if we look at like I want to make a dwarf army, but Slayers are probably one of my favorite elements of dwarves, and they're really easy to paint too. Like Slayers are super easy to paint. Like you have the Fire Slayers, which you could like convert these guys. Now, I have this Gotrek model. He's fully painted. He's looking pretty cool. So yeah, you could do like the Volkite Berserkers, which I kind of like. I don't know how modular the kits are because I don't like the helmets. Like I like the classic like open mohawk with no helmet on. But it looks like the beards are very heavily integrated into the models, or the helmets are, so I don't know how you would get around that for kit bashing. It'd probably be a whole lot of work. I guess you could just settle and use these guys as Slayers, you know, which isn't like the worst thing in the world. But I like the more classic look of Slayers, like what Gotrek has. This is a great model. It's a great model, and he's just a raid boss. Yeah. So he's a Sigmar. Yeah, they're getting new humans instead of Sigmarines. Yeah. They're keeping the Empire tradition of their faces looking like melted candle wax. Are they? I love it. Yeah, I saw some of the new cities with Sigmar models. I really didn't like the new like state troopers. Well, they're not even state troopers. Cities. Okay. So Sigmar new units. Okay. Like I don't care for this aesthetic that much. I mean, it's not bad, I guess. Let me look here. So these are the new like cities with Sigmar models. I suppose you could, yeah. I don't think they would be really good for Warhammer Fantasy because they just don't really look like Empire troopers. It kind of like looks like a mix of Empire and Bretonia. It's not bad. I really like the faces. I think this guy, the guy with the potato face on the far side, he's great. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like them that much. I don't dislike them, but yeah, it's okay, I guess. Definitely doesn't have the Warhammer Fantasy feeling, though. It feels like its own thing, which is, it's what Age of Sigmar is, so. Do you have the freehand Slayer tattoos? It would have to be freehand, which I haven't done those yet, so. Oh my god, they still haven't done their picks and bans yet? Dear god. Oh, sounds good. You two can finish another time. All right, so House God of War says he's got to go. So, yeah. That's going to be it for tonight then, actually. So they're going to finish it off stream. Something came up for House God of War where he had to jam, but he is up 1-0 in the series, and they'll finish it another time. So, your headcanon can be that this was a best-of-1 tournament, and we just got a little bit of after time to chat. So sorry for the blue ball, guys, but it does happen. And, yeah, nonetheless, it's a lot of fun hanging out tonight. Yeah, I don't think they look bad. I prefer the classic State Trooper. Like, if we're looking at the... If we're looking at like the Free Guild, like I really like the Haggard Free Guild Guard look. Like if you look at these guys, oh my god, the melted wax face is so true. Look at this guy with that power mustache. Yeah, I really like the aesthetic of these guys with the banner. It's just like so classic, Yeah. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for tonight. Yeah, it was a fun stream. It was good. Great games tonight. We had a lot of great matches. And, House God of War up 1-0. They'll play. Age of Empires 4 early next week is my game plan. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for joining. Thank you to FPod for hosting tonight's tournament. You did a great job hosting, brother. And looking forward to seeing you in action more. Tomorrow, I don't know if we're going to do anything. I'm having a bit of hand pain, so I'm trying to take it easy. But I don't know. Maybe we'll take tomorrow off. Maybe we won't. We'll see. Good times will come nonetheless. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for the donations, and all of you new channel members. Welcome to the Dukes of Haggard. May Sigmar bless you. And we'll be back sometime in the next few days. I don't know when, but we'll still have our daily videos, so don't worry. It'll be fun. GG. Adios, guys. Take care of yourselves. And that is going to be it for today.